It's a compilation day today. I've got 3.5 hours of some of my favourite episodes that we've made lately. Gonna be a whole bunch of fun and I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, make sure you like and also subscribe and let me know down below what you thought. And I'll see you tomorrow for a new episode, everybody. Would I be the a-hole if I refused to buy a tacky painting that my sister-in-law made for my family? My daughter and I love reading these together, and now it's my turn to ask for some judgment. I'm 52 female, and this situation concerns my husband's brother Drew, 59 male, and his wife of 5 years, Susan, 35 female. Drew supports Suzanne on his income while she focuses on her dream of being an artist. She makes paintings of people and animals and has a website where she advertises her work for sale. Privately, I don't think her art is very good. It's absolutely better than what I could do. It doesn't look professional, if you know what I mean. My husband feels the same, so we haven't opted to purchase any of her art, despite her dropping hints about it. The art on her site is priced in the $3,000 to $5,000 range. I realise that labour and cost of materials must be taken into account, but given the quality, those prices seem outrageous to me. I suspect that she isn't making regular sales because she started making portraits of friends, family, or pets as a surprise, and usually said family and friends end up feeling obligated to buy the painting as a courtesy. Unfortunately, my husband and I were the latest victims of this sales tactic. My son recently proposed to his girlfriend, and we took the two of them, his girlfriend's parents and our daughter, out to a fancy dinner to celebrate. Both of my kids posted pictures from dinner on social media. Without telling anybody, Suzanne decided to make a painting of one of these pictures of everybody smiling. She revealed the big surprise at a party that she and Drew hosted 2 weeks ago. The painting is a whopping 40 by 58 inch, and I honestly think it's awful, kitsch and tacky. I told Suzanne that it was sweet of her to commemorate such a special moment in our family, but I carefully avoided saying anything about liking it. As I feared, she kept on dropping hints during the party about how we can buy it as a wedding gift, and she would be happy to give us a big discount off what she would charge somebody else. Who else would buy that painting though? I politely dodged these hints and she was disappointed. Over the weekend, Drew reached out to my husband to say that Suzanne feels hurt that we never made an offer. He said that it's becoming obvious as the years go by that we've never purchased one of her pieces, even though we have the means to do so, and it would mean a lot to them if we did buy the painting. Her original asking price was $2.5 grand, and Drew said that he'll reduce it further to $1,900. It's not about the money, not entirely. It's the principle of it. I feel like I'm being strong-armed into paying for something that I never asked for, and I don't like, and I don't have the space for in my house. Yeah, that's because you are OP. I asked, and my son and his fiancé don't want it. My husband thinks that we should just buy it to keep the peace in the family and avoid a potential rift with Suzanne and Drew. He also says the way that I talk makes me sound like a snob, even though I would never share these opinions with anybody I know but him. Would I be the a-hole if I stand my ground and refuse? No, I don't feel like it, OP, and you are being strong-armed into something that you don't want. And what if you do pay $1,900 for this painting now? Are you gonna have to buy like one every year or something before they go, oh, you know, you haven't bought a painting in a while? No, that's definitely not fair. You're not asking for it, so why should you feel like you have to buy it? No, it's such an a-hole move to make a painting that nobody even asked you for and expect them to pay $2 grand for it. Of course that's not fair. And what, you should buy a $2,000 painting to keep the peace? Nah. Like, talk about making an issue. I'm gonna paint something that nobody asked me to make, and I'm gonna get upset if they don't pay me $2 grand for it. Well, you better get used to being upset then. Like, what the hell? The top comment says, not the a-hole. I'd simply ask her why she won't gift it to the happy couple, and follow up asking, did she only make the painting so that she can make money and not for her nephew and his new fiancé? You're definitely not wrong, but I'm petty and I'd make sure to turn this around on her. OP said, thank you for your judgment. I think that's a great idea. Though I know Suzanne's underlying issue is that she thinks that we don't like her art, which is true, and I'm afraid that she'll keep pushing until she either makes the sale or I give a firm no. Yeah, like the comment under that says. I mean, it's a bad business to create something on Prospect when it's that personal and specific to such a small group of people. If she was going to try to sell it, then she should have been approaching the prospective buyers, i.e. the people who went to that event, whether they'd be interested in commissioning it. She can't be mad that there's no interest in buying an unsolicited product. Yeah, definitely. And on top of that, a $2.5 grand unsolicited product. The second top comment says, not the a-hole. My husband thinks we should just buy it to keep the peace in the family. Absolutely not. Do you know what'll happen next? She'll do a painting of the wedding or any potential pregnancy announcements or any other milestones. Suzanne will not stop. After all, you are willing to buy one painting. Why not buy another? And then another and another and another. And OP said, oh dear, truly my worst nightmare. But yeah, that'll definitely happen. Like, oh, it's been a little while since you've bought one of my paintings. And she'll do the same thing again. Yeah, also this comment, not the a-hole. You did not commission the piece. She took it upon herself herself to make it, she can either gift it to the happy couple, attempt to sell it to a stranger, or repurpose the canvas for something different. No matter what parts she chooses, none of them require anything from you or your husband. Best wishes to your son and his fiancé on their engagement. Yeah, that's so wild. You don't have to do anything, OP. Okay, I'm scared about the next one. Am I the a-hole for punching my stepdaughter after she played a prank on me that scared me? I know the title sounds bad, but please read. It's a throwaway account and also fake names. I, 38 male, married Judd, 44 female, a few months ago, and I acquired a stepdaughter, Abby, 14 female, as a result. I dated Judd when Abby was 8, met her parents when she was 9, and I married Judd when she was 10. I'd say that our relationship is okay. She doesn't act bratty towards me and respects me enough as her mum's husband. However, there's one glaring issue about her, and that's her pranking nature. Abby loves to pull pranks. Some examples are her hiding my car keys with what look like 100 dubs in a box, like what, 100 fake car keys or something. I found them pretty fast because she failed to notice that my keys have duct tape on them. Another one is when she hid in the fridge, something I still find very weird, to scare the first person who opened it. That can't even be safe, can it? Well, last Wednesday I arrived home and it seemed I was the only one there. Only my shoes were at the doorstep and I even called out Judd's and Abby's names and no answer. This is somewhat normal as Judd sometimes works late and Abby stays at school for extracurriculars. So I screwed around with my dog, a German Shepherd and Husky mix for anybody asking, for a little bit, and then I decided to go and relieve myself. When I got to the bathroom, I noticed that the window cabinet was open. I thought nothing of it at first and I unzipped my pants, but then I saw a shadow behind the shower curtains. I thought the worst and I immediately punched the figure behind the curtains. Oh no! Well, as everybody may have guessed from the title, it was Abby. She was making a prank video and I hadn't noticed that she'd propped her phone up on the bathroom cabinet with some cups. I'm not gonna lie, I did not hold back. I punched her as hard as I could. Her nose seemed broken. When I realized it, I flipped out and so did she. After maybe 5 minutes of freaking out, I drove her to urgent care and I informed Judd of the situation. Her nose was indeed broken and would need about 6 to 12 weeks of recovery. Abby won't talk to me, and as for Judd, she thinks that my action may have been justified, but also thinks I should have approached with more caution, which she's refused to elaborate on. So, am I the a-hole? Wow, that's so unfortunate, but are you the a-hole? No, I don't think so, OP. You acted like a lot of people would have acted. You thought there was an intruder in your house, in the bathroom, when you're super vulnerable. Of course that's going to be your first instinct. No, I don't think you're the a-hole. Like, yeah, it sucks and it's super unfortunate, but I feel like it's a really unfortunate case of like mess around and find out. Maybe don't prank somebody to this degree, you know? It wouldn't have even been that funny anyway. And also, she shouldn't be recording somebody in the bathroom anyway. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. What did she expect? That's a very natural reaction to a startle or a scare. Maybe she learnt a lesson. Also, filming in the bathroom? That's messed up. She can't do that. Film the wrong person and it's a felony. Yeah, like this comment says, you didn't know who you were punching. You had to protect yourself. It could have been an intruder waiting there. I hate these stupid pranks. Hopefully Abby learnt a lesson about not acting like a moron for TikTok. Yeah, like as unfortunate as it is, I don't feel like you're the a-hole, OP. Also, I'm trying to imagine if I were Abby. I feel like if I was pranking somebody by being in their bathroom behind their shower curtain about to scare them, and they punch me in the face really hard, like yeah, obviously you don't want a broken nose. I feel like at the same time I would have been like, well, I probably shouldn't have done that. There's a comment that says filming somebody in the bathroom is inexcusable. This one's a perfect example of mess around and find out. I hope she learnt her lesson, not the a-hole. And the comment under that said, yeah, if she was hiding behind a couch to spook somebody, I'd think it was relatively harmless. But in the bathroom, a 14-year-old knows better. Yeah, I don't think you're the a-hole, OP. It's like a really unfortunate accident. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. The next one that we're going to read is called, Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my husband in front of the family and ruining his day? My husband and I have 4 kids combined. They are 14-year-old boy, 11-year-old girl, 8-year-old boy, and a 10-month-old girl. Well, my 14-year-old and my husband haven't gotten along recently. It started roughly last year when my son's biological father reached out to my son directly and told him that he wanted to meet him. He signed away all of his rights when he was born and never met him, but my son knew who he was and often looked up his Facebook page. My husband said no, that he could meet him when he was 18. I wasn't there for the conversation, but when I found out, it caused a huge blow-up fight to the point of nearly divorcing because my husband had it in his head that I didn't respect him, and apparently neither did my son. To be fair to him here, my son's father is not a good person. He's an alcoholic who consistently gets his license revoked for failure to pay child support and driving while intoxicated. So due to this, my husband told my son that he wasn't allowed to meet his father until he was an adult. But the issue was that he made this decision without me. I would have arranged for a meet-up in a public place at least, because my son does want to meet him. Regardless, my son's father backed out, stopped responding to messages, so in the end, he made the decision for everybody. But my son still has it held against my husband, understandably. The relationship has never been the same. We are all in therapy now. Onto the issue though, my son took off for all-boys summer camp mid-June. It's 3 hours away and my father owns it. He allows my son to work for him or just chill at the camp. He's been doing it for years. I didn't see my son at all until 2 days ago when camp let out. My entire family arranged to meet up at the amusement park to welcome my son and my father back home. As soon as my son got out of my dad's car, he immediately ran to my vehicle and said, "Where's my baby?" My husband snapped and said, "Don't call her your baby, that's weird." My son asked how it was weird and he said, "Because she's my baby, don't be weird." I guess I saw red in this moment because like his younger son, 8, his daughter 11, even his mum, they all call our daughter their baby and he never says anything. So in front of everybody, in my defense I wasn't thinking about that. I said, "I'd argue that you're the one being weird here, as well as inappropriate because you're insinuating that it's being said that I had a child with my oldest child." His face immediately went beet red and he said, "That's not what I meant at all." So I asked him what he meant then, because he never says anything to anybody else when they call his baby their baby. And I said that if it's weird that my son says it, then it's also weird when the women in his family say it too. He didn't say anything, so I laid out a final "don't be inappropriate towards the dynamics with my children again." He didn't end up going to the amusement park. He sat in the car. He was silent the entire ride home. When we got home, he said that I embarrassed him on purpose to be vindictive, that he wasn't being inappropriate at all by telling my son to stop saying that it was his baby. I beg to differ, and I don't feel bad for embarrassing him either, because he very clearly had it in his head that my son was insinuating that he, I don't know, had a baby with me, or else he never would have made a comment like that to my child, all the while never telling his family to stop or that it's weird when they say it. Am I the gay hole? He expects me to apologize, and I've told him that it isn't happening. Yeah, like the top comment said, your husband only takes issue with your son using the term my baby, while he allows other family members to do so without comment. This creates a clear double standard and suggests that his issue is with your son specifically, not the term itself. While it might have been better to address the situation in private, your husband's behavior in the moment warranted a response. He embarrassed your son publicly, and it was natural for you to defend him. Yeah, that's a good point. He's saying that OP embarrassed him in front of everybody, but it's okay for him to try to embarrass OP's son in front of everybody? Yeah, that's not cool. Yeah, like this comment says too, not the a-hole. You should definitely discuss this during family counseling. To me, it seems like your husband was completely fine embarrassing your son in front of the family and ruining his day, literally his day where you were welcoming him home. The day wasn't about your husband. He seems to have an issue with your son and is trying to exert his authority by being overbearing. He needs to let up. Your son's going through enough with his biological father already. It'd be much better if your husband were there to support your son as he tries to navigate a relationship with his father instead of trying to prevent it altogether, and without even discussing it with you. I couldn't imagine making that kind of proclamation about our kid's life without even discussing it with my wife first. It's got nothing to do with being a step-parent versus a biological parent, but everything to do with being a co-parent, and OP said that was where I stood with that as well. I was so bothered that he made such an important life-changing decision for my son without discussing anything with me at all. He knows that my son wants to meet his father. He's known for the past 6 years. In his defense, his father is definitely not a good person by any means, but that, in my opinion, is something that my son should figure out on his own. My husband holds a completely different tune on the situation, claiming that he's protecting my son, but made the mistake of having a few beers one night after the fact and admitting that he just doesn't want to deal with a baby daddy. He has attempted to work through those issues in therapy, both family and personal, but to be blunt, my son isn't receptive and I can't say that I blame him. There's also a comment here that says, not the gay hole. Your husband's comment was inappropriate and you were right to defend your son. It is important to address this issue with your husband. He needs to understand why his comment was hurtful and inappropriate, and he also needs to apologize to both you and your son. It seems like there are underlying tensions in your relationship, particularly between your husband and your son, and these need to be addressed through therapy or open communication. And then also there are comments like this one. I mean, your husband is right. He was trying to protect your son from dealing with an abusive alcoholic. You both should have talked that over in private. But yeah, OP's husband shouldn't have told OP's son that he wasn't allowed to meet his father until he was an adult and make that entire decision without OP. That's not right. And yeah, I don't feel like you're the gay hole for pointing out the double standard that your husband was showing. It's a hard one though, but in that situation, I don't think you're the gay hole. But yeah, definitely feels like there's a lot of tension here. The next one that we're going to read is on the Entitled People subreddit. Karen tries to bypass airport security and is sent to the end of the line. So this happened a few days ago at the airport in Seattle. My family and I were waiting for our boarding pass to get scanned when one of the women working for TSA stopped a lady, who I assume either went past the ropes or walked away from the line without getting her boarding pass scanned. The woman who went past the ropes, who looked no older than 25, looked confused, or at least pretended to, and said that she already scanned her boarding pass with a guy halfway across where TSA was scanning the boarding passes. Another woman walked over to the guy who allegedly scanned her boarding pass and asked him if he did. He said no. The Karen continued her act, so they sent her to the back of the line to get her boarding pass scanned. I know this one's a short story, but I thought it was humorous and I had to share. Thank you for reading. Yeah, 100% the top comment. Karma is good. Even a little is heartwarming. We're back on Am I the A-hole for the next one. Am I the A-hole? My partner offered another woman food from our share plate while on a date. My partner, male 30, and I, female 30, were on the first date that we've had in about a year due to financial struggles. I'd really miss spending quality time with him, but I knew that I had to be patient and keep working hard to pay our bills. We finally got on top of everything and had a really good week, so he offered to take us out. We had a great night, visited a nice bar, played at the arcade, and then went for some food. At this point, he asked me to go 50-50 on paying for the meal because, again, money is tight. I didn't mind, I was enjoying our time together. The share plate that we ordered was brought out to us and I asked my partner to grab some condiments from the front. While he was gone, a woman came in from the street and started to ask if she could have some of our food. She didn't look homeless. She had tattoos all over her face and a casual outfit. This is where I start to feel like an a-hole. I shook my head no. I felt a bit uncomfortable and I didn't want to be in the situation where a stranger is asking me for food while I'm sitting alone at a table. My partner came back and I was trying to catch his eye and show him that I was uncomfortable and that I was shaking my head no. He didn't look at me. He listened to the woman's request and immediately said yes, of course. Ethan went to the counter to grab a takeaway box and picked up the plate and offered her to take whatever she wanted. I felt really frozen and shocked. The woman said about me, oh, she doesn't look too happy, while putting her finger on the part of the meal that I ordered. She didn't take it and said to my partner, oh, I better just take something from your side instead. He stood there silently obliging, waiting for her to take what she wanted. She looked at me one last time and my face obviously looked unhappy and displeased. She commented on my facial expression, wow, you look angry, and left with her takeaway box. I didn't feel like eating at all after that. My partner was genuinely confused, thinking that he was impressing me by doing a kind deed, but I felt disrespected by both of them and my appetite had gone. I also felt like a huge a-hole not wanting to share my food with a hungry stranger when my partner is so willing to do it. His reason is that he's been in that situation before. I would argue that we don't know the woman's situation. I felt like everybody in the store was judging me and I desperately wanted to leave. We grabbed a takeaway box and started walking to my car. My partner was very upset and just walked in front of me the whole time. I felt ashamed and that I didn't deserve any of the food, so I asked if we could just give it to a homeless person, which we did. My partner walked off really fast without me and I called up to him at the car 5 minutes after. He was super angry at me, saying that he'd been in that situation before and why couldn't I just understand? I just started crying and saying that I felt horrible. He calmed down and when I tried to talk about how his actions upset me, that he didn't look at me and that he was so open with this stranger and that it made me feel invisible and disregarded, he said it was extremely difficult to understand me. Am I the a-hole? There's an update in the comments. Update, it is a real story. It was in a small pizza shop. We didn't have a fancy date at a proper restaurant because we don't have a lot of spare cash. So no waiters or waitresses or anything like that. The only staff are behind the counter. By fingering my food, I meant that she had a grip on my pizza crust and held onto it for a few moments while looking at me shaking my head before turning to my partner to say, I'll just take some of yours instead. My partner's first language is not English and he didn't really pay attention to what she was saying. I'm really hurt, angry and upset by what happened and the fact that he's unapologetic about it now too. I'm really unhappy. I don't like him anymore and I do want to leave the relationship. We have a rental together and the lease doesn't expire until next year and we have a partner visa together. If we separate, he will have to return to his home country. Edit, I totally agree with everybody saying that he could have bought her something for herself and I did think of that too late. I do feel bad about myself for letting it happen. I struggle with anxiety and especially in social situations, so I froze up. I do care about him as a person and I believe that he has a good heart, but this type of behavior where he fails to account for my feelings has caused a lot of issues in the past. We will navigate our way towards an amicable ending, but for now we have a few things that are keeping us tied together. Oh, that sucks, OP. I don't feel like you're the a-hole. There's a comment that says, not the a-hole, she was touching your food. And the comment under that says, and then taunted her, and husband is mad at OP. And the comment under that says, I'm confused as to why OP's partner thinks that he was impressing her. Like I already said, no dude. Why would I be impressed that you steamrolled right over me? Even if he didn't know that she said no, it's still not impressive of him to give away the shared food that they can barely afford without her consent. Yeah, definitely. And you're not the a-hole, OP. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my late husband's possible affair baby any money? My husband passed away almost 3 years ago, leaving me a solo mum of an 8-year-old. I've learned a lot about who he really was since then. Let's just say that if he were alive, we wouldn't still be married to each other. About 6 weeks ago, a process server showed up trying to serve him with a court order to submit DNA for a kid. I gave him a copy of the death certificate and I sent him on his way. Shortly after that, a woman shows up on my doorstep saying that the kid that she had with her was my late husband's child. Is it? I don't know and I don't care. It kinda looks like him, but also looks young enough that they would have had to have been conceived very, very shortly before his death. I told her that he was gone and where she could find his grave. She almost immediately started demanding her half of his estate. I laughed and I told her that half of nothing was nothing, and she was welcome to that. Where I've been informed that I might be the a-hole is that while it's true there was no estate, there were assets that passed outside of probate. One of these assets was a rental property that his parents gave us years ago, deeded with him and I as joint tenant with rights of survivorship. In short, it became mine when he died. I've already sold it and that'll be the money that sends my kid to college. Legally, I'm good. I already talked to my attorney about it. While I do feel bad for this child, I also have a child of my own to look out for. I'm gonna edit this to answer a few questions that I've gotten. No, there was no will in place for him. In my state, interstate inheritance laws say that the only heirs are me and my children. Then the first 50,000 of the estate go to me, and my child gets half of what's left. If this does turn out to be his child, then half of the estate would go to me, and half to the children, i.e. my child would get 25%, and then the other child would also get 25%. However, that's a moot point because his estate was literally an empty bank account and $40 in cash. Everything else passed outside of probate. A good estate attorney is worth every penny, even if I never could get him to meet with it or do his damn will. There was no life insurance. Yeah, I'm in the US and my child is receiving survivor's benefits. They aren't huge, but they do pay for the therapy bills. He hadn't worked for a vast majority of our marriage, but luckily did have enough credit to qualify. At this point, I'm not opposed to helping the other child receive the same benefits since it won't affect mine. However, my attorney has recommended to hold off at this time because we don't know what she's planning. She assures me that if the other mother files with Social Security, that they will backdate any payments to at least the date field, so holding off won't affect the total amount if it does turn out to be his child. I have no idea if she knew that he was married at the time or not. My husband's parents are alive, but our relationship is strained. I haven't told them about any of this, and I have done my best to let them keep believing that their son was a saint. Oh no, you're definitely not the a-hole, OP. And like you said, there was no estate. Yeah, this comment, not the a-hole, the goal of this woman to show up at your door. I banged your husband and had his baby, and now you must give me money. Too bad for the kid, but she's reaping what she sowed. Do not lose sleep over this. The top comment says not the a-hole, and for what it's worth, that's not a terribly uncommon scam for some reason. If you still have the papers, I'd look into if they were even legitimate. And OP said they were. That's the first thing that my attorney looked into. The working theory is that she really didn't know when she filed. Why she waited so long is anybody's guess. The comment under that says not the a-hole. She probably found out that he was dead and figured she could get some money some other way, since not directly through him. While some may feel for her being a single parent, so are you, and you have to be concerned about yourself and your son. Yeah, for sure, OP. Story number 2. Am I the a-hole for my refusal to attend my sister's wedding? My older sister, 41 female, is getting married to her partner of 3-ish years in a month. My older sister and her partner both have children. My sister has a 14-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl. Her partner has a 14-year-old girl and a 13-year-old boy and 11-year-old girl. The relationship is controversial. My nephew, 14, has been having trouble with the 14-year-old girl since the 3rd grade, and this actually escalated when they were doing virtual classrooms. She would write a lot of insults about my nephew and use the voice feature to target my nephew. But still, my sister and her partner started a romantic relationship and even moved in together. My nephew expressed a lot of unhappiness about this. So did his grandparents, biological father's parents. He's not involved, but they were always very generous in helping my sister with my nephew. My sister stopped all contact with the paternal grandparents as a result of them speaking up. When my sister and her partner got engaged, my nephew didn't take it well. There was a public scene where he told everybody present that she was marrying his bully's dad and didn't give a crap about him. My sister was furious. Nephew was devastated that his mum was marrying her partner, even knowing how he'd feel. My sister didn't want to hear from anybody, including me, that it was a bad idea and that she was risking losing her son. She told me that he didn't get to dictate her life and they'd deal with the bullying, but he was being unreasonable about everything. I told her that my nephew deserved space away from the girl, and she told me that he can't pick his family and siblings fight sometimes. 2 months ago, my nephew ran away. He was gone for 2.5 weeks and we were searching everywhere. He'd wanted to go to his grandparents but worried that they'd get into trouble. CPS intervened when he was found and my nephew was removed from my sister's home and was given a placement with his grandparents, which was his first choice. I talked to him since and he said that he was glad that he was removed. He said that he'd been prepared to keep on running away and he told the social worker that and more. We're in touch frequently and I do get to visit him. My sister could visit but my nephew doesn't want to see her, but she's proceeding with everything like normal. We fought over her picking the relationship over my nephew. She told me that I'll never understand. My invite came in the middle of all of this and I RSVP'd no. I made it clear that I was not going to attend this wedding after everything that's happened. My sister and parents told me that I should put aside the family troubles and attend or I'd be risking the relationship forever. I told them I stand by my nephew over my sister. Am I the a-hole? No, you're not the a-hole, OP. Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole. Good on you for standing your ground. I'm not sure why she'd want you there either with how easily she cuts off people for disagreeing with her decisions. Your sister will probably just live however she wants to, unfortunately. Just continue to be a good support system for your nephew. The relationship relationship between him and your sister will be a consequence of her own actions, and it's on her to own up to it. Yeah, and the comment under that too, not the gay hole. My sister and parents told me that I should put aside the family troubles and attend, or I'll be risking the relationship forever. I told them I stand by my nephew over my sister. Total kudos to you. She lost her own kid over letting him get bullied. Yeah, and it's so awesome of you that you're looking out for your nephew, OP. This comment says not the gay hole. And may I suggest making fun plans with your nephew on the wedding day and weekend instead? Probably going to be a very hard day for him, having his family around to remind him that he's loved and supported, and doing something to take his mind off what his mum's doing so that he has a fun memory of the day instead. And that would probably be something that makes a difference and sticks with him for a long time. It will completely destroy your relationship with your sister and strain your relationship with other members of your family when they learn of it. But sometimes it is best to let the trash take itself out of your life when it offers. Yeah, couldn't agree more. The comment under that says not the gay hole. Your sister is right when she said that you'll never understand, and that's a good thing. I wouldn't want to understand the reasoning of your sister either, and from what it sounds, choose the nephew over your entire family. P.S. Very smart kid to understand that his paternal grandparents will get in trouble if he'd run there. Pretty sure that he wouldn't end up in their custody if he went there, but now CPS could send him there as a third party. Good choice of him to do what he did. Keep on supporting him. The comment under that says not the gay hole. What your sister is doing is horrible. How do these parents continuously pick men over their own children? Good on you for standing your ground and supporting your nephew. I know that said, how do these women pick men over their own children? But yeah, of course it's men too. How do these parents continuously pick people over their own children? It's so awful. And yeah, shout out to you, OP. You're doing the right thing. Wow, okay, the next one. Am I the gay hole for telling my friend that I've accidentally been sleeping with her fiancé? Oh boy, that's a hell of a title, I'm aware. I don't really know how to start this, so I'll just get into it. I'll preface this by saying that I'm 22 male, very, very gay. I was in high school when I met this friend, and she was the cool older kid the year above me. For all intents and purposes, we'll call her Sienna, 23 female. Now, after high school, I went to an out-of-state college, while Sienna went to the local uni. We kinda lost touch except for the obligatory happy birthday and Merry Christmas text messages, so you can imagine my surprise when I got a text from my mum a few months ago saying that a wedding invitation from Sienna had gotten delivered to my parents' house. Sure enough, a quick text to the lucky lady confirmed that she was getting married. Her longtime partner Marcus, 25 male, had finally proposed. A summer wedding right in my hometown, right when I and some of our other friends would be back in town from uni. I was invited to one of the pre-wedding girls' nights because my life is that of the two-dimensional comic relief gay side character, I guess. And we got wasted, like the kind of drunk where logic isn't even in the same dimension. So when the topic of other people in the girl squad's relationships came up, like the genius I was, I whipped out my phone to show them the hot guy that I've been hooking up with as just a dumb summer fling, who turned out to be Marcus. Oh my god. Rightfully so, Sienna lost her crap. Fair, no criticism from me. But then she turned on me and started blaming me for ruining her wedding. For clarification, because I'm sure this will come up in the comments, no, the wedding invitation did not have any photos on it. It was on one of those minimalist designs with over-the-top calligraphy, and that's it. Her social medias only feature her. I had no way of knowing what he looked like. I don't personally think I was at fault here, but here is where I think I messed up. I very loudly and to the entire club drunkenly said, "It's not my fault that your cheating fiancé likes getting his back blown out, Sienna. I feel absolutely awful. I don't want to be the other woman, technically guy, but you get it. And I certainly don't want to hurt a friend like that. I've tried apologizing 1,000 times, but she's not interested in talking to me, which I do totally get." When confronted, he confessed to not only hooking up with me, but also 8 different guys over the course of their 4-year relationship. The wedding's been called off. Am I the gay hole? Interestingly enough, I don't think so, OP. Marcus definitely is though. Jesus. Yeah, the top comment, not the gay hole, because how were you to know? I do feel sorry for Sienna though. Yeah, same. What an awful situation. God, I'm so sick of reading about cheating partners. They make me want to throw up. Yeah, also the comment under that's a good point too though. Better now than after the wedding. And the comment under that says, or at the wedding. Yeah, oh my god, could you imagine? The second top comment says, when confronted, he confessed to not only hooking up with me, but also 8 different guys over the course of their 4-year relationship. The wedding's been called off. Yikes, you helped her dodge a bullet for sure. She's just upset now, but I hope that someday she realizes that it was all for the best, not the a-hole. Yeah, obviously, Sienna's life just got turned on its head completely. Like, that's a nightmare situation right there. But yeah, that's right, Marcus is the one to blame, not OP. Marcus cheated with 8 other guys. Like, how much of a piece of garbage do you have to be to do that? It's of course a good thing in the long run that Sienna gets rid of him, but it doesn't make it any less sad. There's a comment that says, I very loudly and to the entire club drunkenly said, "It's not my fault that your cheating fiancé likes getting his back blown out, Sienna." Yeah, you shouldn't have said this, but this is just a drop in the ocean of her problems right now, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. I don't think you did much much wrong, and Marcus is clearly the biggest issue. I can understand why she doesn't want to talk to you though, not the a-hole. Imagine if you found out on the wedding day. Would have been very dramatic. Yeah, and also OP themselves said that they can understand why Sienna doesn't want to talk to them at the moment. Like, yeah, very understandable. But Marcus is the piece of crap here, not you, OP. But yeah, poor Sienna, what an awful situation. Like, it doesn't even get much worse than that. You're about to get married to somebody that you love, and you find out that your friend was sleeping with them without even realizing, and you find out that your partner cheated with 8 other people. Like, for Sienna's sake, I hope this entire thing isn't real. That's so awful. Story number 4. Am I the gay hole for stopping helping my sister financially because she's pregnant again? I, female 35, live with my husband, male 38, in Canada. We've tried for a baby for many years, but after spending so much money on IVF and enduring the emotional roller coaster of miscarriages, we decided to live child-free and to enjoy our lives. We both went to great universities and have great jobs. My younger sister got pregnant at 15, and then again with twins at 17. The kid's father and her broke up when the twins were 2. She then met another guy and had 2 babies over 3 years. It was an abusive relationship, so she ended it. Now she's with her current boyfriend who had 2 kids, and they decided to have 2 more together. I've always felt bad for my nieces and nephews, so I buy them clothes and gifts and school supplies, and I do help my sister financially every month. My parents provide her with full-time care as well. She just announced she's pregnant again. I told her that I'm done supporting her because I can't be responsible for her decisions for the rest of my life. Both she and my family are calling me heartless. No, you're definitely not OP for deciding to cut the financial support. You didn't need to do it in the first place. It was super generous that you ever even did, OP. My sister said, when you're old and in some nursing home, who's gonna visit you? No one. You have no kids, and my kids will remember how cruel and selfish you were. Wow, that's an awful thing to say. Enjoy your trips while my kids are suffering. So what, you think all of your family members are responsible for your kids and that they should provide for them? Are you out of your mind? Oh my god, the audacity and the entitlement. My husband thinks I'm doing the right thing, but I feel like an a-hole. I would appreciate any advice or perspective on the situation, thank you. P.S. Her source of income is the Universal Child Tax Benefit, which is about $500 for each child per month, and child support she receives. Her boyfriend is in and out of jobs all the time. Oh, how ridiculous. The audacity of your sister, OP. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep irresponsibly popping out kids that I can't look after. Financially, that is. Well, probably not even just financially. Who's got the time for that many kids and expects it to be your and your family's responsibility? That's so entitled. Yeah, the top comment. So she's got 7 kids with another on the way. She's gonna be on $4,000 a month in benefits. I would have stopped helping her years ago if I were you. Not the a-hole. Yeah, same. It's so generous that you even helped her ever. Is she grateful for that? Doesn't sound like it. She sounds nasty. The second top comment says, give her one last gift, a box of condoms. Yeah, oh my god, maybe consider stop having kids if you've got 8 kids or whatever. God, that's so irresponsible if you're making your family members responsible for them. And this comment too, enjoy your trips while my kids are suffering. What? Her kids are suffering because she makes horrible decisions in life and is now a parent to, or parenting with her boyfriend, soon to be 10 kids. Not the a-hole. Your parents are going to give free childcare to 10 kids? Why? She doesn't work. If she had to carry the burden of taking responsibility for her choices, she might make different ones. Yeah, that's definitely a good point. And also, who can look after 10 children? That's like the job of 5 different people, isn't it? But yeah, she expects her family members to do it. Oh, the audacity. I can't get over that. Oh, you're so heartless because I keep on having children and I keep on making them your responsibility, even though they're not your kids, when I've already got like 25 kids. Your sister doesn't have a leg to stand on here, OP. And also, where is she putting all of these kids? How big's her house? She might as well open her own school soon. No, you're definitely not the a-hole, OP. Story number 5. Am I the a-hole for getting hurt and upset over a harmless prank that my husband pulled? So, me and my husband have been married for 5 years. We're currently female 24 and male 33. Way before we met, when I was 16, my mum's house had a fire that burnt literally everything down. And sadly, my childhood cat was also killed in it. Oh, I'm so sorry, OP. I remember my mum and brother waking me up screaming, fire, fire, get up, get up. We crawled out under the smoke and luckily my neighbors had already called the fire department and they pulled us out. We lost everything. We were devastated. So that was a while ago, but it still really scares me. And I check outlets and our stove and candles and everything all the time. My husband knows this about me. So 2 nights ago, I went to bed early because I'm currently 34 weeks pregnant. I'm about to pop. I was sleeping for a while before, for some reason, my husband decided to wake me up by yelling, baby, there's a fire, 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 get up. Oh no. Why, you're pregnant too? Why would he do that? And knowing that you've experienced a house fire, why the hell would he do that? As quick as I could get up at 34 weeks pregnant, I did, and happened. I grabbed my purse. I was just in automatic shock and autopilot. I knew what stuff I needed to grab. I made it all the way down the stairs, yelling for my husband to follow me before he started laughing and telling me that it was a joke. Who is this a joke for, dude? Oh god, OP, he's lucky that you don't dump him. It took a minute for that to process. I stood there with an open mouth while he laughed and ushered me down the rest of the stairs. I sat down on the couch and I started sobbing. It was genuinely the hardest I've ever sobbed. Yeah, see bro, this is such a funny joke, isn't it? Your wife is crying her eyes out. Oh my god. It's like I couldn't get myself to stop and my whole body was shaking. My heart was racing and I couldn't breathe. I've never had this experience before. I was genuinely so panicked. I was so upset. My husband apologized and was like, oh my god, I'm sorry. It was just a joke. I just cried until he eventually was like, what the F? It was just a prank. This is really dramatic. Oh my god, how rude. After a few hours, I'd calmed myself down and I went to apologize to him. OP, you shouldn't be apologizing to him. He wouldn't take it. He said that I was being over dramatic and made him feel like crap for a harmless prank. Oh my god, dump him. Oh god. He has had the worst reaction to this, OP. So I guess am I the a-hole? I've never been good at taking jokes. I've been trying to be less sensitive, but I don't know. There's nothing funny about this. How much of an a-hole is this person? Oh yeah, you lost everything and also your cat in the house fire as a child. Wouldn't it be so funny if I woke you up screaming that the house was on fire? And also when you're pregnant. I can't believe you apologized to him, OP. He owes you more than an apology. And also pranks are barely ever funny, like any of them. But this especially, you're bringing up past trauma for your partner. Jesus. Yeah, this comment, that's a divorceable offense. Do not pass go. Go directly to a divorce lawyer. This person's a piece of crap. Yeah, the comment under that too, I agree. People on Reddit are known for being like, dump him over minor stuff. But yeah, straight to divorce territory. What an absolute horrible person the husband is. There's no excuse. Yeah, there isn't. That's such an awful, revolting thing to do. And also, bro, if you find treating your partner like this funny, you're not a very nice person. Like, who is that ever going to be funny to? And yeah, 100% that is a thing about Reddit too. Somebody in a post will be talking about like the most minor thing ever, and there'll be people in the comments like, dump them immediately, divorce right now. And I hate that sort of stuff too, because there's nuance in life and not everything is black and white and not everything should be ended with a divorce. But in a situation like this, I would not be staying with somebody like that, OP. That's so revolting. And the audacity, the gall of him to think that you owe him an apology. Think about it for longer than 2 seconds and stop thinking about yourself, dude. OP went through a house fire, a super awful traumatic event, and you think you're the one who's wronged here? Christ. Yeah, this comment, not the a-hole. What he did wasn't a prank or a joke. That was mental abuse. That's the behavior of a self-centered, compassionless child who has no regard for how much he hurts others. In an adult, that behavior is unacceptable. Your apology shows him that he can abuse you and your future child in any manner that he sees fit, as long as he utters the magic manipulative abuse phrase, it was just a joke. And this comment too, not the a-hole. He's mean. Your baby's gonna have a mean dad. This comment says you went to apologize to him? You were in a tragic event and have been mentally preparing for it just in case. That's some PTSD, but a normal reaction. He took advantage of your fear. He needs to apologize to you. Yeah, and also, how old did it say that he was? 30 and OP was 19 or something when they got married? Yeah, this comment, another immature grown-ass adult preying on a vulnerable and naive young woman who insists on having a child with him. Not the a-hole, but come on, I have a feeling this isn't the first or even second time he's shown a huge red flag. Stop ignoring them. Yeah, I can't believe that. That's so cruel. You don't deserve that, OP, and you're pregnant too. The first one that we're going to read today is called, Am I Wrong for Uninviting My Future Mother-in-Law to My Wedding Because Her Actions Killed My Cat? Oh god. Long story short, not that close to her, but her and my future husband are close. Wedding's in 6 months. My childhood cat that I've had for 10 years, strictly indoors, only been outside within netted balcony. Mother-in-law offered to sit while we went away. Strongly believes that cat should be outdoors. We live in a busy suburb next to a highway. She lets my cat out and my cat gets hit by a car and dies. Oh my god. No. People are telling me that I'm overreacting, but I'm standing my ground. I know my future husband is in an awkward position at the moment, but I can tell that he's choosing her side. I might be emotional enough to just call it off. Edit, my mother-in-law said, I'm sorry, but cat shouldn't be trapped indoors. No. Has the audacity to say that? She deserves to be able to explore. How was I supposed to know that she would get hit by a car? Oh, this is so awful. It's unfair for you to decide to cut me off, my son has to say. She never really apologized either. How could she not apologize? apologize. Oh my god. How could she not apologize? Edit number 2. I did know how she felt about cats being outdoors. I was reluctant to let her cat sit, but my future husband suggested that I give her a chance in an attempt to bond. I thought it was a step in the right direction to become family. Boy, was I wrong. I'm so sorry, OP, and I'm sorry everybody that this is the way that we're starting the episode. I feel like we already need to read something wholesome. I can't believe she never even apologized, OP. That's despicable, messed up behavior. Ew. And also, you're saying that your partner is sort of on her side? Yeah, this comment, I would not be able to forgive her because it wasn't an accident. It was her opinionated arrogance. Your cat's been an indoor cat its entire life. It doesn't know how to avoid a busy road. I'm so sorry, OP. The comment under that says this 100%. Not to mention when OP gives rules for cat sitting, anybody cat sitting should follow those rules. Mother-in-law has just proven that she's never going to be trustworthy and always going to try and override OP. I'm so sorry, OP, for your loss. Yeah, and also then she didn't even apologize. What sort of an awful person is this? Ew. Imagine you're pet sitting for somebody and it leads to their pet getting killed, and what, you don't even apologize at all? Are you a human being with emotions? What are you talking about? And also, if your partner's not on your side, OP, I wouldn't even marry him. Yeah, the comment under that one, she would be uninvited from my life permanently. And if my fiance supported her and not me, he'd be going too. If it was an accident, then yeah, I'd forgive with an apology. But deliberately letting an indoor cat out next to a highway is murder. Yeah, that's so revolting. I've got Nez, Jin, and Chia in the room with me at the moment. I can't even imagine if somebody looked after them and then let them out. Yeah, like that comment said, they'd be out of my life permanently. You can't really ever forgive something like that. And also, what, is this the end of it? Like, did she just get away with doing that without any consequences? Yeah, and this comment, leave, it'll always be her before you, no matter what, and this is your proof. Yeah, like if your fiance's not taking your side on this, he's not going to take your side on anything, OP. Yeah, and also this comment, my cats are my children. I'd never speak to her again. Yeah, please don't, OP. Ah, what an aggravating way to start the episode. These comments too, why is your fiance not backing you up on this? Because mummy is apparently all that matters. Yeah, what a joke. Get rid of both of them, OP. Okay, this one's too much. I feel like we need to move on. Once again, I'm so sorry, OP. Of course you're not in the wrong. It's messed up that your mother-in-law is getting away with this, OP. And yeah, absolutely never talk to her again, OP. Like, I barely even feel like that's an option anymore. You don't want a person like this in your life, OP. The top comment says, if you don't want to invite her, don't marry her son. It'll never last. Post number 2. Am I the a-hole for starting the divorce process after finding out that my daughter isn't mine? My life feels like a bad drama show at the moment. For some context, me, 33 male, and my wife, 30 female, have been married for 7 years, and what I thought was our daughter is 3. Looking back, this all started after my wife gave birth to her daughter. She suddenly became a lot more affectionate to me and was a lot more active with me in the bedroom. She also made my favorite desserts a lot more often. She's a fantastic baker. I, of course, didn't suspect anything, since even prior to her pregnancy, there were no signs of cheating, but it could also possibly be that I just didn't look close enough into it. Well, this whole fiasco started 2 weeks ago after a day out with her daughter, and she just sat me down in the evening and came clean about the fact that her daughter wasn't mine. Her waterworks, of course, also started, and apparently it was a guy from the gym, and it lasted a month before he disappeared on her after he found out that she was pregnant. Oh, I'm so sorry, OP. Honestly, even typing this now, I feel like crying, since I thought I did everything perfect, but she still cheated. As much as I wish I could say I had a stone face or something, I just started crying and she tried to comfort me, but I just pushed her away. I felt so disgusted with her. After I calmed down a bit, I just grabbed my jacket and I left for a hotel, and while I was leaving, she just begged and pleaded me to forgive her, and that I was the only father that her daughter knew. After crying myself to sleep in the hotel the next day, after I turned my phone back on, I'd seen that she'd blown up my phone, and I didn't read any of it, and I just blocked her. I, after having a little bit of breakfast, contacted a lawyer to start the divorce process, and at work, I just asked for some time off, and my boss gave me a month off. By the evening, my mum and sister were calling me on her behalf and were on her side, and that just hurt me even more. They were on her side? What? While I'm not proud to admit it, I did drink myself to sleep that night. After that night, I started staying with my friend, and my mum and sister kept spamming and calling me. A few days later, she probably got the divorce papers. My mum just sent me a long text that, to summarize, was that I should step up and forgive her and not abandon my daughter, and that she would disown me if I went through with the divorce. What? My sister and mum are against me divorcing her, but my best friend and his wife are saying that I have the right to not want to be with her or take care of the kid. Yeah, of course, OP. I'm split on this. On one hand, I did raise the baby for 3 years. On another hand, I don't know if I could, in the right mind, raise the reminder of my wife's affair. Edit number 1, to put some context, my sister is infertile, so I think that's also partly why my mum doesn't want me to continue the divorce, since she will lose her grandchild. Your mum and your sister need to stay out of it, OP. They shouldn't even be involved in it even a little bit. That's so infuriating. They're only making it even more hard. The top comment says, "You're not wrong, OP. She only stopped the affair because he split after finding out that she was pregnant, and only after a month, she was already sleeping with him without protection. I smell BS. What would she have done if he had taken responsibility for the child? Most likely run off with the gym guy. You're her backup after he left her. I'm so sorry that this happened to you, OP. You can still be in the child's life, but I'd get into therapy before making any other decisions. But the divorce is 100% justified, not the a-hole." Yeah, and the comment under that, "You're her backup after he left her." Bingo, OP represents stability. The gym guy was fun. If he didn't split, the affair would have continued. If he had taken responsibility for the child, OP would already be divorced. I said in the last episode I'm so sick of reading about awful cheating people, but guess what? They're here again. Yeah, and also this comment, "Not the a-hole. Your wife also lied to you every single day for 3 years." The comment below that one says closer to 4. He went through her pregnancy and all that entails being lied to as well. Yeah, and also this comment, "Ask your sister if she'd raise her husband's affair, baby. And ask your mum if that's what she did to your dad, and that's why they're so supportive of cheating." Yeah, the fact that the sister and the mum are also getting involved in it too is so bad. Like, OP's dealing with enough here. He doesn't need his mum and his sister making it even worse. OP does have an update here. "Hello everybody, first off, I want to say that I'm high on emotion and I'm drunk while typing this, so excuse any writing mistakes. Also, I want to thank everybody that supported me and sent me nice messages. Now onto the update. After seeing a lot of advice, I decided to meet up with my wife in a cafe today. My best friend and his wife were there as well, just in case she tried to pull anything. I'm just going to keep it short. She tried apologizing and I just didn't want to hear it, and asked what I wanted to ask, why she cheated and if she had already done a DNA test like I suspected, and the reason she gave is the main reason why I'm drunk in my best friend's guest room. She cheated because the guy was attractive and she made a mistake. Isn't that a big arch? Give somebody all that you have and one attractive dude comes over and screws you right over. And yeah, she already has taken the DNA test and my daughter isn't mine, and I'm still going to take a DNA test for proof in court, and as well to just make peace with it. I also blocked my mum and my sister, and I'll probably give my mum a visit in the coming week to give her a piece of my mind. Yeah, that's about it. My wife got with the guy because he was attractive. Ain't that a big arch? I'm sorry if this isn't the update that you wanted to hear. Also, for everybody planning to say for me to reconcile with her, go and you know what yourself unless you know what I'm feeling at the moment. Don't take the moral high ground. Oh yeah, of course don't do that, OP. Never talk to her again, and also good job with blocking your mum and your sister too. That was definitely a good move. I can't believe the audacity of them supporting the cheater and only piling onto the stress that you have at the moment, making it even harder for you. Oh, it's so sad, and I'm so sorry, OP. You don't need any of these people. Wow, it's already been such a wild episode. The next one's called, "Am I the a-hole for giving my wife my honest opinion? I, male 39, have been with my wife, female 38, since we were in college. My wife lately started a new lifestyle, I guess, that she believes in no deodorant and no shaving and shower only if gets dirty, no makeup and no wearing nice clothes. She doesn't have depression or anything. It started when she joined a new yoga class. I never commented because she's a grown woman and she can do whatever she wants to with her body. She asked me today how I feel about her new me. I told her it doesn't matter how I feel as long as it makes her happy. She kept on asking, but I want to know how you feel. Eventually I said, you really want to know how I feel? I miss the woman that I fell in love with. She used to dress nice and smell great and shower every day and wear makeup and brush her hair. I really don't like this whole all-natural thing, but again, not my decision, so I have no saying. She started crying and called me an insensitive, vain jerk, and now doesn't talk to me. Was I a jerk when she wanted my opinion? Okay, so there's an update too. Okay, thank you for your comments and your direct messages. My apologies about my terrible punctuations. Some people asked if she ever sought out therapy after our failed fertility journey. No, she didn't. It really hit me, and I never noticed how it affected her. She still gets upset over pregnancy announcements from even strangers, and avoids baby showers too. Anyway, I decided to have a chat with her, and she said that she's been watching a lot of videos and thinks all the chemicals caused her infertility. I was 100% wrong. It wasn't the yoga class. She was following some stuff that she watched about detoxing her body from chemicals. She said that she feels like she's not a woman because she can't give me kids. I told her that I don't want to have kids anymore and that I'm content with our decision. I'm not sure why she thought doing that to her body could help. She said that I've been distant and not affectionate anymore. I laughed and said it has nothing to do with not having kids. It has to do with your detox. I told her, you've done nothing wrong. Why are you punishing and detoxing your body? We're gonna meet a counselor soon. For now, yeah, she showered and brushed her hair, haha. We went for mini golf and brunch. Yeah, I was a mega a-hole, I admit. Interesting. I don't know if I feel like you were an a-hole, OP. Yeah, like this comment says, you'd be a jerk if you lied to her. She asked you for your opinion and you did just give it. If she didn't want you to be honest, then she shouldn't have asked. Yeah, I don't feel like you were in the wrong, OP. It does sound like everything sort of worked out though, so that's good. Yeah, like this comment comment says, this is a positive outcome. You love each other, communicate, and are committed to fixing things. You'll be fine, and maybe kids will happen one day. Yeah, and this comment too, not an a-hole, just understandably clueless. I say that in the gentlest possible way. I'm glad that you seem to be finding a way forward. Yeah, 100%. The next one that we're going to read is on the relationship subreddit. My sister-in-law keeps the gifts I get my nieces for herself. I, 34 female, have 2 teenage nieces that I frequently buy gifts for. They're stuff that teens like to have, like jewelry and Lululemon clothing and bags. They pick them out and are very sweet and appreciative. This past weekend, the girls were visiting with their mum, 30s, and my brother, their dad. I noticed their mum had one of the belt bags that I'd gifted my niece, as well as a bracelet that my other niece had asked for Christmas. I ended up giving the girls some bags they wanted for school, and one of my nieces said, "Mum, you're not taking this one this time." My sister-in-law laughed and said, "Oh, true, I did steal your other one." My nieces told me later that she frequently takes the gifts that I give them and keeps them for herself. And this isn't just borrowing. She'll tell my nieces that the other clothes were lost or she accidentally donated them or something, and then wear them herself. Wow, that's so bad. Or she'll take the bags and refuse to give them back and tell them that they have enough. I'm actually really annoyed by this. They make plenty of money and she can buy her own stuff. Plus, these are gifts selected specifically for my nieces. Any ideas on how to address this with her without starting a huge fight? Update, thank you for all the great advice and suggestions. I ended up speaking to my brother when he called me about something unrelated. I mentioned it to him and that it bothered me. He initially was surprised and said that they share stuff all the time and assumed that they were joking about it. But I told him the girls told me later that she'd take stuff, tell them that she accidentally donated it or threw it out, and then wear it herself, and that they were upset about it. He believed it and apologized and said that he'd take care of it. Tonight, my nieces sent me selfies with all of their reclaimed goods. They said that she wasn't mad but tried to play it off like she was only taking stuff that didn't fit or they never wore or used. So I'll probably take all the advice to gift them experiences or money next time. Thanks again. Wow, that's so bad. Oh no, you've got enough. I'm gonna keep this one. The absolute audacity. There's a comment that says, my mum was the exact same. I wish somebody stood up for us. As an adult, after decades of this, I'm low contact and my sibling is no contact. She made us feel like she didn't think that we deserved as nice of a life as she did, or nice gifts because she brought us into this world. Yeah, like OP said, I'm so sorry. Yeah, how bloody awful. But yeah, you did handle this super well, OP, and at least it's all sorted out now. The next one's called, am I the gay hole for telling my girlfriend that she gave me the ick at family dinner? I'm 32 male dating my girlfriend Jenny, 27 female, for almost a year now, and we've met each other's families. Jenny is an only child of an Asian family, while I'm half and half with one younger sister, Anna, 21 female. Anna and I are close despite our age gap. Our parents both work demanding jobs and I would babysit and chaperone for many of her bratty teen years. In recent months, I've noticed that whenever Anna comes up in conversation, Jenny would joke about how Anna is overly spoiled by my parents and I, and how we've created a princess. Last weekend at a family dinner with my parents, I felt like Jenny was overly grilling Anna on school and dating and life. At one point, Anna was telling a story about how a first date gave her the ick by not pulling out his wallet after their meal and letting her foot the full meal. Jenny laughed and said that not every man will treat her to dinner like her brother would, and that you need to lower your standards. I wasn't happy with that comment, as it sounded like my sister didn't deserve to be treated with basic respect, but also I didn't want to embarrass Jenny. Jenny then went on to talk about how that would have never happened to her, as men see her as high value. I don't know what about this comment just pissed me off, but I said that she was giving me the ick and to stop talking to my sister like that. The argument that we had when we got home was massive, and Jenny told me that I was overreacting to an innocuous comment and I would make a terrible father because I'd always favor my sister over everybody else. I'm shocked at being called a terrible father, and honestly, I still don't think I was wrong, but I need another opinion. No, I don't feel like you're wrong, OP. That's so bad. Oh, I'm high value and you're not. Get out of here with that crap. What an embarrassing thing to say at a family dinner. And also, you're not favoring your sister over everybody else. You're just not being mean to her for no reason like your girlfriend is. Like, what actually did your sister do? Nothing, right? She was only telling a story. Yeah, like this comment says, not the gay hole. It's like she's trying to compete with your sister. I would have already gotten rid of her. The comment below that one says, any girl that refers to herself as high value in a conversation is an ick. Doing it while also letting your younger sibling know it's because they aren't high value is just cruel. And by the way, nobody of real class or substance would ever think that. Look at the people you truly admire in life. They don't usually go around telling others they're winners and that other people aren't. They're worth admiring for their actions and their words. She doesn't appear to have done anything that makes her something of value. Not the a-hole. Yeah, like nice guys. If you're a nice person, you don't have to say that you're a nice person. And you don't have to put other people down and say they're a bad person and that you're a nice person. Like how if this person was a high value person or whatever that even means, yeah, they probably wouldn't be putting other people down like this. Yeah, no, you're not the a-hole, OP. That's super cringe. cringe. Like, so unbelievably cringe to say that. It's the exact same as nice guys. Like, oh, I'm a nice guy and I'm an alpha male and I'm so cool and I'm high value. Unlike all of these other chads, it's so lame and such a red flag, and that's definitely enough for today. Am I the a-hole for laughing in my cousin's face when she tried to stage an intervention for my drug use? I, 27 male, have a condition which causes me to overproduce earwax. I don't tell people about it because I was bullied for it growing up. Only my wife and my parents know. Every other day I have to put medication in each ear, let it sit, and then flush it out with a rubber tip syringe. This prevents ear infections, vertigo, permanent hearing loss, and worsening of my tinnitus. I have dealt with all of these things to some extent, so I do stay on top of my eardrop regimen. If my alarm goes off when I'm with others, I go to the bathroom for 20 minutes and knock it out. If I don't follow my schedule, I forget, so I can't put it off. So people are thinking that you have an alarm that goes off on your phone to tell you to go do drugs in the bathroom or something? Oh my god, that's so funny. Surely not. Like, that would be a bit obvious, wouldn't it? 2 weeks ago, my mum hosted family dinner. My cousin Cara, 37 female, saw me waltz off to the bathroom to do my thing, syringe in hand, and asked me what I was doing. I said just a minor medical thing. She kept on pushing, but I didn't want to say anything because she gossips. Oh, of course she does. Now she's making up that you're a drug addict. I told her it's personal and I scooted past. When I left, she was standing in the hallway. She asked me what took so long and why the toilet didn't flush. I said none of her business. She said she didn't mean to offend. Last weekend, my friend called me to invite me out to lunch with some buddies. He said to meet up at his house so we wouldn't have to drive separately. I arrived at his house to find Cara and my friend sitting solemnly on the couch. Cara said that they were here to talk about my problem and that they just wanted to help. I said there is no problem. Suddenly it clicked in my head what this was about. I couldn't help but laugh a little bit out of shock. She asked me what was so funny, and I said, first of all, why didn't you talk to my wife or my parents? She said that she didn't want to involve my enablers, which just made me laugh even harder. She looked annoyed and said that she was done trying to help. I said that's alright by me, and she stormed out. I explained to my friends. They knew that I have a condition, but they never pressed me on it. I guess when Cara approached them, they thought that I was lying or something. Obviously, I'd rather they know than worry about me being an addict when I'm not. I thanked them for their support anyway. Cara had apparently reached out to all of my friends by social media. We all got a good hearty laugh out of it, which Cara must have heard because she was, of course, eavesdropping. She burst back in and told me to tell them the truth, to which I said I did. My friend kicked her out. We went for lunch and I thought that was that. Oh god, Cara needs to learn to mind her own business. That's Cara's issue. My mum called me yesterday and told me that she had talked to Cara about the whole thing and explained. She said that Cara was very upset with me and essentially called me an a-hole for not explaining and laughing in her face and embarrassing her. I said that I was embarrassed and that Cara had no right to my information. I think that she shouldn't go around snooping and making assumptions. My mum still thinks I should apologize. No, you definitely should not apologize, OP. What the hell have you done wrong? And you're right, that is embarrassing for you. Edit to add, she didn't see my alarm go off, just ran into me on her way from the kitchen. I feel bad for laughing, but that's so funny. No, you're not the a-hole, OP. Cara needs to mind her own business. You're 100% right. Obviously, Cara loves drama and stuff like that, and even you said that she's a gossip. She wanted there to be drama where there wasn't any drama. That's so wild. You don't owe her an apology, OP. Yeah, completely the top comment. Not the a-hole. She owes you a major apology, as her spreading untrue information about a possible drug addiction could have caused you to be harmed. What if somebody shared this information with your employer or something? Depending on your profession and your employer, you could have been suspended or lost your job. Yeah, but no, you're the a-hole, OP, and you need to apologize. No chance, Cara. That's so whack, and you're definitely not in the wrong, OP. The comment under that says not the a-hole, rather obviously. I'll refrain from waxing poetic, but you have every right to be irritated about somebody prying into a medical condition that you'd prefer to keep private. Okay, so first of all, good comment, and also beautiful pun. But yeah, that's 100% right. Cara realized why she probably shouldn't jump to assumptions, because she made a fool out of herself, and now she's directing that anger towards you, OP, when you didn't do bloody anything. Yeah, the comment under that, not the a-hole, obviously, Cara made a complete fool out of herself. You didn't have to help at all. Seriously, who says this person went into the bathroom for a mysterious reason once that I know about? They must have a drug problem. And then to stage an intervention, wow. Yeah, that's kind of scary how hard Cara can assume stuff. Like, that's a huge jump to make. The comment under that says, no, not the a-hole, no apology needed. I would have laughed my ass off too. She took a small thing that was none of her business and then inflated it into a big production that is now all about her hurt feelings dramatic much? Yeah, and that's such a good point too. Sorry, I'm going on about this. OP said that Kara was really gossipy. Kara then tried to make an issue that didn't exist because she probably loves drama. She gets told that that isn't true and she's making stuff up and jumping to assumptions. Now she's making even more unnecessary drama. Like now she's making it into an unnecessary issue where she feels like you need to apologize to her. Yeah, don't even entertain that, OP. You're so not the a-hole. Post number 2. Am I the a-hole for ordering pizza at my friend's wedding because there was no food? Wow, that's one hell of a title. Me and my wife were invited to my friend's wedding. The wedding was going to have about 70 people, mainly family. When we got there, we were seated at a table with some other people. Nice people, and we mingled well and we had a good time chatting. The wedding was also quite nice. Both my friend and his new wife were very happy. After the ceremony, every table got 2 bottles of wine, bread and butter, and there was also an open bar, so we started to have a few drinks. Then the food came out and it looked really good. The food was set up for a buffet. I was half buzzed and I was looking forward to getting some food in my belly. When it was time to eat, every few tables at a time were going to get cold, which was fine. The first few tables that were cold were understandably the family of both sides. Then the rest were cold. The problem was that the family members, his in-laws, are larger people. Now, I don't shame people for how much they eat, but I noticed the helpings of food they had while I was patiently waiting for us to be cold. I also noticed that they went for seconds before all the tables were cold and nobody stopped them. I didn't say anything, though I thought that was rude. I just assumed that there was just a lot of food. To my surprise, by the time we were cold, there was nothing left. I asked if there was more coming out, and apparently that already occurred. So we grabbed the little that we could and we went to sit back down and ate the scraps. We were all still pretty hungry and a bit pissed off, so we kind of bash-talked the first few tables that ate all the food. Somebody mentioned that they could go for some pizza, and then I had the drunken idea of ordering some, so that's what we did. We all pitched in and we ordered 4 large pizzas and some chicken wings from a local pizza joint. It was pretty close to the venue, so it didn't take long to be delivered. I met the guy outside and I brought the food to our table and we started to eat. Some of the other tables noticed and asked where the pizza came from. Apparently some of the other tables close to ours didn't get any food either, so we shared it with them. This caused a bit of commotion because other people were looking for and asking the wedding party if there was pizza available. I guess there were others that didn't get to eat either. We did share with anybody who asked us. My friend came to talk to me about why I ordered food. His bride was not happy about it. It ruined the aesthetics, so I told him that we didn't get to eat and that the food ran out long before our table was cold and we were really hungry. He then asked me why we didn't just step out and eat and then come back. Though annoyed about that, I respectively explained to him that we were all drinking on an empty stomach and that it probably wasn't the best idea to have drunk people walking around looking for food. I don't think he liked that, but he went back to his bride who was glaring at us. Like, what were we supposed to do, starve? This wasn't the end though. As we were finishing eating, one of the in-laws came to our table and asked where the pizza came from. This is where I may be the gay hole. There were 2 slices left and I knew that he was eyeing them. I asked the other people at my table if they wanted one. Everybody declined. This guy then said he'd have one. I then took them and I put them on my plate and started to eat them. Then looked at him and said something like, "No, you and everybody at your table had way more than your fair share of the buffet and ate all of it. This is the reason that we ordered food in the first place. And now you have the nerve to ask us to share?" His face went red and he returned to his table. There were a lot of discussion going on there. They were all looking back at us with daggers. The bride looked even more ticked off at us. She had a bit of an argument with my friend. He eventually came back to tell us that we had to leave. I didn't mean to start any problems, so me and my wife called a cab and left. He called me a few days after and we had a long talk about it. I explained my perspective and he agreed that his in-laws were really rude for eating all of the food and leaving most of the other guests with very little. A lot of people actually complained to him about it. Everybody was drinking thinking that there was going to be food and they were disappointed. He was upset with his in-laws because he told them how many guests there were going to be and to order the food for that many people. He also saw how much they were taking but assumed that they ordered enough and he was wrong. He brought it up with his wife and she said that apparently because the in-laws paid for the alcohol and the food, they felt entitled to eat what they wanted. She was really mad at them and reamed them out for tainting her special day. He also said that a lot of the other non-family guests started to leave after we left because they were too hungry. They still had fun celebrating, but it did kind of put a downer on their special day. Out of about 70 people, there were 30 left. I also found out that guy that came to our table was his father-in-law. Father-in-law was really embarrassed by what I said to him. He felt pretty bad when he found out close to half the guests didn't get anything to eat and left early. So am I the gay hole? Wow, that's so unfortunate. It's the fault of the in-laws though. Like what, half of the people there didn't get any food? Like that's a pretty huge mess up. And like the top comment says, I can't believe the father-in-law asked for pizza, lol. The second top comment says, no, for a wedding buffet, always order more than what's needed. The in-laws are the gay holes. You could have handled it better with the pizza, but half of the freaking people there didn't get food. That sounds like more than a big people got seconds problem. The comment under that one says, yeah, this sounds less like a they got seconds problem and more if a they didn't order enough food for the catering problem. No matter how big the family is, getting second shouldn't mean that 30 out of 70 people don't get fed. I'm guessing they cheaped out on catering and hoped for the best, and then the natural consequences of their actions came along. And the comment under that says, to me, it sounds like a selfish in-laws issue. They paid for the food and the drinks and they felt entitled to gorge themselves. They knew all the tables hadn't been cold, yet instead of waiting for everybody to get a first serving, they went up for seconds. Even after multiple helpings, the father-in-law couldn't wait until the event was over to go top up elsewhere. He had to go ask OP for food after being told why pizza was ordered. Father-in-law couldn't have kept his mouth shut, but instead chose to throw OP under the bus. In-laws knew that they caused the problem, yet not a single one offered OP an apology, just the evil eye. Unless I skipped over some part, there wasn't a single mention of an apology forthcoming from any one of the in-laws to any of the unfed guests. I've ordered food for a few Indian weddings, all buffet style. From what I understand, the customer says something like, there are so-and-so number of guests that we need to feed, so the caterer roughly estimates the quantities of the food selected based on that information. There likely was sufficient food made for all the guests plus a little extra, but there was no way the caterer could anticipate that half of the guests would be eating for two. But I totally agree, the in-laws could have cheaped out and been hoping for the best. Yeah, that's so frustrating, and of course you don't want something like this to happen on your wedding day, but it's not like everybody was eating and everybody was happy and OP just decides to cause a scene by getting pizza delivered. No, like half of the people there didn't get any food. Yeah, so the in-laws were in control of getting the food, and not only did they get not enough, but they ate all of it. They're the a-hole, OP. The next one is an update to a post that we read called, Am I the a-hole for ruining my own gender reveal party? I read that one a few episodes ago. I'll play that post right now before the update, just so that it makes a little bit more sense. So skip to this time on the screen for the update, guys. Am I the a-hole for ruining my own gender reveal party? I'm pregnant with a baby boy due in November. My fiancé and I didn't care much about the sex of our child, so we didn't make too much noise about it once we found out. The only people we told were our parents, their partners, and our siblings. Prior to this, my father's girlfriend of 3 years had been asking me about my plans for a gender reveal party. I've always been clear about not wanting one. When I announced my son's gender to them, she expressed disappointment that I hadn't changed my mind about a party. Wow, it's not up to them. I don't like gender reveals, I never have and I never will. I prefer baby showers, which I think feel more about the actual child. I never tried to hide that opinion either. Days later, my father's girlfriend invited me over for tea at their apartment. My dad was out of town. When I got there, about a dozen people popped out of hiding to surprise me. There were pink and blue decorations everywhere, which made what was going on pretty clear. As I stood there in shock, my father's girlfriend excitedly told me that they were throwing me a surprise gender reveal party. Since I'd already told her, she had taken it upon herself to order a cake with colourful frosting and decorate the apartment and invite a bunch of people over. The guests included her mother, who I don't get along with, some of her friends, my mother-in-law, not my mum, and 4 of my friends. As I later found out, my mother-in-law and friends had been told that I'd changed my mind about gender reveals. I had not. Still in the doorway, I looked over at everybody and I said, "It's a boy. You guys can go home now." I left without looking back. Hell yeah, OP. Hours later, my father called me furious that I'd ruined the party. He said his girlfriend had put a lot of effort, money, and love into planning it. I should have shown some respect and some gratitude for it. Apparently, she hadn't stopped crying since I left. It's been almost a week and they're both still upset. Even after I explained I never wanted that party, they're insisting I could have sucked it up for an hour, or at least cut the cake. Am I the gay hole? No, I don't feel like you're the gay hole, OP. That's disrespectful as. Yeah, this comment, you're not the gay hole. You made yourself very clear in how you felt about gender reveal parties. Your dad's girlfriend completely and deliberately disregarded that and disrespected you. He said that his girlfriend had put a lot of effort, money, and love into planning it, and I should have shown respect and gratitude for it. So sorry the party that she planned for herself was ruined. Maybe she should have gone a step further and not even invited you, since the party was all about what she wanted. Update, am I the gay hole for ruining my own gender reveal party? Thank you for all your replies, especially those who called me the gay hole for having a gender reveal. I am assuming that you didn't read my post, but you still cracked me up. All jokes aside, I've been expected to be a pushover for most of my life. Older daughter of divorced parents, so it was good to know that I was right to stand my ground on this issue. After reading your comments, I've concluded that the only thing I did wrong was leaving without talking to my friends and my mother-in-law. They were lied to and put in an awkward position after I left. I did talk to them the next day and I apologized, but I wish I had told them what was going on. A few days ago, my fiancé and I invited my father and his girlfriend over. I told them I was extremely upset with them both, but I wanted to sort this out peacefully. We still ended up fighting. My father agreed with some points I made, but kept insisting that I was ungrateful and I owed his girlfriend an apology. She was quiet at first, but started crying about 20 minutes into the fight. My father's girlfriend said that she threw the party because she cared about me and that she would have wanted one if she was pregnant. Yeah, that's the indicator right there. She would have wanted one. It was about her, not you, OP. She started talking about all the gender reveal videos that she watched on TikTok and how happy the parents looked in them. She told me that she genuinely thought that I'd love it and couldn't understand why I'd been so rude to her. To my surprise, my fiancé was the first to snap at that. He is usually the calm one. He told her to stop calling it my party since she clearly threw it for herself. I had expressed countless times that I didn't want a gender reveal, and I was well within my rights to leave when she tried to ambush me with one. Yeah, absolutely OP's fiancé. The fight didn't go on for much longer after that. Near its end, my father asked me why I hadn't at least played along for a while. I told him I went there expecting to spend an hour with somebody that I've been meaning to get to know better, not to spend my entire afternoon entertaining a dozen people, more than half of whom I either didn't know or didn't like, who got together to talk about my child's privates. I didn't mean to upset anybody, but I had to get out. My father didn't argue with that. There were two main pieces of advice from your comments that I decided to follow. The first was to tell my father's girlfriend that she needed to apologize to my friends and my mother-in-law for lying to them. She agreed and they later confirmed that she did. Secondly, neither of them will be allowed to meet my son at the hospital when he's born. My father had been looking forward to this, so that wasn't an easy decision, but I made it clear that it was final. My father called me the next day to apologize for everything, and I forgave him. I don't expect an apology from his girlfriend, but I'm done feeding that fire. My life is stressful enough as it is. My son's going to be here in November. He already has a name, and we've just started working on his nursery. I truly can't wait to meet him. Yeah, good job, OP. It sounds like you handled that super well. Like this comment says, I find this weird. Not from you, but from your father and your girlfriend, who somehow expected you to like what they surprised you with, even though you expressly stated that you didn't want one. It sounds like they had a specific idea and they ran with it while refusing to listen to anybody else. At least it's sorted. Yeah, and also this comment. I'm glad the talk went as well as it could. I'm proud of you for standing up for the child, even before he's born. Yeah, good job, OP. Post number 4 is on the entitled people subreddit. I can't wait to read about some entitled people. A lady wants my rollator. For those that don't know, a rollator is pretty much a walker on wheels. I had a stroke 6 years ago and my balance and my vision got messed up. I can walk maybe 20 to 25 feet on a flat surface without help, but I need my rollator to take long walks and take it with me whenever I go somewhere. I normally have weekly groceries delivered to me at my apartment, but every month or 6 weeks, depending on schedules, my mum will take me to a specialty grocery store where I can get a lot of pre-packaged meals that I just have to put in the microwave for a while. We were on one of these trips waiting in line at the checkout. The rollator that insurance covers was a piece of cheap white plastic, so last Christmas my mum bought me one that's black steel and titanium composition. It also has a pouch on the back for storing things, and when I need a break I can lock the wheels up, and it has a fold-out bench I can sit on. So while my groceries were being checked out, I folded the bench and I sat down waiting. When we were done, I got up and unlocked the wheels while my mum rolled out my cart of groceries. I'd barely gotten 5 feet when a lady walked up and grabbed my rollator saying, "I'll take this." Wow, what? I said no, and I jerked it away from her, and I proceeded to follow my mum out to the parking lot. Usually my mum will load the groceries in the car while I leave the rollator on the side and then walk my way to the passenger seat. After loading the groceries, my mum collapses the rollator and puts it on top of the groceries. This lady followed us out to the car and was waiting there tapping her foot while we loaded the groceries. Oh, she thinks it belongs to the shop or something. I didn't trust her, so I just stood there holding the rollator. My mum said, "Go ahead, get in, it's unlocked," and I just shook my head no and tried to subtly point at the lady as to why I wasn't getting in. My mum understood and finished the groceries. When she was done, she came up to me and folded down the rollator while I walked to the passenger side door. Mum folded down the rollator, put it on top of the bags in the car, and was shutting the door when the lady started shrieking about how we were stealing store property. I don't know if somebody got him or what, but a manager type came out and asked what was going on. The lady was screaming about how we were stealing the rollator and she needed to use it. The manager asked my mum about it and she said that it was mine, and even showed him the plaques bolted on that had my name, emergency contacts, and my medications and the schedule that I was on in case I needed them. The lady kept on screaming that she needed it now that we were done. The manager told her that it was mine. It had information on it that was pertained only to me, and that if she did needed help, they could find her a mobility scooter or something. She didn't take this and suddenly went from shrieking harpy to sweet old lady saying, well, maybe she could leave it here, and then maybe I could use it and leave it when I'm done for them to come back and get. The manager then asked, would that be okay with you? And my mum, knowing that we'd never see it again, said that we couldn't. We had other places to go where I was going to need it. The lady began screaming again while we just drove off. I don't know how it ended up for the manager, but I hope he survived it. Wow, that's unbelievable. So after they found out that it was yours and it wasn't store property, I'm guessing they were like embarrassed or something and then turned angry, or like even more angry. The top comment says the manager was completely out of line for not shutting that down immediately, and OP said he kind of had an exasperated, I don't want to deal with this tone in his voice. Yeah, that's right though, the manager shouldn't have even entertained it. Like, no, that's not going to be happening, and you can stop screaming at everybody. That's so awful though. Why are people like this? Story number 5 is also on Entitled People. Woman tries to guilt my family into giving her a seat that we reserved. Once I was at a parade in my city. My entire extended extended family was there, so think about 15 people total. My grandpa had reserved some seats for all of us. We get there and a woman and her kid were sitting in 2 of them. My grandpa told her that we reserved them. She looked at her daughter and says, "Well, I guess we better give him his seats," probably expecting us to feel bad and say, "No, it's okay." We didn't though. Instead, our group just stared until she got up with her kid and left. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, that would be awesome actually. Please leave. Yeah, the top comment. I love when they try the passive aggressive, "Well, I guess we have to," and start moving slow and acting sad. Perfect opportunity to go, "Great, thank you for understanding." Yeah, that's so funny. Good job, OP. Am I the a-hole for not tipping after overhearing what the waitress said about me? I, 30 female, was at a restaurant last night with my mother. She was meeting my boyfriend's mum for the first time. We're punctual people, so we got there about 30 minutes before our reservation. We got seated with no issues. It took the waitress 20 minutes to get to our table, even though the restaurant was pretty empty. Right away, I could tell that she didn't want to wait on us. She didn't greet us with a hello. She just asked what we wanted to drink. We told her, and I noticed that she didn't write our order down. It took another 15 minutes for our drinks to get to our table, and they were wrong. It's hard to mess up a ginger ale and a vodka soda, but she did. My mum pointed out that she didn't order a Pepsi, and the waitress rolled her eyes, took my mother's glass, and then disappeared. I excused myself to use the washroom shortly after. I had no idea where I was going, so I went to the entrance to ask one of the hostesses there. While I was walking up to the server area, I overheard my waitress talking to some other hostesses. She was pissed off that she had to wait on a black table because they never tip well. Oh, what? My mother and I were the only black people in the restaurant. She wasn't even whispering when she said it either. Oh, that's so messed up. I wasn't stunned, but her lack of effort started to make sense. I interrupted their conversation and I asked where the bathroom was. I didn't let out that I'd heard what they were talking about. When I got out of the bathroom, my boyfriend and his mum were already seated. My boyfriend and his mother are white. When my waitress saw the rest of our party, she did a 180. Her service was stellar. She took notes, told jokes, and our water glasses were always filled. She didn't make another mistake. Oh god, some people are straight garbage. That's so sad. And infuriating too. Because the night went so well, I decided to treat everybody and pay the check. She gave me the machine and I smiled at her while I keyed in 0% for a tip. She didn't notice until after the receipt had been printed out. By that time, all of us had already started to leave. She tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I'd made a mistake on the bill. I told her I didn't think so, and I looked at the receipt. She asked if there was a problem with her service, and I said her service was fantastic. But since I was a black woman, I don't tip well. Her face went white and she kind of laughed nervously, and then I laughed as well. I walked out after that, but my boyfriend's mum asked what had happened. I told her what I had overheard, and my boyfriend's mum said that I should have tipped her anyway because it shows character. Oh, get out of here. She seemed pretty pissed off at me after that. My boyfriend and my mum are both on my side, but I'm wondering if I should have just thrown in a $2 tip. There's no reason that your boyfriend's mum should be upset at you, OP. There are so many good comments here. Not the a-hole, and I'm pretty pissed at the boyfriend's mum who thought rewarding a racist would be a sign of good character. Screams volumes about herself. Your response to the waitress was superb. The top comment says, not the a-hole. I worked as a server for 6 years, and I'd absolutely not expect a tip for behaving like that to customers. She probably doesn't make much in tips, and this industry isn't for her. It's so inappropriate to ask people why they didn't tip you. This is so embarrassing. This one says, not the a-hole. I definitely wouldn't have tipped her after that. Even the waitress knew that it was bad when she asked why, and you told her the reason. No way should somebody tip after that. The one under that says, only not tipping was a kindness. She should have complained to the manager, left bad reviews, or any number of things. This one says, honestly, she needs to learn that lesson the hard way. Be kind to people. Don't stereotype and discriminate. And don't talk badly behind people's back. You're not the a-hole. She's the a-hole. Yeah, and also don't be a racist piece of garbage. Like, come on. That's the lesson for her. Don't be a piece of crap. This comment says, not the a-hole. This was perfect. You didn't cause a scene yet made her perfectly aware of the consequences of her racism. This was an incredible teaching moment that hopefully made an impact on a diseased mind. I hope she felt a deep shame that'll make her reflect and question herself. If it were me and I liked the restaurant, I'd ask for a different section and tip extra well the next time. And finally, this comment, not the a-hole. She should be thanking you for not reporting her and getting her ass fired. The next one that we're going to read is called, am I the a-hole for throwing out my wife out of our house after finding out about her affair? I really didn't want to come to Reddit, but I'm in desperate need of some advice. I don't know what to do. This whole thing is such a big mess. I'm also starting to feel bad of my decision, and the friends that I do have are saying that I'm being too harsh on my wife, and I shouldn't treat a lady like this, but I'm terribly really hurt. My wife of 8 years had a 1-year-long affair with a man that knows she's married and has children. I found out about this recently by looking through her phone after I caught her in some lies. Her stories just started to get worse. She was such a good liar in the start of her affair, but now her stories were just sounding goofy. The home is under my name. I paid for our home. My wife is a stay-at-home mum. We have 2 children under 5 years old. I was so angry when I found out about the affair. I packed some of her things in a bag and I told her to go. She tried fighting to stay and make our marriage work for the kids, but she didn't deny that she had feelings for this man that she'd been seeing. So I didn't even want to try, since she not only had horizontal mumbo with this guy for a year, she had also developed feelings for this guy. My wife has a joint account card and she also took my personal credit card under my name, and I saw that she used it to get a hotel overnight and she's been staying there this week. The kids are obviously with me. I have family telling me to cancel my cards and to report her to the police for theft, and they told me to leave her high and dry, but my friends are telling me that I'm being too hard on her. Yeah, stop listening to your friends, OP. You're not being too hard on her. And I should just forgive her and make it work. Hell no, OP. Since custody battles are harder for men, I don't know what to do. I don't want to have a harder life if I divorce her. Right now, I just wish that I never met her. She came by twice to the house to try to reconcile. She's apologized. She's leaving me hundreds of voicemails and missed calls and texts. Update, I spoke with a lawyer yesterday. My best option for me is to stay in the marriage. I can't afford to lose anything in the divorce. My life will be 10 times worse if I divorced her. I forgave her even though I know I don't. It's just cheaper to keep her. Oh my god. How disgusting. Oh my god, what a terrible situation, OP. Oh, I'm so sorry. Your wife's a piece of crap, OP, and you were not too bloody harsh on her. That's also such a stupid attitude. Like, oh, what's that, you poor thing? You betrayed me and you've been sleeping with some other guy for a year? Betraying me and throwing away our entire relationship? Oh, I better make sure I'm super nice to you. Obviously, you remain civil and stuff, OP, but you packing some of her stuff and kicking her out, that's not too harsh. There's a comment that says, do you mean that her friends are saying that you're being too hard on her? If your friends are saying that, they suck. Your wife cheated on you for a long time as a stay-at-home mum of 2 young kids. You're absolutely right to feel that it's over and that she needs to go. Cancel the credit card that she has and hire a lawyer. Hopefully you signed a prenup. Sorry that you and your kids are going to have to deal with this for the rest of your life. But yeah, like OP said at the end, my life will be 10 times worse if I divorce her. It's cheaper to keep her. Oh, that's so awful. There has to be something that can be done. So what, as in like she had an affair on you, cheated on you for a year, and she's still going to end up with what, like 50% of everything or something? How messed up is that? Is she open to having like a clean breakup or something, OP? I don't understand how stuff like this works, but like this comment says, the update though, are you sure? Can you get a second opinion? Staying for money reasons only seems so hopeless and doomed. Yeah, how brutal, staying together with the person that betrayed you. Yeah, no thanks. OP doesn't have any other posts or any other updates. I really hope something good comes out of this for you, OP. That's so sad. The next one's called, am I the a-hole for telling my husband that I see him as a liability and not as a partner? Sorry for the long post. It's 2 a.m. and I'm crying and I'm tired and worn out. If I'm rambling, it's because I've held this in for so long, not wanting to burden friends or family with my marital issues. I, 34 female, have been with my husband, 37 male, we'll call him Nathan, for 8 years. Ever since our daughter, 3 female, was born. I've been unable to trust Nathan with anything, no matter how small. For background context, when I was 19, after a semi-truck driver fell asleep at the wheel and turned my car into scrap metal with me inside it, I've got enough metal holding me together that I light up like a Christmas tree for TSA, and I'm physically impaired with good days and bad days. I used a portion of my settlement check to buy a house outright, and I have it retrofit to accommodate my needs, as I'll eventually require a wheelchair. I work in software development as it's fun and nobody cares if I work from bed on bad days. My husband hasn't worked in 5 years, which has been fine until our daughter was born. Between the settlement money, a paid off house and my salary, I enjoyed having him here with me. He contributed by handling most of the domestics. We pay for a cleaner every week that does a deep clean every month because that gave us more time together. Ever since our daughter was born, it was like a light switch turned off in his head. For our daughter, he would buy the wrong size diapers, not fully mixed bottles and put diapers on backwards, leave out poop covered wipes and forget to latch cabinets. This past week he's gone to the store 3 times because he keeps on coming home with the wrong size socks and shoes for her. I eventually just ordered the right ones on Amazon. For me, he has tried to help me with my weekly pill organizer fill up, and several times has spilled the contents of new medications all over the floor. Then, not seeing that he didn't get all of them off the floor, he's repeatedly brought me grapefruit juice to take my medication with, a huge no. He's repeatedly forgotten that I can't have dairy and puts milk in my coffee, or cheese on a burger. He's broken so many things of mine from being careless. He shattered my laptop because it slipped out of his hand when he tried to pack it for a trip, even after I said that I'd pack my own electronics. We've lost so many spoons and forks down the disposal. He tried to replace the head gasket in my car and overtalked cocked the engine bolt, which shattered inside the block, and 2 different shops said they couldn't repair it. We ended up getting a new vehicle because a replacement engine would have been 11 grand. A week after, he crashed the new car into the garage door because he thought that he'd pressed the brakes, not the accelerator. He wanted to do TikToks and streaming as a hobby. I supported him initially, but I noticed a pattern pretty fast. Anything regarding our daughter or me, he was sloppy and careless. He never whoopsed his own stuff. He would build entire sets to stream or make videos with, leave the garage and leave his brain in there. It came to a head 4 nights ago. He streamed himself building a new set piece, 9 hours straight. Meanwhile, I worked and clocked out early to pick up our daughter from summer camp, cooked and fed both of us and got her ready for bed. He came out to help put her to bed. I let him know that I needed to get some work done and I would be in my office, and I asked him to take the trash out. He says he will. 2 hours after, I left my office and the house felt really warm. He had taken the trash out but left our front door partially open and was back in the garage with his game volume super loud. I panicked since our daughter is able to get out of bed, and thankfully she was sound asleep, but she could have easily toddled right out of the house and he wouldn't have even noticed. Then I noticed the stovetop burner was on, with a small pot on it with nothing inside it. I didn't use the stove for cooking that night. I popped my head into the garage and said, "Hey, I need you for a minute." I informed him of the door situation and he responded, "I thought I locked it." We checked the cameras and no, he did not. I asked about the burner being on and he said that he was planning to make ramen and then forgot. He pulled the steel hot pot off the burner and put it straight into the sink on top of our daughter's favorite plastic plate, which is now ruined. I'll admit I overreacted and screamed, "What are you doing?" He realized what he'd done and pulls the pot off our daughter's plate and straight onto the countertop. I grab it and I run it underwater to cool it down. I tell him I can't tonight. I can't deal with him. I'm taking my meds and I'm going to sleep. He gets a cup from the cupboard and sets it straight onto the burner that had been on. I hit my limit. I started crying. He kept on saying that it was fine. Things happen. It's only an accident. He's had a rough day from streaming. He's tired. Why am I crying? It's just a cup. We can replace it. The anger hit me and I said, "It's because I have a liability and not a partner." He said, "What the F does that mean?" I screamed that it's because I can't trust him to do anything. That I'm always having to watch him like a child. Always having to bear the cost of his mistakes. That every time I get careless and think I can trust him to be an adult, I'm always the one getting screwed over. I then said, "I can't see you as a partner anymore. You're just another liability in my checkbook." He immediately stormed out of the kitchen and went to bed. I called my mum and I told her what happened. She thinks it's only stress and offered to take our daughter for a week so that we could figure this out without our daughter seeing it. She says that it wasn't a whole thing to call my husband a liability. In the morning, I told my husband that my mum would pick up our daughter from summer camp and offered to watch her for a week. He said, "Okay," and that's the only interaction that we've had since. He spends all day in the garage playing games with friends, making TikToks and streaming. For food, he's been ordering DoorDash and having the person deliver it in the garage. It's been days and he refuses to be in the same room as me. I've tried messaging him to ask if we can talk or figure out a solution, but he left me on red. If I pop into the garage, he ignores me but apologizes to his friends or viewers for the interruption and then unmutes his mic when the noise stops. Before the blow up, I have asked if there was something going on. I tried to gently respond every time he screwed up so our daughter didn't associate mistake to anger. I asked him to schedule with the doctor to see if something was going on medically. He always said that I was overreacting and that people make mistakes and didn't see it as an issue even when the same mistakes kept on happening. When I tried to get him to understand that it was concerning just how expensive his mistakes were getting, he'd wave it off by saying, "It's not like we can't afford it." Oh my god. The audacity. I love him dearly. I just miss the person that he was before we had a child. The one I could trust and rely on. Did I screw this up forever? Was I being too harsh on his mistakes? Am I missing something? Am I the a-hole? The top comment says, "I wonder how peaceful it's been for you since he started to live in the garage. Has anything broke in your house? Any accidents happening?" Opie has a comment that says, "We do have a shared account for household expenses and bills, but he is using his own money as far as I can see. When he became a stay-at-home husband, I didn't want him to ever feel like he was financially trapped or abused. Also, the thought of my husband having to ask for money, permission to buy stuff for himself, or not being able to buy gifts discreetly felt icky to me. My paychecks get split between the expenses account, $300 each deposited into separate accounts that the others can't see, and the rest goes into savings. To me, it's his money to save or spend how he wants." The comment under that says, "Is this the kind of relationship you want to model for your daughter? You tolerate somebody who not only treats your possessions like literal crap, but also actively works against you? Puts your daughter in danger? This isn't normal behavior. You don't deserve that. You deserve so much better and you could do so much better. He's showing you who he really is, and please consider that." And then later on, OP left this comment, "I read through all the responses and I have removed the allocation to his account. I also removed his name as an authorized user on the bills and expenses account. Before our daughter was born, this did seem the fairest because he was managing the household tasks and the maintenance, but I do understand everybody's frustration at me since the arrangement is no longer fair or equitable. I can't cancel his card because my name isn't on that account at all, but I have put a stop to this Friday's and all future deposits." Yeah, because OP said my husband hasn't hasn't worked in 5 years. So yeah, you're providing everything, OP. There are so many good comments here. He is a walking liability. Deep inside, you know that you're carrying him and that he doesn't contribute. As your condition deteriorates, this isn't sustainable. You need to find the courage to take action before it's too late. This one says he's leeching off you. You provide everything and he doesn't pull his weight. He doesn't have to work at a job. He gets to play instead because it's a free ride for him. He messes up everything that you need from him. Please open your eyes. He's a complete liability. You're right. I'd worry and I'd give more serious thought about your meds and his actions. Is he your beneficiary on the house and other assets? Does he have any sinister motives? He's obviously very on when it's something he's interested in and very off when it comes to you. Take a closer look at things. This comment says, not the gay hole. Let me get this straight. He doesn't work, breaks all of your stuff and behaves like a child. Congrats, OP. You have 2 children, 1 lovely toddler and a huge man baby. Man babies are notorious for being unreliable partners and fathers because they also need a lot of parenting. Seriously, your husband is an a-hole and I can't help but feel like he's taking advantage of you. This comment says, girl, I'll be blunt. He's waiting you out. You know that you have a time limit on your mobility and your disability. So does he. Once you reach it, he'll get worse as you feel like nobody will love you like that and you'll fall for the sunk cost fallacy, allowing him to continue his mooching ways, but worse. Time for him to get a real job. Speak to a lawyer about trying to secure your assets so he can't take them in the event of a divorce, which I'm in favor of, by the way. You'll feel a weight lifted off your shoulders. Who's paying for the DoorDash? You. You're his sugar mama. Do you want him in control of your medical decisions? Do you trust him with your future medical needs? Do you trust him to care for your daughter when you can't? To be honest, it sounds like he's deliberately trying to make you sick. Once your disability worsens, his behavior will worsen and probably turn abusive. He's already displaying early signs by icing you out and making you feel bad for his poor behavior. You're getting in the way of his games. He'll rectify that. The answer is no, you can't. Lawyer up and separate. Not the a-hole. Yeah, he's definitely taking advantage of you, OP. Like, yeah, what's he bringing to the table besides making your life harder? Good luck with it, OP. The next one that we're going to read is on the Entitled People subreddit. Daily visitors at dinner time finally decide to stop dropping in after seeing this. This happened decades ago in a small rural town. Not my story, but they don't subscribe, so I'm posting. A young couple expecting a baby live a few towns over from parents. Due to circumstances, mum's buying groceries for them. Son tells mum an older couple just keep dropping in every evening, just before dinner, and always stay and eat with them. They don't know what to do to stop them. Mum says, I'm buying food for you and your family. I can't afford to feed them too. This has to stop. Son, yeah, I know, I'm thinking about what I can do. Later, son tells mum, all is good, problem solved, they aren't coming back. He explains that after he ate his dinner, he called his large dog over to lick the plate clean. The dog did a very good job, left nothing at all on his plate, and then he says, well, this one's clean, opens the cabinet and puts it in with the other clean plates. The couple left almost immediately, not even finishing what was left on their plates, and they never came back. Wow, that's hilarious. I love how instead of just asking them not to, which would have been so easy, they came up with this plan. But also, to be fair, they might ask them not to come over and they might not listen. So at least this way, they don't even want to come over anymore. Am I the gay hole for not making him food after his work wife kept making him food? Me, female 27, and my husband, male 34, have been married for 3 years, but we were dating 4 years prior. He recently got a promotion in his company and moved to a different department. In this department, he recently started interacting with female 24. I dislike her, and I have from the start. Every time I'm there, she makes sure to call him her work husband, or she'll do simple things as making him food or giving him extra tight hugs. But my breaking point was last week when he'd come home with the food that I made him. When I asked him why his lunch bag was still full of what I made him in the morning, he said that female 24 had made him food and he didn't want to seem rude and waste it. So I ignored it until he threw away the food that I made him. I woke up at 6 a.m. just to make him his favorite food. But ever since this has been happening every day, it started to get annoying until today I decided to not make him lunch. He came downstairs in the morning to me making breakfast and asked me where was his lunch. I said I didn't make him one because it was going to go to waste anyway. He started arguing that I was being petty over a little thing. Oh, how dare you, dude. But I tried to discuss how I felt and he went over it. So am I the a-hole for not making him food? God, this stuff blows my mind. So let me get this straight. He didn't eat the food that you made him every day and he threw it out because his work wife was making his food and he didn't want to be rude. Hey bro, are you realizing how rude you're being to your own partner? God, some people are so annoying. Yeah, this comment, who's hugging on their coworker in front of their significant other or at all in the first place? I think you need to sit down and have a real frank conversation with your husband, because if the shoe was on the other foot, he would not like you doing any of this. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Is he blind? Imagine if you had a work husband that you hugged really tight and he made you food all the time that you ate, while also not eating the food that your partner made for you. Oh, I'm pretty sure your husband wouldn't think it was a little petty thing. Something tells me he might actually be very upset if you did that. I don't want to be dramatic, but I feel like if I were in your shoes, OP, this would already be enough for me to not like this guy. Like, yeah, you can tell him not to talk to her, you can tell him not to hug her, you can tell him not to do whatever he's doing, but you shouldn't have to ask. He shouldn't be this disrespectful in the first place. And obviously his work colleague wants to be with him, and what, he's going along with it because he doesn't want to be rude? Oh my god, yeah, keep doing that, dude, and you'll lose your partner. The top comment says, not the a-hole, the food isn't the issue here, clearly. There are so many Reddit stories that started with the work wife providing OP's ex-husband with food. There was even one where the work wife told the pregnant wife that the husband liked her cooking better, so she'd better watch out or she'd be taking her husband. That wife ended up having to co-parent with her ex-husband and the work wife that he ended up married to. I think in plain words, you need to tell your husband that you don't want him interacting with her at all, unless it's required for business and only as minimal as necessary. Her behavior from consistently cooking for him to calling him her work husband and giving him tight hugs are extremely inappropriate. He should not be more worried about hurting a co-worker's feelings than disrespecting his marriage. He didn't want to hurt her feelings by not eating her food, but he's got no issue with throwing his own wife's food away in front of you. His co-worker's behavior is a direct threat to his marriage, and it's his responsibility to set and enforce the boundaries to protect the marriage. Yeah, 1,000,000%. I don't know if I could really forget about this, OP. Like, your husband shouldn't need a reminder to not do this. He shouldn't do it. From the beginning, he shouldn't be this disrespectful to you. Like, why should you have to remind him when you could actually be with somebody who respects you? Yeah, I don't know. The comment under that one says, your husband's an idiot. He's absorbing the attention from a young female co-worker and snubbing his wife. You're a rarity in today's world. My wife has prepared my lunches for the past 26 years. Not out of duty or coercion, but out of love. I'd be damned if I would worry about another person's feelings, let alone a female at the sacrifice of my wife. It's not about the food. It's a labor of love. I hope for both of your sakes that he gets his head out of his ass before it's too late. Yeah, same. The comment below that says, it isn't just about the food. It's about the work wife and her hugging him and her making him lunch and bringing it for him from her home. She's trying to seduce him and he's allowing it. Yeah, she 100% is. OP does have an update here. A small update on my last post. Me and him are going to talk when he gets back home, but I did talk to him a little bit before he went in the shower. He just got mad when I asked if I could see his text between her, which ended in him getting defensive and saying that if I trusted him, I wouldn't need to. I may bring up the option of divorce, but I need to figure out the financial situation first. I have a job, but it barely even pays. But until then, I'm going to start packing up my stuff little by little. I'm talking to a divorce attorney and figuring out where to go from there, but I won't until me and him have the talk. But thank you to everybody who's let me open up on this a little bit. Oh, that's so sad. Of course he's hiding something, OP. Like the top comment says, well, if he has nothing to hide, he'd let you see his phone. My wife has full access to my phone, even though she never looks through it because she trusts me, and I've given her no reason not to. Do you know who my work wife is? My wife. Yeah, damn right. Yeah, you deserve better than this guy, OP. Like, straight up. The next one's an update post. The first story that we read yesterday was called, Am I the a-hole for telling my fiance there will be no wedding if she keeps on insisting that I invite my parents? That post where OP's partner was completely disrespecting their boundaries. There's an update here. Updates, my fiance trying to invite my parents against my wishes. I'm very overwhelmed by the response. So many thoughtful responses. Thank you to everybody who took the time to respond. I thought I'd give an update. My fiance normally gets home around 5:30 p.m, so after I was done working, I work from home. I waited for her to show up. I got very worried when it was 6 and she still wasn't home, but around 6:15 she shows up with my sister, which was a big surprise. While my sister and I connect every Thursday, we live 45 minutes away from each other, so her popping by is not normal. Both of them were very anxious, so I was confused. I asked them what was going on, and my sister just burst into tears and saying that she's sorry. After like 5 minutes of her losing her crap, she starts talking about the family. So apparently when she told my mum and dad that I got engaged, it started a rift between them. Not because they cared about me, but about my half-brother, who's 27, still living at home single without a steady job. If you're thinking, wow, they kicked you out at 19 and let him stay there past when he could rent a car, don't worry, I said it out loud. My mum apparently wants to do the same to my half-brother, but Dale won't let her, so they're currently separated, with my mum living with family and refusing to come back until my half-brother is out of the house. For some reason, that defies all logic and reason. My sister thinks getting an invite to my wedding will bring the family together, since it was my engagement that caused the rift. At this, I blew up a bit. I told her that my engagement had nothing to do with it, but their crappy parenting and poor relationship skills caused it, and don't put that crap on me. She cried even harder, and this time I was not going to console her. My fiance's just sitting there the whole time, so while my sister is trying to get herself together, I question my fiance about it. She also tears up a bit and tells me my sister was telling her about how I always bring up the family on a Thursday, and that deep down I wanted to repair the relationship. I asked how she could believe that when I was super clear that I was no contact with my family and I had never mentioned wanting to be in contact. I told her that I tell her everything and I'd never hold back something like this without talking to her. She's always been my sounding board. When I switched my job last year, we talked about it every single night, and her advice mattered more than anybody else. She apologized and then wanted to show me her phone, specifically the messages between her and my sister. At this point, my sister perks up and asks her not to show the phone conversation, but my fiance tells her that she's trying to save her relationship. My sister's been straight up lying about our Thursday conversations, saying how I was always talking about reconciling, how I would never admit it but I'm partially at fault too, how I really want to see them all again. Every time I would tell my fiance no, she would text my sister and my sister would talk about how I just couldn't be open because I was embarrassed. Right, okay, it's all making more sense now. Just completely false. I'd be perfectly happy never seeing any of them again. I can't believe my sister still sees them. At this, I tell my half-sister to leave and that Thursdays are cancelled. My sister puts up a little bit of a fight, but I ignore it until she leaves. She keeps on saying sorry over and over again, but I'm done with her. I have blocked her and I'll be no contact with her for the time being. A complete betrayal of my feelings and relationships. As for my fiance and I am still very upset. She went behind my back with my sister, never asked me about it, let my sister manipulate her and hurt me. I told her I love her, but my trust is broken. We have agreed to go to couples therapy and see if we can repair the relationship. I hope we can, but I'd say it's a toss-up for me. She has a lot of work to do. Wow, that's not an update that I expected to read, but yeah, that makes so much sense. Oh, I'm so sorry, OP. The top comment says, oh, sister. She's nuts thinking a wedding will fix anything. And lying to your fiance? Why didn't she ask you about this especially? Honey, I talked with your sister and I'm confused about this. Can we talk deeper? The end. Postpone the wedding because I bet somehow somebody will gossip more to your mother and Dale. I wouldn't answer the door or unknown numbers. The comment under that says, why didn't she ask you about this? Honey, I talked with your sister and I'm confused about this. Can we talk deeper? The end. This is where the trust is broken. OP's wife trusts the sister more than she trusts her fiance and believes the sister over what OP is telling her. That's some effed up stuff. Yeah, definitely. All the best with the couples counseling, OP. Hopefully things get better. The next one's on entitled people. $20 a day is too much for dog sitting now. So I'm dog sitting for an acquaintance for 6 days, currently on day 3, staying at her house because the dog is high anxiety. And since I sort of know her, I said it was $20 a day. Seems cheap, right? Apparently not. She texted me this afternoon to ask if I could Venmo her $80 from what she gave me because she decided that I'm overcharging. What the hell? Obviously, I said no, and she starts complaining that she's letting me stay in her house to do this, and I should really just be grateful that I don't have to commute so much. Her house is nicer than mine. Blah, blah, blah. But I brought my own food. This place doesn't have AC. Mine doesn't either. And she's also having me water all of her plants inside and out. She says that I'm being ungrateful and that she won't hire me again. Oh well. Good luck finding a cheaper sitter than B-Arch. Edit, she's not my friend. She's a friend of a co-worker that I've met a couple of times. I'm wondering if I bring it up to my co-worker or not, because I don't want to cause tension at work. So I'll just see if their friend ends up talking crap about me with screenshots handy. Oh, the nerve of some people. So she was asking you to Venmo her $80 from what she gave you, which is what, 4 out of the 6 days? As in she only wants to pay you $40 for 6 days of dog sitting? The audacity. And then to say, oh, my house is nicer than yours. You should be grateful. You should take a hike. What are you talking about? Yeah, like you said, OP, good luck finding another dog sitter for cheaper. Your prices were already way too cheap, OP. $20 a day? Oh, no, that's unreasonable. Give me $80 back. No. Oh, the audacity. Yeah, the top comment, your dog, house, and plant sitting. You should be charging more. And this comment too, she's wrong. I just paid $60 for somebody to stay with my dog. She was only going to charge me $30 a day, but I said, no, that isn't enough. And I gave her $60. Yeah, where does this person get off? And then the audacity to be like, oh, you should be grateful because my house is nicer. It's an honor to work for me, an absolute privilege. No, it isn't. And the fact that they have this attitude is so bad. bad. Oh, I'm sorry that you had to deal with them, OP. They sound so frustrating, and I'm not even dealing with them. Just hearing about this is bad enough. I can't believe she wanted you to give the money back. Nah, please send it back to me. They're gonna get such a rude shock if they do try to find a different dog sitter. Like, oh, what do you mean you don't want to work for free? Because it's an absolute honor to be in my presence and in my home. Delusional is what that is. The next one's called, am I the gay hoe for kicking my sister out of my wedding because she didn't follow the color scheme? When I, 25 female, was 9, my parents adopted my sister Jen, who was 7 at the time. Jen was thin and fearful due to being neglected. We did everything to make her feel loved. We bought her lots of toys. Everything Jen wanted, she got. When my parents asked me to move to a smaller bedroom so Jen could have my room, I was happy to. When they asked if I'd let Jen pick the decorations and cake for my upcoming birthday, I agreed. I was so happy to have a sister, and I understood why my parents gave her special treatment. Only the treatment didn't stop. For years, every trip that we went on, we had to do what Jen wanted to do. We had to eat where she wanted to eat, and she got to plan all of my birthday parties. If she didn't get what she wanted, she'd throw a tantrum. I still felt loved and cared for by my parents. They drove me to practices and bought me stuff, cooked meals for me, and spent quality time and gave advice, but I was always second to Jen. As I got older, I did anything I could to leave the house. I got my first job when I was 12. I vacationed with my friends instead of my family. I played 3 different sports and I did band. I took my driver's test the day that I turned 16 and I bought a car the day after. I went to college on the other side of the country. Now that I make good money, I do things I missed as a child. I take fancy vacations and I throw elaborate parties as I please. My wedding was no exception. My fiancé Kip and I wanted everything to be perfect. We thought it'd be fun to have a color scheme. My favorite color is yellow and his is blue. So my guest would wear yellow, his would wear blue, and mutual friends would wear green. I picked out a dress that had green embroidered details, and he picked a boutonniere with green flowers. When Jen found out about this, she was mad. I didn't know this, but she hates yellow and it washes her out. She told me under no circumstances would she wear yellow. I shrugged and said that was fine. I'll just kick her out if she didn't wear yellow. There was no further discussion, but on my wedding day, Jen came in a purple dress. I told her to leave immediately. The color scheme was perfect and she ruined it. Jen refused to leave until I threatened to call security. The rest of the wedding went smooth, but afterwards my parents were furious with me for kicking Jen out. Oh my god, it's your wedding, not Jen's wedding. Sorry that Jen doesn't get to have her way for once. I told them that I warned her she'd be kicked out if she didn't follow the color scheme, but they said they all thought it was a joke. They said it was cruel of me to kick my sister out over something so trivial. Oh my god, get out of here. I told them that this was my wedding that I threw without their support, so I can kick out whoever I want to. Kip came rushing to defend me and even told my parents they should be ashamed of how they treated me. Hell yeah, Kip. But over the past few days, a lot of people I've talked to, grandparents and aunts and uncles and friends, have been mixed. Yeah, but that doesn't really matter, OP. Some say that they wouldn't have invited Jen if they were me, while others think I should let it slide. Am I the yay-hole? No! And don't listen to the people saying that you should let it slide. This is your wedding. Jen does not get to control your wedding, OP. Even though she had control over your bloody birthdays forever, pretty sure she can suck it up for one day. Edit, I want to make a few things clear. I figured people would assume this, but I did not ask my guest to dress head to toe in their assigned color. I completely understand that people might not have yellow formal wear laying around. I said to dress in only neutral colors and or your assigned color, or someone could wear a black dress and yellow jewelry, a black suit and a yellow tie, but no colors outside of neutral or your assigned color. I invited Jen because she's family, and I honestly thought that she was more mature than this. I did not know she hated the color yellow when I chose the color scheme. Oh no, you're definitely not the a-hole, OP. The audacity of Jen and your parents. No, I feel like you did the right thing, OP. And also shout out to Kip for standing up for you too. Like, oh no, what do you mean I don't get to control somebody else's wedding? For my entire life, everything has been about me and what I wanted. What do you mean the wedding's not about me? Like, how entitled? And yeah, 100% like Kip said, your parents should be ashamed. The fact that they were still standing up for Jen and they were upset at you about this is so wild. Jen sucks and so do your parents, OP. The top comment says, not the a-hole. The question here isn't whether or not the color scheme is stupid. It very well could be, but it's also becoming the norm. And frankly, if you don't like it, you don't have to attend the event. But what you don't get to do is say that a color scheme is stupid, so I'll make up my own rules and force the couple being married to let me in. Jen was stupid here. OP, you did the right thing in kicking her out. Her feelings that she can dictate the rules of your wedding aren't any worse than you having those rules in place. In short, screw Jen. She got what she wanted in the end. Yeah, completely. And the comment under that too, to me, it's also very telling that Jen is apparently the only guest who had trouble with the color scheme. If everybody else was able to do it, it wasn't that bloody difficult. Yeah, that's such a good point. Oh no, the super entitled one is the one that has an issue. Big surprise. And also the color scheme didn't sound that bad. Like wearing a black suit and having a yellow tie, wearing a nice dress and then having like green jewelry or something, or green details details. Like, she wasn't saying you had to wear a completely yellow dress or something. And yeah, like that comment said, it sounds like everybody else didn't have an issue with it. Yeah, this comment too, your parents have enabled her behavior for years. Apparently Jenny's so accustomed to getting exactly what she wants that she believes she can't possibly be wrong. OP warned her about the color scheme and what would happen if it was ignored. Better late than never. Jen has finally experienced that she'll be held accountable for her actions. Yeah, definitely. In no world are you the a-hole here, OP. There are some people in the comments saying you the a-hole because they assumed that it meant they had to buy like a yellow suit. But no, the color scheme doesn't sound very unreasonable after what OP said in the update. I thought that too when I first read it, like, oh, what, you have to get like a yellow dress or a yellow suit or something? That would be pretty wild. But no, it's not hard to have like a yellow tie or something. But yeah, like the top comment said, the question here isn't whether or not a color scheme is stupid. It very well could be. It's also becoming the norm, and frankly, if you don't like it, you don't have to attend the event. Yeah, there's a surprising amount of you the a-hole comments here about the color scheme. That's not really the point though. Like, yeah, maybe the color scheme thing is stupid. There are lots of people saying the people coming to your wedding aren't props and stuff like that, but I feel like that's kind of missing the point. Yeah, I don't know. I suppose I wasn't really thinking about the color scheme of the wedding. I was thinking about how entitled the sister sounded. Yeah, I like this comment. I'm not a fan of overly themed weddings with what to wear instructions, but on the other hand, I've heard of way worse. There are 80 billion shades of yellow and blue, so it's no big deal. And really, if anybody had a serious objection to it, they could just politely bow out of it. That said though, what your sister did was an obvious play at upstaging you, just like she always has. Not the a-hole because you were standing up for yourself, but if you actually try to continue and maintain a relationship with her, be super clear about your boundaries to her and your parents. She could continue to make waves, especially now that she knows that you'll stand up to her. The next one is called, am I the a-hole for not telling my wife that I had surgery 30 plus years ago? I 37 male was born with umbilical hernia, like a bulge or lump type of thing where the belly button is, and I got surgery on it when I was 4. So besides my immediate family and some preschool kids who could be anywhere in the world right now, no one really knows about that. I was clearing out my end table. I found old baby pictures that I didn't even know that I had. My mum was a 90s Facebook mum when it came to pictures, and I put most of them into a pile. When my wife came to the room and saw them, her first question was, what the hell was that lump on my stomach? And I told her it was the umbilical hernia thing. Her follow-up question was how it went away, and I told her that I had surgery on it. Her mood changed, and she started asking a lot of why questions, like, why didn't you tell me that you had this? And my answers were, how would I bring that up? And my medical history is my business and my business only. She got pretty mad at that second one and ended the discussion there. Now over this stupid argument, she's been trying really hard to give me the cold shoulder. Am I the a-hole? This comment says, this is stupid because it doesn't affect anything, but I think that my medical info is my business was off base. There certainly could be medical history that's important to share with your spouse. That part was poorly said. Yeah, I feel like that's the issue. You probably didn't need to say that, OP. And also, maybe that's all the issue's even about. Because if it's really about not telling you about a surgery that you had when you were 4 that doesn't affect anything, that's a bit ridiculous. I feel like it's because of that comment that you said at the end there, OP. This comment says, my medical history is my business and my business only. She got pretty mad at that second one. I mean, she is your wife. I get that there's never been a reason to bring it up, but that second argument that you put forward makes it sound like there's more that you've not told her and don't want to tell her. This comment says everybody sucks. Totally normal for something not to come up, and weird that she did seem to interrogate you, but this part has no place in a marriage. My medical history is my business and my business only. She's the person who may have your kids and or be your caretaker during medical issues. Yeah, I feel like that's the only issue here. That comment that you made, OP. I was gonna say, it's a bit ridiculous for her to be so worried about something like that, but no, I'm pretty sure your wife's upset because you said that second part, OP. Wow, the first one that we're gonna read. Am I the a-hole for leaving my wife at the restaurant because of her prank? I've been married to my wife, 35 female, for 10 years. We have 2 children, 8 female and 5 male. We've had good times and bad times in our relationship, but we've always been able to get through it together. Until last weekend. Now I'm questioning everything. Lately, she's been watching way too many prank videos on YouTube. Hold on a second, wait. What do you mean? She suddenly has developed an interest in prank videos out of nowhere? Okay. She finds them all very funny, so she started trying to play pranks on me and the kids. Most of them were harmless and funny, until last weekend when she took it too far. We celebrated our anniversary, pranking you on your anniversary by going out to eat at a nice restaurant. She seemed absent for most of the evening, and I didn't pay attention. While she was waiting for our meal, she suddenly stood up and started screaming that I was choking her. She was holding her throat and tripping and falling to the ground, pretending to choke. Everybody in the restaurant turned to look at us. I was in shock and trying to figure out what was going on. A few people people came over to try to help her, and I just stood there unable to understand. Then she started laughing and said, "I'm kidding." I was mortified and so angry. The kids were crying, the other customers were staring at us, and the manager came over to see what was wrong. I couldn't believe that she thought it was funny. I was so embarrassed and so angry. Our kids were upset, the other customers were disgusted by what had happened, and the manager wanted to know what was going on. How could she have thought that was funny? I told her that I'd had enough and I couldn't take any more pranks like this. I took the kids and left alone, leaving her at the restaurant. We went home and I packed a duffel bag for the kids and me, and we went to my brother's. She keeps on calling and texting saying that I overreacted and that she was joking. I embarrassed her by leaving her there. Oh god. Hey, if you don't want to be embarrassed, why did you jump up in the middle of a restaurant pretending to choke and stumbling around like an idiot? What, you don't see that as being embarrassing? And also, how did she not embarrass you, OP? And she thinks that I owe her an apology. Our friends are divided. Some think that I was right to leave. Others think that I should have handled the situation differently. Am I the a-hole for leaving my wife at the restaurant because of her prank? I don't really understand what you should have done. Like, that's not a situation that you would have been prepared for. Oh yeah, I better be ready just in case my 35-year-old wife on our anniversary night at a nice restaurant, who's for some reason now obsessed with YouTube pranks, I better be prepared that she's gonna pretend to choke. Like, yeah, why did she do that? Even if you were like, oh, haha, that's so funny, it's still not funny. Like, even if it didn't shock everybody in the restaurant, even if everybody thought it was sort of cute, it's still not funny. That's so odd. I don't understand. I didn't expect to read that today. Like, hey, self-awareness, have you ever seen it? A nice restaurant where everybody are trying to have like probably a nice romantic time. That's not where you prank somebody. That's so weird. And also thinks that you embarrassed her. How does that make any sense? Did you expect everybody to be like, haha, that's so funny, and like the entire restaurant to enjoy it or something? Yeah, that doesn't sound very well thought out. And also, like the top comment says, not the a-hole, joking about abuse is completely unacceptable. Yeah, she was joking about how you were choking her. How is that ever meant to be funny? That's awful. And she did it in front of young kids, which makes it even worse. I don't even understand why she thinks that would be funny. Yeah, she was acting like you were choking her. Sorry, I thought the prank was about like, oh, I'm choking on my food. But no, it says they're screaming that I was choking her. Oh, that's a funny prank, isn't it? No, not even a little bit. The fact that that's even something she thinks is funny to joke about is a massive red flag. I'd be telling her either she stops the jokes for good or I want a separation. Then she needs therapy before getting back together again. Yeah, 100%. Super good comment. I feel like it's bad enough even if it wasn't that sort of prank. Like, even if she was joking like, oh, I'm choking on my food. Oh no. Like, even pranks in general I feel like are bad enough. But yeah, joking and screaming about OP choking her, that's terrible. And yeah, like that comment said, why does she find that funny? But that's what I mean. Pranks and YouTube pranks aren't very funny anyway, let alone something like this that's really not funny. There's a comment that says, not the a-hole, the prank wasn't funny. By faking a choking incident in a public place, she created a dangerous situation for herself and others. Yeah, and the comment under that too, she may have also just traumatized her kids for fun. Yeah, the kids were crying. They didn't know what was happening. Like, oh yeah, funny bro, funny prank. This is so bad. Yeah, the comment under that too, I can't stop thinking that a 35-year-old woman thought this was funny and appropriate to do, especially in public. I honestly struggle to understand people that pull pranks, period. To put it online, even worse. To do all of this when you're older than a stupid teenager, the worst, not the a-hole. Yeah, and the comment under that, in front of her children at that, and then has the gall to say that OP embarrassed her? Like what, you don't think what you did was embarrassing? Yeah, also this comment makes a good point. She was being genuinely, truly stupid, and I don't think I could get over the loss of respect I'd feel. Also, why'd you make it about you choking her? What F that? Now she's not even safe to be around. Yeah, that's such a good point. Like, are you gonna go anywhere in public with your wife now and worried that she's gonna pull a prank that you're choking her or something? What the hell? No, you're not the a-hole, OP. I can't really believe that we just read that. There's a comment that says, hang on, you said that she screamed that you were choking her? And the comment under that says, but then fell to the ground holding her throat pretending to choke. Sorry, makes no sense. Yeah, I'm still confused about that too. Either way though, it's still so bad. But yeah, one's a lot worse. Yeah, and this comment too, not the a-hole, you didn't embarrass her. She embarrassed herself. She needs to grow the hell up. Editor add, OP, show your wife this post. Yeah, could not agree more. Story number 2. Am I the a-hole to divorce my husband and leave him with the kid after finding out that I'm not biologically the mum? I can't believe my life has come to this. All I ever do is go out of my way to help others, but on the few occasions I need help, nobody ever comes through for me. I, 36 female, have been with my husband, 35 male, for a total of almost 10 years, married for 7. We had what I thought was the child by surrogate over 2 years ago because after 4 years of trying to conceive without any success, despite medical interventions, it turns out that I'm unable to carry a child to term. I had always wanted to be a mum. Devastated is an understatement regarding how I felt when I found out that I have a medical condition that would make it nearly impossible to carry a baby to term. It was even more upsetting when I had to get a major surgery to remove uterine growths with the hope to increase fertility, and then complications during surgery warranted a partial hysterectomy involving removal of my uterus only. I still had my ovaries, so we started looking into cost of surrogate. It's really expensive. My close friend since college, who'd already had 2 kids of her own, offered to serve as the surrogate for us to cut down cost. After 2 disappointing IVF sessions that did not result in pregnancy, she became pregnant on the 3rd try and carried a boy to term for us. I was so happy and busy after the birth between being a mum and returning to work after a 4-week parental leave, so I didn't notice any warning signs. I should have noticed the red flags and warning signs early on, but did not because I was so exhausted from working so much at my stressful job and 2 part-time jobs to cover most of the bills and anticipated medical and legal costs that's all associated with this friend becoming our surrogate. I was the primary breadwinner. My friend and my husband started talking more, and I'd sometimes come home from my weekend job to find her already hanging out at our house when my husband was there. I chalked it up as innocuous, and it's good for her to know my husband better since she was in the process of hopefully carrying our child for us. I was grateful to have somebody helping us have a child. I also thought it was weird that our son has brown eyes when both of us have blue. Oh, I'm so sorry, OP. Then I found out that while this is uncommon, it is possible sometimes due to many genes controlling eye color. Recently, it all came to a head when I took our son to a doctor's appointment and they did metabolic panel and blood tests which showed that he had a blood type that he's not biologically possible to have with me as his mother. He's B+, I'm A+, husband is O+. Immediately, I started worrying that it was the fertility clinic's fault and that they'd messed up and implanted a wrong embryo. I started lining up lawyer consultations to possibly sue the clinic, and I looked into having a DNA parentage test done. The result showed that I'm not the mother, but my husband still is the father. I was heartbroken and angrier than ever. I talked to lawyers about medical malpractice in the fertility clinic that we'd used. Then my husband confessed that he'd slept with my friend, our surrogate, on a few different occasions during our struggle to have her get pregnant with our embryos. This meant that what I thought was our son conceived by IVF and carried with a surrogate isn't my son at all, and it was in fact conceived the old-fashioned way, which I can't ever do. Livid and absolutely broken at the same time doesn't even begin to describe how I feel. I've been breaking down into crying spells over and over again about this. He claims that he didn't ever think that pregnancy could result because he pulled out, and he had always assumed that he was the reason for our earlier struggles to conceive, both before my hysterectomy and during the IVF insemination process with the friend. Oh, every day we're reading about a cheating piece of garbage. I'm so sorry, OP. I felt an immediate triple betrayal from what was supposed to be my husband, my friend, and now knowing my child isn't even really mine. I had such hot white rage and delirium. I immediately left home and stayed at a hotel for almost a week before asking my parents to let me stay at home for a while. I admit I left our son with him. I'm now filing divorce because he cheated and betrayed me in the worst possible way. I've also cut off my friendship with my quote-unquote friend, the surrogate, and I feel afraid to trust anybody else now. I have seen a divorce lawyer to see about giving up my legal rights to this kid so I don't have to face such betrayal or owe child support. My husband and friend surrogate admit that they were wrong and keep apologizing, but also called me immature and heartless to just give up on my son like that. It's not your son. And how about don't cheat? Ugh. My parents also say that I can't just give up on a kid that I went through so many legal and medical hoops to have. When I told them I refused to stay in a cheater marriage and I'd rather adopt someday with a better, more trustworthy partner, they also told me that I was wrong and that maintaining my parental rights isn't much different than if I adopted outright. Oh, get out of here. They said it isn't blood that makes a family. They are all about me divorcing my cheater husband, but they keep telling me that I'm making a mistake giving up my parental rights. Some of my other friends agree with what I'm doing. A few admitted they weren't big enough to swallow pride and care for an affair baby, or to see daily reminders of my friend or surrogate's betrayal every time I look at her son. I just want a clean break and a fresh start. I'm also looking at relocating several states away. Yeah, and you 100% should, OP. Don't ever associate with your cheating husband or friend ever again, OP. This is like the most ultimate betrayal ever. Betrayed by your husband who turned out to be a piece of crap, betrayed by your friend who turned out to be a piece of crap, and the child that you thought was yours isn't even yours. That's awful. Despicable behavior. Am I the a-hole to give up my parental rights in the divorce because a kid that I paid a lot of money to have born by surrogacy isn't biologically mine at all, but the surrogates? Wow, that's so sad, but no, you're not the a-hole, OP. The top comment says not the a-hole. One of the things that gets me is that you were working extra jobs to pay for the surrogacy, which I'm assuming included her medical bills and financially supporting her. I'd speak to a solicitor about suing her for your money back. She knew that if she was having having sex, then there was always a chance that the child was biologically hers. Yeah, definitely. What a piece of crap of a friend. And a piece of crap of a husband too. Oh, so sad. What's with all these people being awful? OP left a comment that says he feels like biological maternity shouldn't matter that much when it means that I'm finally fulfilling my dream of becoming a mother. He says that if I adopt someday, I'm still going to have to raise a child that's not biologically mine. He has reminded me about what a depressive wreck I was during the infertility, the aftermath of my partial hysterectomy, and how I put him through the ringer because I was obsessed with wanting to have a child. There's no excuse for cheating, dude. He claimed that I pushed him away with my baby obsession and that he couldn't deal with me anymore, and that's why he started spraying the way that he did. He also says that I can't just turn my back on a child when I legally signed all the paperwork. Hey bro, you can't just turn your back on your wife and cheat on her. Christ. The audacity of this guy. Which is similar to adoption paperwork, since the state doesn't readily recognize a child born to a surrogate to be the couple's child, since they base it on the person who gave birth to the child as being the legal mother until paperwork is signed that transfers the rights over. He also claimed that I'm going to have a difficult battle ahead of me trying to reverse that. Yeah, the comment under that. He's trying to frame his cheating like he's done some huge favor for you. Don't fall for it. Yeah, don't fall for it, OP. Like, honestly, sue them and don't speak to them ever again. The next one's on the relationship subreddit. My male 40 wife's female 35 career choice has turned into a social event. We've been married for 10 years and I don't know what to do. What's the next step for me? My wife and I have been married for 10 years and we really do have an amazing relationship. We have 2 beautiful kids, a nice home, I own my own business and things are great. We have a great horizontal Mumbai life and social life outside of our family life with kids. My wife, after years in various parts of the industry, got her real estate license about 4 years ago. It was something to fill in time, keep busy and make a little extra income. The company that she's been with for the past 2 or 3 years has a real emphasis on social networking events and it has caused a rift between us. I've attended 1 or 2 of these events and I've left all of them with a troubling feeling. I'd say that 9 out of 10 people that I met rubbed me the wrong way. Many of them are very self-absorbed and can only talk about themselves and their success and are very flirtatious with my wife. To be fair, she is incredibly attractive but approachable and friendly. The last few events that my wife has attended resulted in her coming home late and involved in excessive drinking. There are 2 things that really bother me about it. I feel that her professional relationships with men at her company have become more social than professional, and these networking events seem more like an excuse to go and hang out with other guys and drink. While many of them are married, I don't trust their intentions. Last week my wife went to an event and we agreed that she'd be back by 12. I even went out of my way to make a point of asking her to be responsible and to limit the amount that she drinks. Well, 2 in the morning rolled around and there was no sign of her. She wouldn't respond to text messages. I could see she was still in the general area of the event, which was over an hour from our house. Finally, after calling a few times, she did answer. I could tell she was extremely drunk. She told me she was staying at a hotel with one of her girlfriends, and I had to quickly remind her that I had to be up at 4:30 in the morning to get ready for work. Long story short, she took an Uber to the train and ended up driving her car home drunk. As if that wasn't bad enough, I noticed on her phone that she had very flirtatious text messages with multiple married and single men. Oh, she's awful, OP. I've really had enough of this career choice. She doesn't seem responsible enough to attend these events and it's causing a big divide between the 2 of us. Yeah, she's also the issue, OP, not just her work. I'm really at a loss for what my next step should be. There was a similar situation to this one a few months ago, and at that point she had promised that she was going to control herself and be more responsible, but it's pretty obvious that she's not able to do that. Yeah, but OP, do you want to be with somebody like this? You've seen the flirtatious messages. That's already so revolting. There's probably more stuff that you don't know about. She might even be cheating on you at the moment, and also driving drunk. What the hell? Yeah, like this comment said, she wouldn't respond to text, staying at a hotel with one of her girlfriends, flirtatious text messages with multiple men. I think you know what's going on. The comment under that says, yeah, for real, this goes so much deeper than I want her to quit her job. It's not just a job to her. The reality is she enjoys the lifestyle and their marriage is no longer what OP thinks it is. This sounds like the opposite of the amazing relationship he claims they have. I swear, some people really do put on the blinders when reality hits them in the face because the truth hurts too much. Yeah, 1,000,000%. I feel so sorry for you, OP, but I hope you realize that you deserve a better partner than this. Yeah, this comment, I think the problem is you're separating her from her career choice. There are plenty of real estate professionals who don't routinely get drunk and leave their hardworking spouse and kids at home to go and flirt with other married and single people. Your wife is 100% the problem, not her career choice. I'd be close to divorce if there's no intention to change from her. She will end up cheating on you. Yeah, and this comment, the way that she's acting, she for sure already has. Hotel with my girlfriends. Oh yeah, give me a break. She's definitely hooking up with guys from these events. It's only a matter of time before OP finally catches her. Yeah, I don't like to jump to conclusions conclusions, but I think there are definitely enough red flags here from your wife, OP. And yeah, like that comment said, your wife is the issue, not her career choice. That's so sad, and you don't deserve that in a partner, OP. And drunk driving too? Like there weren't already enough red flags. OP left a comment that said, we've had these heart-to-heart discussions in the past due to a previous situation and, for lack of a better term, has relapsed. She feels guilty, she makes promises, she swears nothing physical has happened and that it's only flirting. She knows the random binge drinking is wrong but can't seem to prevent herself from doing it. We're very different in that. If she ever questioned the way I conducted myself, I have the discipline to change immediately. I'd quit drinking that day, and it wouldn't take much for me to do so. She doesn't have that personality. She's very much an extrovert, and I'm not, so she loves to socialize and party with 100 acquaintances. I'd rather hang with a small group of family and close friends. Yeah, the comment under that, flirting conversations with other men isn't appropriate, and especially when she can't control her drinking. Holy hell, man, you need to make it clear that she's about to lose her entire family. Yeah, how awful. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend, 27, that I find it weird that her best friend, male, is cuddling with her when I'm not around? Okay, so this better not be real. Long story short, my girlfriend, 27, has a lot of male friends and generally just has a better vibe with guys. Borderline pick-me vibe in a lovable way. She has a really close friend from high school, male 27. They text almost every day and they have nicknames for each other that are typically associated with relationships. They've never kissed or had horizontal mumbo, but whenever they're alone, they like to cuddle while watching TV. Nah, this isn't real. They don't do it whenever his girlfriend is around, and he kinda refuses to meet me. I'm not concerned that she's cheating or that she has feelings for him. Why not, dude? It's more just that I find it weird. In my opinion, cuddling between two adults just isn't appropriate, especially when it only occurs when they're alone. On the other hand, I can't figure out if it's just a cultural thing. I'm black, they're white, and this might be some cultural ritual that I'm not aware of. So am I the a-hole for telling her to stop? Nah, this is not real. Nah. The top comment says, whenever they're alone, they like to cuddle while watching TV. They don't do it whenever his girlfriend is around and he kinda refuses to meet me. Bruh. This comment says, bro, you're not seriously this far in denial, are you? Yeah, like it can't be real, can it? The comment under that says, oh honey. This one says, not the a-hole, but not very smart. This one says, he refuses to meet you. You're in denial, lol. This one says, that's not borderline or lovable, my guy. Does this guy know that you're dating his girlfriend? She's cheating on you, full stop. Emotionally and physically. Well, really just not sexually as far as you know. It's really weird that you're effing posting here. You should have dumped her immediately when you found out that she was cuddling with other dudes. Yeah, there's no way that it's real, is there? Yeah, this comment, this can't be real, lol. I'm really hoping not. Am I the a-hole for telling my fiancé there will be no wedding if she keeps on insisting that I invite my parents? So some backstory, my dad left the family and went no contact when I, 35 male, was 4. My mum remarried and had 2 kids with my stepdad. My stepdad never treated me poorly, but always made it clear that I was Dale to him. He was not my dad. My mum never tried to fix the relationship and honestly loved her new family and always saw me as a burden. That's what I thought, at least until it was confirmed after my freshman year of college when my mum asked me to not come home anymore. I blocked her after that phone call and I've had no contact with her or my stepdad and half-brother since. I do still speak to my half-sister, 25 female, at her insistence, but that's my only contact. It took me a long time to deal with basically being kicked out of my family. I grew to be pretty independent and I thought that I'd live alone until I met my fiance, 28 female, 4 years ago. We've had a great relationship and her family opened up and invited me in with open arms. She's coming from a pretty typical suburban family and they are great. Over the years, I've told her about my issues with my family. She has met my sister and she never pushed me for more until we started planning the wedding. When we started talking about who we'd invite, I talked about friends from college and co-workers, and she kept on saying that I should invite my parents. At first I thought she was only trying to gauge if I wanted to. I said I would not be inviting my parents. She said okay, but then brought it up again the next day. I calmly explained how much they hurt me, how growing up feeling that you're unwanted and then having it confirmed at 19 really stunted my mental health, that over the years I've realized it's their problem, and if they ever want to solve it, they can initiate it. But I am in contact with my sister and it's clear that they're happy insisting that I don't exist. It sucks, but it's their problem they've thrust onto me. I can't be the one to solve it. I thought it had ended, but she brought it up 2 more times. The last one last night, we were about to start the save the dates and she said, are you sure you don't want to invite your parents? I feel like I might just invite them on my side. And I snapped. I told her that we should probably just throw the invitations away because if you can't respect what I've been through, then I don't want to marry you. I then went to her bedroom and I fumed about it for a while. She came in to try to talk to me and I walked out out and grabbed my keys and left. I came back around 11 p.m. after hanging out with my friends and I slept on the couch. She left for work without a word to me and I don't know where we stand. Her behaviour's unacceptable, but I feel like I may have gone too far. What do you think? Am I the a-hole? No, I don't feel like you're the a-hole, OP. I don't know if maybe she's not really listening or it's just something that she doesn't understand. But no, for her to say, oh, I might just invite them on my side, get out of here with that. Like, the audacity of that is so wild, OP, and that would definitely hurt. She's not taking it serious, OP. And yeah, 100% it's a lack of respect. She should respect you enough to leave it at that. And I feel like what you said to her was completely fine. This comment says you did not go too far. We see posts on here with regular frequency where somebody's partner thinks they know better and they invite the estranged family to the wedding as a surprise, or have gone behind their partner's back and forged a relationship with the estranged family because they're family. She's not taking you seriously, and I wouldn't be surprised if she does go behind your back and does all of the above and more. Time to take a step back from her so you can breathe and make a decision that feels right for you, not the a-hole. Yeah, and it's a boundary thing too. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna walk all over your boundaries. That's so bad. The top comment says, not the a-hole. I remember a post from a long time ago where the groom was no contact with his extremely abusive mother, and the bride had secretly invited her to the wedding. When the groom saw his mother, he left the bride at the altar, and all of the siblings and his father berated her for being so thoughtless. The relationship was finished because she couldn't respect the groom's wishes. If she doesn't respect you now, she won't respect you once you're married. Wow, that's so wild. But yeah, 100% she's not respecting you, OP. And also what, she hasn't apologized either, or tried to apologize? And also this comment, in my opinion, you need to sit down with her and tell her that either you need to push back the wedding date to go and get couples therapy for her issues of not hearing you and respecting you as a partner, or if she isn't willing to work on her problem, then calling off the wedding is the only option. As some here have suggested, there's a fair chance that she has already contacted your mum about the wedding. If you do go on with the wedding, be clear that if she brings it up again, the wedding's off, and if they somehow show up, oopsie, that you would absolutely leave the venue. Without any respect and trust, there isn't even any point to get married. Not the a-hole, but it sounds like you're engaged to one. Yeah, I sort of get the feeling that she doesn't think she's done anything wrong, and that's definitely annoying. Like, she doesn't get it, OP, but also it's completely fine if your partner doesn't understand something like this because they haven't experienced it. But of course, you still respect your partner's boundaries, and you still sympathize, and you still listen to them and respect them. She's not doing any of that. She's acting like it's some little issue. Like, oh, so have you changed your mind about inviting your parents? I think I might just invite them. Yeah, good on you for standing up for yourself, OP. You're 1,000,000% not the a-hole. Wow, the next one, it's gonna be another cheating one. Am I the a-hole for calling off my engagement because my fiancé hangs out with somebody she quote-unquote had no self-control with when it comes to horizontal mumbo? I don't want to lose my faith in humanity this early in the episode. I was engaged to my girlfriend. We've been together for about 3 years. We took our friends to celebrate. We all got a bit drunk and her friend started spilling some stuff about my girlfriend's past. My friend said that my girlfriend finally managed to control her hoe side, and she never could control herself around her friend, more specifically her male friend. Let's call him Bob. So from what I heard about Bob, he used to hook up regularly with my girlfriend. After we got home, I asked more questions to my girlfriend about her controlling herself. I had to press her and she confessed that she cheated on previous boyfriends with Bob, and Bob cheated with her. She confessed that her exes never found out. Bob and her still hang out from time to time. Oh my god, is she cheating on you with Bob, OP? They were friends since college, and now I'm here, her boyfriend who was her fiancé, now having almost no trust towards her. I asked her for the ring back and she insisted that nothing happened with Bob since we got together, but after learning all of this, I just don't believe her. Yeah, and I don't feel like you're wrong for that attitude, OP. Oh no, that's so bad. And still hangs out with him. This is so infuriating. Yeah, this comment, not the a-hole, saying her past actions, you decided that you could no longer see her the same way or trust her, and in a relationship of 3 years, I believe this topic should have been brought up by her long ago, as it is an issue that she had with her exes. As you mentioned, none of her exes even found out, which means that she was good at hiding it, hence giving you even more reason to believe that she might be cheating on you too. Good luck. I'm assuming GL means good luck, but yeah, that's completely right. Oh, that's not a giant red flag, is it? This comment says, not the a-hole, she was still screwing Bob, which is why her friend low-key outed her. Wow, that's an interesting theory. Yeah, maybe. But also, even if she hasn't cheated on you, OP, you don't want to marry somebody who cheated on all of their previous boyfriends. And it says she confessed that she cheated on previous boyfriends with Bob. So, like, more than one boyfriend she cheated on. And also confessed that the exes never found out. She's a professional cheater, OP. That's so gross. And that's bad enough whether or not she has cheated on you or not. This comment says, nope, not the a-hole. She acted like her cheating wasn't a big deal because her previous partners, plural, never knew. She's got a cheating problem and an addiction. Sorry, and addiction. This comment says, yet another person finding out that their past does in fact matter. Not the a-hole. And this comment too, not the a-hole. I've cheated on every partner I've ever had with Bob, who I still hang out with alone all the time. But you're different. You're not different, bud. You're just the first one that she kept in the dark long enough to get a ring. If she was as serious about the relationship as you were, she would have cut Bob out of her life a long time ago. Yeah, there are so many red flags here, OP. So the first one is, she cheated on multiple different boyfriends with this guy. The second red flag is she made sure they never found out. The third red flag is you're only finding out about this now, as in this only came out because her friend said it when she was drunk. She could be hiding something from you right now like she hid something from every other partner. And also 4, she still hangs out with the guy. All I can see are red flags. Like she hasn't really shown that she's changed even a little bit, OP. And if the roles were reversed, I'm pretty sure she would feel the exact same way that you feel, OP. Like imagine if you, OP, cheated on every single one of your past girlfriends with the same woman, and you also still hang out with this woman, and you kept that a secret the entire time. Pretty sure she would think that you were still cheating. That's so sad and infuriating. But I mean, at least you found this out before you got married. And yeah, maybe the friend was trying to let you know about this. Maybe talk to the friend, OP. And also not to mention the had no self-control with when it comes to horizontal mumbo. That's a giant red flag too. No, of course you're not the a-hole, OP. The top comment says, admitted cheating on past boyfriends, plural, with a guy that she still hangs out with, that she never mentioned while engaged to you. Don't listen to these people saying that you're overreacting. Even if she didn't cheat on you, she hid it from you because obviously you wouldn't approve. The trust is broken before you even said your vows. This comment makes a good point too. Not the a-hole. I don't believe once a cheater, always a cheater. I do think that people can change, but your fiance never told you about the cheating or that she's still hanging out with her cheater of choice. That doesn't sound like she's turned over a new leaf. Yeah, it really doesn't. Oh, I'm so sorry, OP. There's a comment that says, even if you ignore past actions on the assumption that she has changed, being friends with an affair partner is very, very weird. Shouldn't one be deeply ashamed of cheating? I can't imagine how you can just happily chill with somebody that you committed such an immoral act with, and multiple times too. OP said, agree, if she wasn't friends with Bob, it might be a lot different. Yeah, that's so bad. The next one's called, am I the a-hole for not letting my sister's kids eat my special cookies? I, 28 female, have a special recipe for chocolate chip cookies that I only make once a year for myself. I put a lot of time and effort into these cookies, and it's a big deal for me to have them to myself. I make a batch and I keep them hidden in a container in the pantry. Last weekend, my sister, 31 female, and her kids 6 and 4 came over for a visit. My sister is always welcome, but her kids are very energetic and sometimes a bit too curious for my taste. While they were here, I noticed that my special cookie container was missing. I asked my sister about it, and she admitted that her kids had found the cookies and ate them all. What? Why does she feel like that's okay? I was upset because I'd been looking forward to these cookies for a long time. I told my sister that I was really disappointed and that I'd appreciate it if she could make sure her kids don't take things that aren't theirs. She apologized, but she also implied that I was being too uptight about it and that the kids were just being kids. No. Hell no, OP. You're 100% right. Hey, don't just let them do whatever they want and take stuff that isn't theirs. That's an awful thing to teach them. Now I'm wondering if I was being unreasonable. Should I have just let it go? Or was it fair to be upset about my special cookies being eaten without permission? No, you're not in the wrong, OP. You were never unreasonable. Of course you're going to be upset about that. And of course they shouldn't just eat all of your cookies without even asking. Whether or not they're special cookies doesn't even make a difference. They shouldn't be eating all of your stuff without asking. Doesn't matter what it is. Update, it's been an hour since my last post. Sorry if I wasn't being specific. Those cookies I make once a year are for memories that I had with my father who passed away in 2017. He made those cookies and he helped me bake them when I wanted to become a baker. And he did help me to make a lot of things like cake and cupcakes. But those cookies were the best ones and the special ones because they were the first thing that we baked together. And when he passed every year after that, I kept on going to his grave with the cookies and sit there and eat the cookies like he was beside me. And for my sister, her children were never punished for their behavior. And this happened before in one of my family members' home. But they instead took her son's cake and ate it before the party. And now they're banned from stepping foot in their house. Okay, so I decided not to do it and bake normal cookies. I read your guys' comments and I realized it's not the right thing to do. Now I understand I was being an a-hole for a cookie. My sister will be here in 5 minutes and update y'all if anything happened. What? No, you're not the a-hole, OP. And also, thank God they weren't the special cookies that I thought you were talking about. The top comment says, bro, when I was that young, I had to ask my parents' permission if I could take a handful of peanut M&Ms from a jar that sat on my grandma's living room table that was open for anyone in the house. The comment below that says, I think your sister is really rude for not telling her children to not touch things that aren't theirs. I'd be appalled if my children went to somebody's house and ate anything without permission first. And then for your sister not to take any responsibility for it and just say, oh, it's just kids being kids. No, it's kids being entitled and selfish and rude. And it's your sister being a bad parent by letting them get away with it. Yeah, that's so right. Didn't take any responsibility for it. Oh, you know, they're kids. It's what kids do. And yeah, the comment under that one, imagine if the kids got into cookies you baked that had weed and they ate them. Your sister would be singing a pretty different tune. Her children are feral and the mother is nonchalant about it, telling you that kids will just be kids. It's enraging if you ask me, and you have a right to be angry about it, not the a-hole. Yeah, I thought they were weed cookies when you said that they were special cookies. It's really bad parenting on your sister's side. That's if the post is even real. I sort of get the vibe that this one isn't real, but if it is real, yeah, of course you can make more cookies, but that's not the point. The next one says, would I be the a-hole if I kicked my girlfriend's mother out of my house? I'm male 27 and my girlfriend female 24 live together. However, with that, her mother female 57 also lives with us. Essentially, her mum was evicted from their apartment a few days after my girlfriend moved in with me. Since then, it's been utter hell. Essentially, the mum does a few chores but does not work, has not applied for jobs or anything, so she's essentially a leech, and my girlfriend is being kind of the same. She has a few jobs but doesn't do any chores or anything really. I provide for everything and everybody and I pay all the bills and for dinners and outings. I feel I'd be the a-hole here because she'd be homeless and on the street, and my girl is considering going with her if that happens. What? But I also have no qualms on ending the relationship if she did choose to move out also. So would I be the a-hole? Oh god, OP, that's so bad. Yeah, this comment, you'd be the a-hole if you didn't kick them out. They're both taking advantage of you. Yeah, completely. The comment above that says not the a-hole. If you're in a relationship with somebody and you feel like you're a parent, you're doing it wrong. And also, what do you mean a few days after you moved into your apartment that the mum got evicted? Yeah, this comment, not the a-hole, but dump them both. I'd feel I'd be the a-hole here because she'd be homeless and on the street and my girl is considering going along with her if that happens. Her unwillingness to get a job and stop being a leech is not your problem, and what your girlfriend does with that is also her problem, not yours. Also, I highly suspect the eviction was intentional or a lie. Your girlfriend identified you as a mark and they're both taking advantage of you. The top comment says your girlfriend moved her mother in days after you started living together and they've both been taking advantage of your sins, and your girlfriend says that she'll break up if you tell her mother to leave. Not the a-hole. Open your eyes already. When you're at the point of describing your partner as a leech, it's over. Yeah, and the comment under that one, agreed, the grift is quite strong with these two. Yeah, it sounds so frustrating, OP. Like that episode of SpongeBob where Squidward is leeching off SpongeBob.
Because when I need a job done, I get someone with a job to do that job.
What are you saying?
Yeah, talk about using you, OP. Yeah, this comment, I don't normally recommend breaking up, but you already know your answer. You typed it. You'd have no qualms breaking up with her. You know that you'd feel relieved. Do it and end it. Find somebody else who appreciates your hard work and your effort. I'd give a 2 to 4 week notice that mum's gone after said notice. If girlfriend doesn't support you, let her know that's also her notice of eviction. Yeah, don't just put up with it, OP. Okay, I've got a stories about Kevin post that I want to read. I don't know if I've read this one before. I don't feel like I have, but also I probably have. I've read a lot of stuff. I'll soon be able to tell. I just feel like we need a little bit of a break from Am I the Gay Hole? My friend's boyfriend is an absolute Kevin. I'll call my friend C. I love C more than anything. I'd sell my working kidney for her, but her boyfriend Kevin, well, here you go. He's a ghetto kid with the sagging pants, loud music you can hear through his headphones, calling everybody biatch or car. He thinks the earth is flat, and wasted class time trying to say the earth was flat during science, because if it was round, then why is the ground flat? When watching CNN 10 with the whole North Korea and Russia stuff, he said, how do they talk to each other if they only know Japanese and German? Wow. He thought that Alexander Hamilton was a composer. C was on her period, and when she left to go to the bathroom, he said, why don't you just pee now? You have a pad? Oh, come on. He thought that bats were birds. While reading a book, the word Fortnite came up, and he genuinely thought that it was a reference to the game Fortnite. He thought Mexico was in Canada. He is Mexican. Oh yeah, I think I have read this one. That's all I've got for now. Not exactly a short story, but more of a list. Edit, okay, there's more. He thinks gumbo is made of actual gum, and he thinks all planets are rocks. Wow, that's so funny. Oh, come on. Why don't you pee now? You have a pad on. Yeah, dude. That was refreshing. Okay, back to Am I the A-hole? My husband's nurse added him on Snapchat. Am I the A-hole? So for some context, my husband had to go to the ER because he was having some chest pains. A nurse came in and took care of him. I don't know when this happened because he didn't tell me, but she added him on Snapchat, searched up his username and added him. She then told him that I wasn't a supportive wife because of his drinking habits. They talk on a daily basis now. What? She told him that easing your mind with alcohol is a completely normal way to cope. Now, with that being said, he has a history of addiction. He's been drinking heavily for the past 4 months, getting drunk and drinking every night, not just social drinking. So my question is, am I the a-hole for being mad that 1, he hid this from me, and 2, with me being in healthcare, this is completely against guidelines. I'm just pissed that she thinks she has the right to talk about me, her former patient's wife. Oh my god. And your husband is talking to her on a daily basis? Yeah, this comment, this is beyond disrespectful and also unprofessional. She's also not qualified to make any statements about his health or drinking habits, and her behavior is a huge liability for the hospital. I'm absolutely certain that they'd love to know. Yeah, talk about unprofessional, talk about crossing boundaries, but how disrespectful of your husband too. No, you're not the a-hole, OP. Yeah, this comment, not the a-hole, this crosses a major boundary. You need to report her. And also, your husband must have given her his username. Oh, so gross. This girl, 18 female, got pregnant, and her parents want me, 19 male, to step up and help her raise her baby. I'm not the dad, but I want to go into the corpse, and I told her no. I do feel bad though. So basically, this girl that I always had a crush on got knocked up by some random loser, and now while she's pregnant, she's been wanting to date me. Her parents want me to step up and quote unquote be a man so they don't have to help her or take care of the baby for like the next 18 years, and so they don't have her stay with them. She's not a piece of cake, by the way, but the thing is, I'm not the dad. She said that she wants me to be her boyfriend and for me to get a job and a place for her to help raise our kid. My dad told me to tell her to go and F herself and to not put my dreams to the side, and that I'm so young and I'm just a kid myself, and to never ever in my entire life get involved with her. He said her baby is not my responsibility and that he'll be heartbroken if I voluntarily take on this burden. He fully supports me going into the corpse. I told her I do not want to get involved with her. Her dad told me that I'm not a real man. Oh my god. Oh, that's awful, OP. But no, of course you're not the a-hole, and your dad is 100% right. Her dad's a bloody lunatic though. It's not your child. And also, do you even want to date her? Of course you're not the a-hole, OP, and of course it's not your responsibility. Oh yeah, be a man. They're only saying that, OP, because they don't want to help. Yeah, this comment, not the a-hole. Her dad is a pathetic man trying to pawn off her problems onto you. Get out of there. OP said, it is kind of weird her dad calling me about anything at all because I really don't even know him. Yeah, like that comment said, he's trying to dish out the problems onto you. Definitely get out of there, OP. Your dad, OP, had really good advice here. It's not your responsibility. And no, you should not give up what you want to do because of this. The comment under that says, do her parents know that you aren't the dad? Is she maybe lying to them? Yeah, that's a good point, and that would definitely make sense. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense as to why her dad would call you and say you're not a real man. Because yeah, he probably thinks that it's your kid. That would make a lot of sense because otherwise that's such a wild thing for her dad to say. This comment says, her dad says that you're not a real man for not wanting to raise another guy's child when he himself doesn't want to raise his grandchild. Not the a-hole, leave that trash behind. Yeah, the comment under that sounds to me like the girl's parents have been told that OP is the dad. I'd bet the real dad is a deadbeat loser who she doesn't want to admit to her parents that she was involved with. Maybe an older sketchy guy or somebody her parents think is bad news. And now she's pregnant and he's done a runner and she's told her parents it's OP, who does sound like a decent kid who would be a more acceptable baby dad in her parents' eyes. OP, I'd get your parents to get in touch with her parents and tell them that you're not the father, that you've never slept with this girl, and that if her parents insist that you are, your family isn't prepared to give any money or support without a paternity test. Yeah, 1,000,000%. I feel almost certain that that's what happened. That makes so much sense. Oh, okay, but OP left a comment that said, yeah, her parents know that I'm not the father, and she never once to my knowledge claimed to her parents that I am the father. She just wants me to be her boyfriend, and even husband. I'm way too young and I have other life plans friends though, so that I could help support their baby and take this burden off their backs. Oh, so they are lunatics. Completely. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Well, yeah, in that case, definitely get out of there, OP. There's no point even trying to reason with people like that if that's actually how they feel. Of course it's not your responsibility. I did see OP leave a comment that said they blocked them all. Yeah, that's probably the best move, OP. Wow, I can't believe that. They know that you're not the dad, but they're saying that you're not a real man for taking the responsibility of a child that isn't yours. Oh, how does that make any sense?
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
OP also left this comment. The girl's dad is a very aggressive guy and goes around threatening people whenever he's angry and is crazy. He's also broke. I know this because there have been a lot of rumors about him in the community. Wow, that's unbelievable. Oh yeah, take responsibility for a child that isn't yours. And also the audacity of them to act like you owe them something. You have no obligation to do anything here, OP. And of course you're not the a-hole. Post number 2 is called, Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay delivery and maternity expenses for the child? About 11 months ago, I, male 28, found out that my girlfriend, female 24, was cheating on me. Oh, I'm so sorry, OP. We'd been together for 4 years and lived together for almost 2. I thought we had a great relationship, we got along well, regular weekly dates, traveled a lot together and had tons of plans for our future together. We'd even talked about me proposing as soon as she got her finances in order. I found out she was sleeping with a guy who's friend with a best friend's boyfriend. I told her to kick rocks and that I never wanted to see her again. Yeah, good for you, OP. She went on and moved in with the best friend and her boyfriend. During that time, she never told her family that we broke up or no longer lived together. A few weeks after she moved out, she reached out and told me that she was pregnant and that she was certain that it's mine because the times that she cheated, they used condoms. For context, my pop passed when I was a child and I have very little memories of him. And as a result, my family struggles and it affected me for a long time. I told her when the kid's born and is confirmed as mine, I'll take care of everything. Until then, leave me alone. A few weeks after we met up and she swore off everything that the baby's mine and said that I should help cover maternity and pregnancy stuff. I told her, keep receipts of everything you spend of pregnancy and maternity stuff. After the child is born, if it is mine, I'll cut you a check to cover all expenses. If it's not, then we'll part ways. And she agreed. She then proceeded to get a midwife and a doula for herself. Both pretty expensive. She decided on a home birth. Comes time, the baby came early and there were complications. She had to be rushed to the hospital for an emergency C-section, and the baby was kept in those wards where they keep newborns who can't survive alone. The day of the birth, I went to see her and a nurse took me to see the baby. 2 weeks ago, she sent me receipts for everything and it's totaled over 40 grand, and she asked for money to pay the doula and the midwife. I told her let's wait for DNA results. Well, turns out I'm not the father. I told her I'm sorry, but she's on her own. She cried and said that she and the child are ruined if I don't step up and help them. Are you joking? Oh my god. Don't be a garbage person and don't cheat in the first place. Oh yeah, it's OP's responsibility now. No, it's not. You're not the one who ruined everything, OP. And went on and on about how we can have a successful relationship together and raise the kid, and how she's matured and will be a good partner. I told her I've got no interest raising somebody else's child and to call on the real father. Well, the guy's broke and is a cashier at the local store. Now everybody in her family's trying to convince me to at least pay off the 40 grand before going our ways. I said no. Am I the a-hole for refusing to step up here? Do they realize that it's not your child and she cheated on you? OP, oh my freaking god. You don't owe her anything. Oh, I'm so sick of reading about awful cheaters. Oh yeah, I'm gonna betray you and go and sleep with somebody else, get pregnant with their child, and then have the audacity to expect the person that I cheated on to pay for everything. Are you out of your mind? OP, you have no responsibility to do anything here. In fact, I feel like you shouldn't. You don't need to prove yourself to them, and you don't need to step up and show them that you're gonna be a good partner. She completely betrayed you, OP. The audacity is hilarious. Does it ever cross these people's mind that, oh, maybe I was wrong for cheating on you? Maybe it's my fault. It doesn't seem like it. Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole, she cheated and the kid isn't yours. No responsibility towards her or the child. These people trying to convince you to drop 40 grand on a child that's not yours, they're the a-holes. The comment under that says, those people can give her 40 grand. And OP said, that's what I said. Yeah, why the hell are you the one that needs to step up? How about step up and stop being a garbage person that cheats on people, you know? OP, OP hasn't done anything. Oh, it's so frustrating. And yeah, it's not even your child. How about they step up, the family, and help pay for it? OP has no obligation. This comment says not the a-hole. She made decisions based on her assumptions. So far, she's shown you that she isn't interested in a real long-term relationship with you. She dug herself into a hole and is now asking you to get her out of it. You're not responsible for her nor her actions. Her family's the a-hole for asking you. She's the one who caused the breakup. You were not living together when she incurred the debts, and they're for her pregnancy with another guy. If they are concerned, ask why they're not able to pay. Please do so publicly. And OP said, I haven't said anything publicly, but I will if they continue. And thank you for your words. The comment under that says, control the narrative or she'll soon say that you abandoned her and your son. The moment that she cheated on you, she's no longer your responsibility. The moment that you knew the kid is not yours, he's no longer your responsibility. Let people know about these facts. Still, there will be people telling you to be a better man. Just don't F them. She wasn't the better woman when she decided to F another guy behind your back, so not your problem. And OP said, yeah, she still tells people that I'm the father. I've had to clarify to a few people already. Yeah, this comment, not the a-hole, block her and be done with it. Block anybody on her side. And OP said, I will. Yeah, good job, OP. You have no obligation here. And you handled it super well, and you handled it really maturely too. I just don't understand these people. Like the ones that are cheating on their partners. Do you have no values or morals or anything? Any common decency, you know? But then on top of that, to have the audacity like this person to expect OP to pay for a child that's not his. Where do you get off? But also, the sad part is the family and everybody that are saying that OP should step up too. Like, has she been lying to them? OP said that she's told people that it is his child. So are they under the impression that it is your child? They need to know that she cheated, OP. I feel like they don't know. Yeah, this comment, wow, what an absolute moron. She's cheating on you and then expecting you to step up to raise another man's child? You'd be an idiot to ever speak to her again. Block her and her idiot family and thank the heavens that this isn't your child. Yeah, that's a really good comment. You're completely not the a-hole, OP. The next one's called, am I the a-hole for alienating my daughter against her mum? I, 36 male, have a daughter Jane, 12 female, with my ex Mary, 37 female. And one of the reasons we divorced was because of our stances on family and personal boundaries. They were just too different. Mary was one of 6 and grew up believing that family always shares to the extreme. After we got married, there were times where Mary would let her brothers borrow my stuff without asking. Oh, nah. And if it wasn't returned in the exact condition that it was given, she'd just shrug it off and say that we're family, so it's okay. Oh my god, I hated it. I hate even hearing about that, OP. That's so not okay. How inconsiderate. Oh my god. I barely even started this post and I'm already so frustrated. Oh yeah, whatever, we're family, it's okay. That's how you feel. That doesn't mean everybody else feels the same. I did grow up with siblings and we did share, but my parents instilled the importance of asking before taking, treating the items gently, respecting a person's decision to say no, and understanding that there were just certain things that you don't touch. Yeah, that's what your ex needed to learn too, OP. My family wasn't rich, but we were more financially stable than Mary's side, and that was always her go-to argument whenever I'd bring up how upset I was along with our differences in culture. The final straw for me was when Mary allowed her sister to take my car while I was out of town. Yeah, see, that's just plain inconsiderate. That doesn't have anything to do with whether or not your family has more money or something. Her sister wasn't listed as a driver of the vehicle, so when she got into an accident, my insurance wouldn't pay up unless I filed charges after the accident was ruled as her fault. Mary's sister refused to help pay the costs and Mary didn't want to touch her own savings either and got an attitude when I needed to use her car. And I was just done. Oh no, I can't believe this. I understand why you were done, OP. The audacity is unbelievable. We have 50-50 custody, and unfortunately this family shares everything mentality is being passed down to the next generation, and Jane's cousins almost always take her stuff. Her cousins can get pretty reckless with their stuff because they know that none of the adults will raise much of a fuss, and she has a rich daddy who can just buy her a new one. Jane hates it and hates going over to her mum's place or events with her mum's side of the family because in addition to having to share, her mum is now offering her up as a free babysitter for the younger cousins. OP, this is infuriating. Jane has never really talked to me about this because her mum made her feel as if this was something that she had to do, no matter which parent she was with. But one day when she was getting ready to go back to her mum, she broke down and told me everything. And I told her that when she's 13, she can decide to stay with me longer if she wants to. And that did seem to make her feel better. My plan was to talk to Mary about this privately, but when Jane and Mary got into an argument, Jane let it slip what I said. And now I'm being accused of brainwashing Jane, and my ex is threatening to take me to court over it. Am I the a-hole? No! Once again, definitely not. Your ex is making your daughter unhappy, OP. Your daughter actually wants wants to spend more time at your place, that's not you alienating her, OP. Maybe your ex should think for a second, oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong to contribute to this, instead of immediately blaming you and saying that you're brainwashing your daughter. That's so confusing. Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole. You aren't alienating your ex. She's doing that to herself. She has no respect for boundaries and is even using her daughter as free childcare for other people. She's the only one making your daughter not want to be around her, not you. Support your daughter, and if I were in your shoes, I'd explain to her that she can keep anything that she doesn't want to share at your house so that her cousins can't touch it. And OP said, we've actually done that a couple of times, but whenever Mary found out that Jane was keeping things at my place, Mary would then get upset and make Jane feel bad and sometimes punish her for not wanting to share. Oh, Mary sucks. The second top comment says, not the a-hole, you didn't brainwash your child. She very obviously hates being with her mum, and you reassured her with an option in the future. Your ex doesn't sound very bright, but if you can, take her to court over the fact that your kid is quite literally being bullied when she's with her mum's side. She just takes her things, gets careless with it, and expects her to shut up. They're bullying her, and she had a breakdown over it, which quite literally means that she's in emotional distress. And the rich daddy comment isn't good either. Talk to your attorney and get ahead of it while you can. No judge is going to take what your daughter has been through lightly. Yet the comment under that too, not the a-hole. Jane is a living, breathing person. She isn't some robot whose only purpose is to offer her stuff up to her cousins or be a free babysitter. Mary's a selfish hypocrite. Maybe if she cared more about Jane than the extended family dynamics, her daughter would want to spend time with her. Also, the absolute nerve of Mary to lend out your car just to turn around and be upset when you need hers. Oh yeah, how frustrating is that? And also the cousin crashed it too, didn't they? The nerve of Mary. And yeah, that's right, maybe stop caring so much about this stupid sharing thing, which by the way only translates to Mary as, oh, this is an excuse I can use to ignore your boundaries. Like, oh yeah, that's real convenient, isn't it? This family tradition thing about sharing everything. Like, oh yeah, I can take your stuff without asking because of my sharing tradition. I can walk all over you and your boundaries whenever I want to because of my sharing tradition. She sounds insufferable, OP. And yet also the fact that she immediately goes, oh, you're brainwashing our daughter, instead of thinking, oh, why doesn't my daughter want to spend any time at my place? It's somehow OP's fault. Like, oh yeah, I'll just blame you because it's easier. No, you're not the a-hole, OP. The comment below that one says, not the a-hole. If it's a question of who's brainwashing who, Mary's brainwashing Jane into believing she must share everything with her cousins. You, on the other hand, you respect her and her belongings and are telling her that her things are hers, not everybody else's. I don't see the problem. I don't think the court will rule against you, for what it's worth. Jane's mother is parentifying her by requiring her to babysit her younger cousins for free. That's a form of abuse and might be a counter argument that you can make. Jane, for her part, is trying to set her boundaries and isn't getting anywhere with her mother, since in that family what belongs to one is apparently also the property of everybody else. You're in the right here. I hope you can get your own attorney and run this by him or her. If Mary takes you to court over brainwashing your daughter, you'll probably need one. It may only be an empty threat, but you need to make plans in case it isn't. Is 13 the magic age where you are, that Jane can have more say in where she lives? I hope so, because her mother's making her an unpaid babysitter and says that she must allow everybody else access to the things that she owns. I hope you stick to your guns. Jane needs your support. Yeah, and that's such a good comment too. Yeah, all the best, OP. Post number 4 is on the Entitled People subreddit. I ruined this woman's plane ride apparently. I'm 23 female. I don't know the ages of the couple, but they seem to be in their late 20s or early 30s. This flight was about 5 hours. I always pay extra and I pick my seat in advance. However, due to a medical emergency on a flight from earlier in the day, I was placed on standby because the people who got displaced from that flight were placed onto our flight since it was the next one headed to the same location. Fortunately, towards the end of boarding, my name ended up being called. I got lucky and I was able to get on the flight. I think they switched to a bigger plane instead of having to wait for the next flight. On this new flight, my seat ended up being in the middle seat in a row of 3. When I got to my row, the man and the woman were chatting and sharing a snack. It was obvious they're together. I mentioned to the man who was in the aisle that I'm in the middle seat and he got up and let me in. I asked them if they'd prefer to sit together. I said, I'm totally okay with that. They can pick the seats. The woman immediately reacted rudely to this. She said something like, you're not supposed to be sitting here anyway. I explained the situation. I'm pretty sure everybody on the plane was aware of this though, as there had been announcements and rearranging happening. I offered to show her my new ticket too. It said my seat number on it. She flicked her hand at my ticket and made a disgusted sound. Ew. And you're telling me these people are real? I offered again if they want to sit together, to which she didn't reply. Her partner said it's okay and seemed kinder between the two. I sat down. He made some small talk about how the plane must be so full, blah blah blah. The woman didn't wait long until eventually interrupting us. She asked me, did you use one of those third-party websites to book your flight? It's so frustrating when people cheap out to inconvenience others. I told her no, I booked direct, and the only reason I got placed on standby, along with many other people, was due to the medical emergency that happened on another flight. None of us got to choose our seats. She asked if I paid for seat selection. I told her I did. I was so done with her attitude, I put my headphones on and I attempted to do my own thing. This woman for the remaining 4-ish hours kept on reaching over me and tapping her partner, trying to talk to him in a way that was super intrusive to me being stuck between them. I could tell that her partner was even trying to engage with her less, so that she would hopefully stop, but she didn't. And the whole time she acted as if I was the problem. The unforeseen part of this aside, I think they tried to pull the tactic where they don't sit together on purpose, leaving the middle seat empty, hoping that nobody will sit between them. But on full flights, which most are, it doesn't work. And even so, it's not the other person's fault. Oh no, and you had to sit next to them for 5 hours? That's so miserable. Oh no. That's so infuriating, OP. You didn't do anything. And yeah, the top comment, you nailed it in your last paragraph, OP. She was disappointed and decided to take it out on you. Yeah, like you said, OP, wanted to have the middle seat empty, and you were the one who was stopping that from happening, even though it wasn't even your fault. So she took out her anger on you. That's so messed up. Yeah, like the comment under that. Like a toddler having a tantrum. Am I the a-hole for telling my fiance that I'll wear makeup for the wedding if he does? I, 26 female, don't wear makeup. I experimented with it as a teen, but I hate the way that it feels on my face, and I don't really see the point. My face is my face, and I think it's good the way it is. My fiance, 26 male, has never complained, and he's always said that I look beautiful without makeup. His mother and sisters think that it's weird, but no longer comment on it, as I drew a very firm line in the sand about it early on. Why would they comment about that being weird? It's not weird. We're currently deep in wedding planning. I've picked out a dress and I'm making arrangements for a hairstylist and stuff like that for the big day. My mother-in-law said that she would call a friend of hers that is a wonderful makeup artist and would probably cut us a deal. I said no thanks, I wasn't planning on makeup for the wedding, as I never wear it. She tried to insist, saying that I would regret not wearing it when I saw the photos, but I held firm. I've seen myself in prom dresses and other fancy occasion pictures, and I've never once wished that I'd worn makeup. The most I'm going to do is get a spa treatment so that my skin looks its best. This upset my mother-in-law and she got my fiance involved. Oh my god, another mother-in-law that needs to mind their own business. He asked if I'd just wear makeup for the ceremony and the pictures. I told him I want to look at my pictures and see me. He said that it would still be me, just the best version of me, which pissed me off, not gonna lie. So I asked him if he was gonna wear makeup to look the best version of himself. He said no, so I told him that I'll make him a deal. The only way that I'd wear makeup is if he also wore makeup tit for tat in a masculine style. I wear lipstick, he wears lipstick. I wear foundation, he wears foundation. His can be completely neutral, but he has to wear it for the day and do the test run and everything the stylist wants. He said that I was being unreasonable, but couldn't come up with a reason why the pictures would look better if I wore makeup, but not him. So he stormed off. Sister-in-law sent me a text saying that I was delusional if I think I didn't need makeup, and to suck it up for one day. Oh my god. What sort of garbage family is this? Imagine feeling like you get to say that. Most of my girlfriends are on my side, and world's best maid of honor is ready to throw hands, but some people do think it's usual to wear makeup for formal occasions, and that I'm being precious about it. My brother thinks that my conditions were emasculating to my fiance. Am I the gay hole? Oh my god, get out of here. What are we reading? Great, we're reading about another fiance that can't stand up to his mum. I'm getting real tired of that. Another fiance not taking their partner's side. And the crap that the brother said, what are you talking about, brother? Pretty much don't listen to any of these people, OP. And the awful comment from the sister-in-law saying that OP was being delusional. The fiance doesn't sound that great. His mum and his sister sound bloody frustrating. Nah, get rid of all of them, OP. This comment says, your fiance said that you need to wear makeup on your wedding day to be the best version of you, and you're still marrying him? Yeah, but more so, it's the fact that he's not even backing OP up. Like, oh, I can't even think for a second that maybe my mum's wrong. Bro, come on. These spineless ass partners. Yeah, this comment, not the a-hole, and this is a red flag. Your fiance needs to apologize to you and tell his mother and his sister to back off, and your brother needs to get therapy for his fragile masculinity. Yeah, that comment from the brother was so random. Like, that just got thrown in there with everything else. It's got nothing to do with the fiance's masculinity, dude. The top comment says, not the a-hole. Also, be careful of doing a spa treatment or anything different to your face routine. The last thing you want is to break out right before your wedding. OP said, I do the same thing every other month, so I know it's safe. I just decided to schedule one right before the wedding because my skin feels amazing after, and I figured that I get a massage and some other things done for relaxation while I'm there. Yeah, the comment under that, F the makeup. You're about to marry a dude dude who lets the opinions of his mother and sister affect his relationship? Why do you need to appease his mother on your wedding day? Why are the demands and wishes of his mother and sister more important than yours? What's supposed to be the happiest day of your life? You're going to start your marriage with your fiancé taking his mother's side instead of yours? Be prepared for your opinions to be pushed aside for your future monster-in-law once you start having babies. Good luck, OP, not the a-hole. Yeah, that's right, screw the makeup. Do you want to marry this guy? And also, why is the makeup of all things what they're worried about and what he's worried about? Your wedding day's not about the makeup that you wear, dude. Yeah, no, you're not the a-hole, OP, and your fiancé and his family are showing all sorts of red flags. What a way to start the episode. Story number 2. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister people did express concerns about her son and stepson before she got married and she didn't listen? My sister's been married for 5 years. She has a 17-year-old son and a 17-year-old stepson in her home. The boys knew each other since kindergarten and they never got along. I remember my sister telling the rest of the family that she was called in and asked if she'd object to her son and the other child being buddied for a few weeks so that they could work out their issues. Sister said that was fine. They tried for 7 weeks or something like that. They were seat pals, each other's helper, and were given small jobs to do together to build a better dynamic, and it failed. The whole time they were next to each other, it was hell in the class. This dynamic did not let up. The two of them do not like each other. I personally do believe that they truly do hate each other. Then my sister and her husband started a relationship prior to them moving in together and also prior to the wedding. Many of us spoke to my sister about what a bad idea it seemed to be because the boys were not capable of getting along. She told us they'll have to once they're a family and that it'll do them some good. I asked her if she really did believe that and if she really wanted to live in a house where two members don't want to see each other ever. She told me that she loved her husband, then fiancé, too much to end things or hold off on a marriage. She also told me she was going to convince her son to give her stepson a chance to be a friend if nothing else, that the kids clash in personality and they do have some shared interests so they can work it out. She didn't like when her dad took her aside before the wedding and warned her that it would end bad because of the boys. My sister and her husband have a son together now. He's also caught in the middle of both his half-brothers hating each other. We all became a witness to just how much these two do not want to be near each other. We witnessed fights and glares and all kinds of stuff. My sister's stepson lost his crap on her great aunt for calling them brothers. There was an incident a couple of weeks ago. My nephew lost a friend. He had been sick for a while and sadly passed away just before his 17th birthday. My sister and her husband wanted all 4 of them to attend the funeral, with their son together going to our parents. Her stepson didn't want to go, said that he didn't want to support my nephew and that he didn't care. He thought it was funny as hell how upset my nephew was. Oh, that's so sad. Said that he hated the dead kid too. While at the funeral, my sister and her husband were sympathizing with the boys' parents and expressed that both nephews and step-nephew said kind things about their son. They told my sister and her husband there was no way step-nephew said kind things about their son and that he shouldn't have been there. My sister said that it's humiliating to realize that other people are so aware of the bad blood. She then said that we never warned her and I corrected her and said that we did and she didn't even listen. She told me that we didn't try hard enough and how dare I say that we did enough? Am I the a-hole? Oh my god, no, you're not the a-hole, OP, and the bloody audacity of your sister. She told me that we didn't try hard enough to warn her. It's not your responsibility, and also you did. And also that awful stuff that her stepson was saying to your nephew. That's revolting. About their friend that died? Oh, that sucks. This comment says not the a-hole. My sister said that it was humiliating to realize that other people are so aware of the bad blood. She then said that we never warned her and I corrected her and said that we did and she didn't listen. She told me that we didn't try hard enough and how dare I say that we did enough? You did try. Then my sister and her husband started a relationship prior to them moving in together and also prior to the wedding. Many of us spoke to my sister about what a bad idea it seemed to be because the boys were not capable of getting along. She told us they'll have to once they're a family and that it would do them some good. And you need to remind her of this conversation, OP. She didn't like it when her dad took her aside before the wedding and warned her that it would end bad because of the boys. And also this conversation. Your sister and her husband are flaming a-holes though. Also, the stepson has to be pretty awful to say what they said. The comment under that says, it's also interesting to me that OP's sister thinks that those parents said that because of bad blood. Like the stepson isn't just a bully to people in general. And the comment under that says, this to me is the whole crux. The parents of the deceased kid knew about this stepson from their own son's experience. OP's sister will lose her own son over her choices. Yeah, that's such a good point too. The other family knew about the stepson. Yeah, so OP's sister did make the stepson go to the funeral. And that's heartbreaking, that last sentence. They told my sister and her husband there was no way that step-nephew said kind things about their son and that he shouldn't have been there. So even the family of the friend that passed away knew how mean the stepson is. But OP's sister is acting like she didn't know about that and then getting upset at OP for not warning her, which OP definitely did. No, you're definitely not the a-hole, OP, and that's so sad. This comment says, why would would your sister force a kid to go to a funeral of somebody that he hated and laughed about being dead and then lie about condolences? She should be embarrassed. Yeah, the comment under that. The poor grieving parents had to deal with her lying ass and that crappy kid who hated their child who just died. Also, the sister could pretend to be one big happy family. Yeah. This comment says, not the a-hole. When your nephew turns 18, would you or his grandparents take him? And OP said, yeah, I think he'd go to my parents because he is very close to my dad, but I'd also happily have him live with me. Yeah, no, you're definitely not the a-hole, OP. Wow, the next one is interesting. Am I the a-hole for ignoring somebody's baby? I was in line today in a food court and to my left, waiting on their order, there was this kid in a stroller with what I guess had to be her grandma. The kid's stroller was facing me. She had this noisemaker thing clacking in her hand and that she was obviously using to get my attention. The grandma kept looking over at me and back at the kid, laughing like she expected me to join in on their fun. I kinda half nodded once at the grandma and just focused on the line straight ahead, and I kept my expression blank because, well, I just didn't have the bandwidth to feign interest in this kid, not after a long workday. Then I heard the grandma go, wow, effing miserable, and then she turned the stroller away from me. I wasn't rude, I didn't make any faces or say anything upsetting. I literally just didn't acknowledge them besides the little blank half nod, directed at the grandma that was staring at me. So I don't know, I feel like I didn't do anything wrong, but I obviously pissed that lady off. So am I the a-hole? No, OP. Not even a little bit. The fact that she set that expectation up in her own head to the point that she would get that upset about it when you didn't play along. No, you're not the a-hole, OP. That's so wild. Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole. You can't just rope in random strangers to be your grandkids' pop-up entertainment and or expect them to be ready to join in on your baby's cute moments. While strangers often do have a smile for babies, it's not owed. And Granny's entitled and rude comment directed at you was totally uncalled for because she has zero idea what's going on in your life. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Sorry I didn't smile. And also the goal to call you effing miserable after they said that to you for no reason. Like you're the one being super angry and negative for no reason, calling somebody effing miserable when they don't deserve it. Yeah, this comment too, not the a-hole. You're under no obligation whatsoever to engage with some random kid. Granny needs to chill. Yeah, the grandma's reaction was so out of line. Okay, post number 4. Am I the a-hole for ignoring my friend's phone calls after she invited herself, her spouse, her children, and her friends to my home for an impromptu barbecue without my permission? My friend is having a hard time with her spouse and really needs somebody to be there for her while they work through their issues. We only just recently reconnected after not speaking for 4 years. Now every time she calls, she asks me what I'm doing for the day or at that moment, and then invites herself, her family of 4, and some of her friends over to my house. Yeah, you need to not let them do that, OP. Example number 1 for clarity. Friday was her spouse's birthday. Monday she told me that her plan was to make him dinner. Then she calls me Friday morning asking me what I'm doing. I told her I was just watching a movie on my couch. Then she says, I know it's last minute, but I want to come over and barbecue at your house. She said the kids could play together and we could hang out and have some drinks. I hesitated initially and then I told her that I didn't really have a lot of meat here, nor was my home company ready. She responded that she would grab some more food and do all of the cooking. Then I said okay. I cleaned up a little bit and then I received a second call. She excitedly told me that she invited her guy friend and he may bring a friend for me to talk to, and a female friend of hers was also coming. No, they're bloody not coming over. Oh god, put your foot down, OP. I was so shocked that she was trying to throw a party, not just come over and hang out with just her family like she implied during the first call. Her family already was 4 people that I was not expecting, which would have made a total of 8 people, including my own children. I've only met 2 of the 3 people that she invited. She didn't ask if she can invite anybody else to my house or give out my address. Luckily, I got a call on the other line and I told her I'd call back. 2 hours passed by and she called me repeatedly. I decided to text her that something came up and I can't host a party for her husband. I didn't receive a response. I waited another 2 hours and then called her to see how the barbecue party was going. She told me she didn't even have the barbecue party. Like, what the hell? I asked her why she didn't ask her friends to come to her apartment since she has her own barbecue grill, and why didn't she at least go out to dinner like she planned originally. She didn't answer the first question, but said that she didn't want to spend a lot of money going out to eat. Am I the a-hole for making up an excuse to end a call and then ignoring all of her repeated calls to confirm? Edit. Thank you for all the replies. I finally just told her that I'm feeling used and that my house is not a place that she can throw parties or invite others to come to without my permission. She responded via several texts that she doesn't have to use anyone. Wow, okay, is this a friend, OP? Yeah, literally, the top comment, not the a-hole, this is a friend? Sounds like a parasite. She's using you for your place. There was a reason that you didn't speak. Is this friendship worth keeping? Yeah, 1,000,000%, and good on you for standing up to her, OP. I was really hoping that you would. Like the audacity too. Oh, hey, I'm coming over to your place and I'm bringing all my friends. No, you're not. The second top comment says your home is not a public venue that she can just invite anybody to. Not the a-hole. The comment under that says not the a-hole, just say no, sorry, that won't be possible. And there is a reason that you didn't talk to her for 4 years. I'd go back to no communication. Yeah, and especially with how they responded too, by saying I don't have to use anyone. They're not really understanding the issue, I don't feel like. Like maybe if you wanted to, you can try and have a conversation with them about it, OP. But yeah, if they don't even understand what they're doing wrong, and you don't feel like they're much of a friend, then yeah, maybe don't talk to them as much. There's a comment that says not the a-hole. My sister did this and then couldn't understand why she stopped being invited over. Like, yeah, you can come over. 2 other friends and your boyfriend, when you're still married, cannot. Wait a second, 2 other friends and your boyfriend, when you're still married? Ew. Now we don't talk because I'm not supportive? It boggles my mind that in our 40s she had to be told how rude it was to do that when it's not your house. Yeah, they don't seem like much of a friend, OP. Good on you for standing up to them. You definitely have to do that more. But yeah, they sound super rude. And of course you're not the a-hole. She was completely trying to use you, OP. And yeah, don't let her. In yesterday's episode, we read such a frustrating post about a sister and their parents that expected OP to give them their house. There is an update to that post here, so I'm going to read that one first. The post is called, Am I the a-hole for buying my sister's dream house? And if you haven't seen the original one from the last episode, definitely check that out. That was unbelievable. OP bought a $800,000 house, and their sister genuinely expected OP to give them the house. It was a level of entitlement I don't feel like I've ever seen before. But yeah, here's the update. Am I the a-hole for buying my sister's dream house? For the goddamn life of me, I can't get the poster link, but I'm sure if you're reading this, it's because you've already read my original post. If somebody would link it in the comments, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you to everybody for being so supportive and offering advice. To those who suggested getting a security system in my place, we are going to do that, but the house is not in a place where a security system can be installed. For the time being, we're looking into getting some battery-powered trail cameras as suggested by one Redditor. I can't find your comment in the sea of comments anymore, but you know who you are. We don't have to worry about internet access as they won't be in the way of renovations. We are restoring the house back to its original glory, pre the carpeted bathrooms and the mismatching wallpaper. Besides fixing broken crap and upgrading old appliances, we'll be having the floors redone, paint, wallpaper, new windows, and opening up some walls that shouldn't be there. For the next 2 weeks, my wife and I are going to be meeting people coming out to work on electricity and plumbing and a few other things, and we do have a consultation with a home security company. Along with cameras, we're looking to get alarms and door codes and set up an access gate around the property. Yeah, that's definitely smart, OP. One of those ones that needs either a passcode or to be let in by somebody in the house. We've already made an appointment to have the locks changed, and we aren't really concerned about my family trying to squat there. My in-laws have allowed us to park their camper trailer on the property while work is being done, not only for peace of mind, but to avoid commuting back and forth multiple times a day. But for the actual update, I was hesitant to post this update since it's been so soon after my original post, but I guess enough has happened for it to be useful information. The events of the barbecue that we had took place last week, but I only got around to writing it all out yesterday. I sent a message to my parents and siblings yesterday evening, asking to meet up and talk things through and try to figure out what's wrong and what actually the hell is happening. Earlier today, my wife and I met my parents and my brother's family at his house before my sister arrived. I let them know that if they tried to interrupt or control the conversation that we'd leave. I told them that I never once even suggested that my sister would be allowed to rent out the house or buy it from us, that you didn't know where she got that idea from, and I showed them the text strings where I first sent her the listing and every conversation where I updated her on the progress. My mum asked to see the rest of the conversations about the house and I told her there were none. She informed me that my sister told them all that we had made an arrangement that my wife and I would purchase it and then rent it out to my wife's family until they'd paid enough to buy it, that we would live in the guest house and they'd get the main house. Oh, so that's why they backed up the sister so much. The sister bloody lied to them. That still doesn't excuse the stuff that the parents said though. She told them that we'd gone back on our deal and had absolutely shattered her dreams of raising her kids in the house that she grew up in. We gave our side, and it wasn't difficult at all to convince my parents that we were telling the truth. With the lack of evidence on my sister's part and absolutely no legal documentation, my parents didn't even try to attempt to back up what she told them. My parents were very apologetic and let us know that they never would have said those things to us had they known the truth, and that they did support us 100%. My brother was supportive of us as well, but he was never one of the people harassing us over this, so his reaction is less important too. Around then, my sister and her husband showed up. My brother-in-law is a doormat and will give my sister whatever she wants, so I wasn't expecting much out of him. I asked her to produce any of the necessary evidence evidence to prove that I told her that we'd rent the house out to her, that her lie was ill-conceived and she better have a good explanation, she attempted to suggest that I deleted the conversation, but when she couldn't produce the messages either, her story fell apart. She started crying, saying that it wasn't fair that we got everything handed to us. Oh my god. Oh yeah, working your ass off and saving up for an $800,000 house. Oh yeah, that's definitely having everything handed to you. What a joke. And that we didn't need a house this big, and that we were rubbing our wealth in her face. So to my understanding, she thought that she could trick everybody into bullying us into renting our house out to her, I guess. Like some kind of messed up in the head Scooby-Doo villain. Instead of using ghosts to scare us away, she's using a fake rental agreement that she didn't even attempt to make look or sound legit. We let her know that she had a lot of apologizing to do before we'd consider having a relationship with her moving forward, and that she wouldn't be welcome in our home for a long time. At the moment, our relationship with my parents is rocky at best, for obvious reasons. They let us know that they're here to support us if we need moving assistance or help with renovations, but it will take some good hard thinking to decide if we're okay with that. We will not be giving anybody in my family a spare key, but my wife's parents will receive one for emergencies. The house won't be in a state to host guests for a bit, so we are choosing to cross the "can my family be trusted at our home" bridge when we come to it. To answer some of the questions I've noticed in the comments, my sister obviously has some screws loose, but my parents don't really coddle her. She's what you consider the golden child and the baby, but most of her antics up until this point were just one-upping achievements during our childhood or seeking more attention from her parents. She's dramatic, entitled, and a little bit selfish, but has never displayed this level of crazy before. And yeah, we will get a security system, but not for a bit. No, my family will not be trusted with a key. Yes, I'm a woman. I know it's crazy how two women can be married, lol. My wife and I do not have kids, and we will not have them in the future. My sister has done some odd things, but nothing as absolutely absurd as this. We will be meeting with an estate planner to put everything into writing. We plan on leaving the property to my sister-in-law and her kids, with my mother-in-law as the executor of our estate for the time being. My sister and her family rent a small house in town. They're not struggling per se. They are college educated and they have good jobs, but children are expensive, and then adding in student debt and $2,000 a month in rent, and you aren't exactly living it up. Also, there's a surprising amount of people mad at my wife and I for being rich. We're not wealthy. My in-laws are comfortable and are generous enough to allow us to occupy their rental at no charge. They bought a new house decades ago and just didn't sell their previous one, so they allowed my wife to live there. The down payment was my wife's college fund from years ago. Her parents put money in it, but when she decided to go into a trade, they kept the money and saved it specifically for the purpose of a down payment. When we told them that the house was up for sale, they finally offered the college fund that they'd kept for her. We work good paying jobs, but we were able to save so much because we didn't have to pay $2,000 a month for housing. We didn't skimp and save, and we did damn well earn it. We lived below our means and spent years forgoing any kind of luxuries to afford something that we wanted. So you're not as drama-filled as a lot of people were expecting or hoping. I don't see this as the end of it, not at all, but for the time being, my wife and I are focusing on dealing with our new house and not my sister. She's blocked on both of our phones as of this morning, and I'm not sure when I plan to unblock her. Wow, that's so interesting. So completely lied to your parents. Like, that doesn't excuse what they said in the last post, but it definitely makes a lot more sense. Your sister was making stuff up. But also, did the sister even apologize? OP told their sister that they've got a lot of apologizing to do, but it didn't say that she ever did actually apologize. I want to know what the sister said when OP told him to apologize, but yeah, I'm guessing that they don't feel bad at all. No, you were meant to give me the house. It's not fair. You get everything handed to you, even though you paid for it yourself. So ridiculous. Wow, the top comment. And I would have gotten away with this house if not for those meddling lesbians. That's so funny. Yeah, like OP said, she's a bloody Scooby-Doo villain. If it wasn't for you and also logic and common sense, maybe I could have gotten a house given to me. Yeah, the second top comment. Crazy how she got that idea into her head and decided that it was good enough to try and trick your entire family. Thank you for the update, OP, and I hope you enjoy your home as soon as it's completed. Yeah, and the comment under that, the sad part is the parents' gut reaction was to believe it. Most sane people would think, why the hell would OP do that? Yeah, 100%, the parents' reaction was still super weird. But yeah, the sister is super entitled and super jealous. But yeah, hopefully that's kind of the end of it. Post number 2. Am I the a-hole for causing my son to lose his child? My son and his girlfriend have been together for about a year when she became pregnant accidentally. My wife was thrilled because she was looking forward to being a grandmother. He decided to stay with her, but a few days later began hanging out with his ex. We know because she lives nearby and I've seen them together. I confronted him and he said that his girlfriend's okay about it. I don't believe it as they're still together, but I'm old and I can't really fathom what that kind of relationship would be like. I've been cheated on and it was a huge betrayal that I haven't forgotten about. My wife told me to drop it, but I just didn't believe him when he said that they decided to open up the relationship. I decided that if she knew about it, if I asked her about it, then it wasn't a big deal. I I asked her if she was okay with an open relationship with the father of her child, and she had no idea what I was talking about. I realized that she'd never had that conversation with him, and I admitted that I'd seen him with his ex and he told me that she was okay with it because they'd opened up the relationship. She began to cry and left. A few hours after, I get a call from my son who was screaming at me for interfering with his relationship. My wife is also extremely angry with me, saying that I was jeopardizing our chances of being in our grandchild's life. Long story short, they broke up. She moved out of their place to her parents' house. It's been a few weeks, and a few days ago she told my son that she had an abortion, and so they had nothing to do with each other anymore, and to never contact her again. My son and wife know that it's my fault and say that she wouldn't have found out if it wasn't for me. OP, it's not your fault. My wife has brought up divorce, saying that I'm not loyal to my family, so how can she know that I'll be loyal to her? Oh my god, what? Yeah, divorce her, OP, she sucks. I'm so sad about how it ended, and I'm regretting saying anything if this is the results. Oh my god, please tell me this isn't real. OP, your son and your wife are terrible. You're not the a-hole, and you're not the reason that all of this happened either. Your son is OP. I can't believe that. Surely it's a rage bait or something. Yeah, the top comment, my son and my wife know that it's my fault. That is complete and utter BS. It's your son's fault entirely. He chose to cheat. He chose to lie. If he were a decent, loyal, honest person, they'd still be together and expecting a child. The fact that both he and his mother are blaming you is just more proof that he's a bad person, and so is your wife. I'd tell both of them to get the hell out of your life and your home until they learn to take responsibility for their own actions. Also, based on how she handled this, I'd bet real money that your wife has cheated and lied herself at least once too, not the a-hole. Yeah, that's so sad. OP, you're not in the wrong here. I feel so sorry for you. And what an awful reaction from your wife too. Ew. It's not your fault that he cheated, and his partner didn't want to have a child with a liar. Yeah, this comment, your son's a piece of crap. This is his fault and nobody else's, not the a-hole. The comment under that one says, you're not loyal to the family. Says the wife who condoned her son to cheat on his pregnant girlfriend. Makes me wonder if she's been loyal to you, OP, not the a-hole. OP left a comment that said, I think she means loyalty to her and our son, and that doesn't include his ex-girlfriend. I don't think she cares that much that my son cheated. Yeah, the comment under that one, your wife sounds more and more terrible. This comment says, apparently OP, you're the only loyal one in your own family. I guess your wife and your son don't share the same values that you do. If I had been the girlfriend, I would have also wanted to know, not the a-hole. This comment says, not the a-hole. Considering how quickly she had an abortion and your son's and your wife's reaction to it, I've got a feeling that she didn't even want to have a child and was pressured by your son to have one. Additionally, the way that you describe your son and his relationship, I feel like there was more going on than he's letting on. In my opinion, it sounds like your son is very toxic and manipulative and is probably the community ding-dong, aka he's a habitual cheater, using the common BS excuse that many cheaters use. She was okay with it as they had an open relationship. Due to his reaction to finding out about the abortion, he was probably trying to keep his ex tied to him to keep her from leaving. Toxic a-holes like your son always think that getting their girlfriend or their wife pregnant would prevent them from leaving them, no matter what they do or how they treat them. They also almost always assume that their girlfriend or wife would never think of getting an abortion, much less go through with it, which is why they have such a huge outburst when it does happen. I also think that your wife knew about it as well when you think about her reaction. She was too comfortable and familiar with his first ex being around. Instead of being upset at her son for being a lying, cheating a-hole, she defended him and shifted all the blame onto you for the decision somebody else made themselves. She seemed too desperate and focused on the possibility of having a grandchild, almost like your son and wife were planning something, such as waiting until she gave birth and then have him break up with her so they can get shared custody or something. She's probably cheating too. Cheaters are quick to defend their own. Yeah, 1,000,000%. What a disgusting situation. I want to give OP a hug. I feel sorry for them. Imagine having a liar of a son and also a morally questionable wife. Oh, that's so bad. But no, none of this makes you the a-hole, OP. The next story is called, Am I the a-hole for telling a parent that their kid's weird when she pushed as to why my kid didn't want to be her friend? My family and I have moved states. It has been a hard move, especially for my oldest daughter. Okay, so that has 2 T's, so it's not Katie, is it? Catty? She's in grade 6. The area school district has a Facebook account that parents are a part of. I introduced myself on there a while ago. We put Catty on the cross-country team and she's been making friends over the summer. I got a message from a parent last week asking to meet up and let the kids meet. They would be in the same grade and I thought it would be a good opportunity. We went yesterday at the local pool. I met Melanie and she wouldn't make eye contact, was very soft-spoken and overall didn't seem to be paying attention. The kids were playing while I talked to the mum. She's always been in the area and was excited that her kid was getting a friend. Catty came up to me asking to leave since she wasn't feeling well. We left early and in the car she admitted to just wanting to get away from Melanie. She explained explained that Melanie freaked her out. She was super touchy, kept pushing it in the water, was whispering, saying stuff under her breath, would stare at people and make comments, comparing people to bugs. I'm still confused on what that means. Katie told me she was uncomfortable and doesn't want to hang out with her again. The parent messaged me and asked when they could do it again. I told her the girls didn't mesh well and that we'll have to decline. She then called me asking what I meant. I told her that Katie wasn't interested in hanging out since they don't mesh together. I was trying to be polite about it. This went on for a while and she told me that the kids just needed to be around each other more. I told her no to that. It went on for a while and she asked to talk to my husband, which is when I snapped. I told her no and I was trying to be polite, but your kid's weird. Melanie makes my kid uncomfortable and I don't know what the hell is up with her, but we're not going to have another play date. She went on Facebook and it's going around about how the new family are jerks. It seems to not be going anywhere, but I'm wondering if I was a ding-dong. Wow, the asking to talk to your husband is so wild. Like, put your husband on. Maybe that'll change your mind. The top comment says she asked to speak to your husband, as in she thought that was the social equivalent of asking for the manager. Let me speak to the person in charge of you, basically. No, absolutely not. Not the yay hole. My guess would be that there's a reason why her daughter evidently doesn't have any friends, and at least some of that originates with the mother. The comment under that says, right, that would send me into a rage. Are you kidding me? My husband's not my keeper, nor does he have sole authority over this household. What year's this lady living in, lol? Yeah, that's such a wild thing to say. Let me speak to the manager, your husband. I don't think I would have called their kid weird though. Like, you're not the a-hole for what you said to the mum, definitely not. But like this comment says, your kid is weird is an attack. Your kid's behavior makes my kid uncomfortable, and I'm not forcing her to be around somebody that makes her uncomfortable. Is just standing up for your kid. OP did the right thing, was just careless about the wording. Yeah, and you were being polite, OP. The other mum wasn't being polite though and kept on pushing you. And yeah, then that infuriating comment about talking to your husband. I feel like a lot of people also would have snapped at that point too. I like this comment. I think you could have kept that last comment to yourself and just said something like, sorry, my kid is not interested and I'm not going to force her to befriend anybody. I hope you can find another play date, but I can assure you, my husband would also tell you the same and he's busy. So let's skip that part. Yeah, like of course, you don't want to be calling somebody else's child weird. But yeah, the mum sounds pushy and pretty unreasonable. Yeah, and then for her to go onto Facebook and say that the new family are jerks. No, I don't feel like you're the a-hole for how you spoke to her, OP. You tried to be polite, you tried to be polite again. She was super rude and then you snapped. Yeah, this comment too. Given the mum's Facebook smear campaign isn't going anywhere, I have a hunch that the rest of the school parents know the kid's mum is a big part of the problem. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Story number 4 is on the Entitled People subreddit. Disclaimer, all names below have been changed. My wife's Aunt Louise is a great lady. She and her husband lived in the San Francisco Bay Area and bought their home in the late 1970s. After her husband passed away, she sold her home for well over $1 million and moved back to live closer with her family, where she grew up in farming areas in Southern California. She does live very frugally, so doesn't really have to worry about money. Aunt Louise had 3 children, who are now all in their 40s and early 50s. The 2 oldest are nice, normal people. Her youngest, Kay, is a real piece of work. She meets all the criteria for a psychological diagnosis of narcissism. Aunt Louise just turned 70. She's so happy about it. She had some health scares last year, and she decided to celebrate. She's a very kind and giving person, and celebrating to her means doing something nice for others. Aunt Louise has 3 children, 14 nieces and nephews, and 40 plus grandnieces and grandnephews. I don't know how much she sent to everybody, but based on what she sent to my wife, her niece, and knowing how much she likes to be fair, the nieces and nephews each received a check for $1,000. Based on what she sent to our kids, I suspect each grandniece and grandnephew received a check for $500. There was also a very kind and personalized note to each person saying how much she loved them and imploring them to do something fun with the money and don't pay bills with it. It was so generous and sweet, and when a couple of kids came by this weekend for a barbecue, we talked about Aunt Louise and their plans for the money, and as I suspect was Aunt Louise's intent, we had happy conversations about fun plans. Then the email came. For background, Aunt Louise's daughter Kay audits her mother's finances in a way that would make the IRS blush. Last Christmas, she berated her mother for vacationing to New York City with a friend. Louise has always wanted to visit New York City at Christmas time. She has frequently talked about plans for her inheritance, with her still very much alive mother sitting right next to her. Kay sent my wife and others an email claiming that her mother is suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's, with a request, more on that below. While we suspected this was Kay being Kay, my wife did still call Aunt Louise just in case. All of this was news to Aunt Louise, who was lucid as always. Here's the best part. In the email, Kay asked everybody to send the money they received from Aunt Louise to her, rather than Aunt Louise. Kay nobly volunteered to handle all of the deposits herself to avoid being a burden on poor Aunt Louise, clearly too infirm to attend to such taxing matters. Oh, that's disgusting. In light of some of the times that Kay has helped herself to Aunt Louise's money without permission, stealing is such such an ugly word. I'm fairly convinced not a dime would make its way back to Aunt Louise. Oh, that's awful. Oh yeah, send me all the money. Get out of here. Oh yeah, my mum has dementia. She didn't mean to send everybody money. Send it to me. I'll keep it safe. Yeah, I'm sure you will, Kay. There's a comment that says publicly shame her. Let everybody that received money know that you've spoken to Aunt Louise and that she's in good health. Watch Kay explode. And OP said you can't shame somebody who's shameless. You can call Kay out to her face and she'll look at you like, yeah, and? My wife did post something in the family Facebook group about it. Most of the replies were along the lines of, yeah, we figured. Wow, so everybody knows that Kay's like this? That's so bad. Oh, Kay's awful. The top comment says, I hope Aunt Louise has a legally sound will and executor lined up to make sure that Kay can't fight when Louise does eventually pass on. And also remove any access that Kay currently has to her money and financial records. Kay is a piece of work. And OP said she's hired a law firm for this, knowing that if she appointed one of her sons, it would fracture the family. Sadly, it's long past that point. Aunt Louise is the only thing holding them together. The sons have mentioned to me repeatedly that after she passes, they don't care what happens to Kay. As for access, Kay can't access Aunt Louise's money anymore after helping herself to 15 grand back in the early 2000s. Kay still attempts to go through her mail when she visits. Oh my god, I hope Kay gets nothing. Yeah, this comment, if I were Aunt Louise, I'd be taking a lot of effort to make sure that Kay doesn't receive crap after all that behavior. If she has stolen money from her, she should face consequences for that. It's a form of elder abuse. This comment says, I used to do all the paperwork for neurologists in a clinic setting. A random relative trying to get power of attorney over an elderly family member finances was sadly a common occurrence. One incident involved a man whose children didn't like him gambling. My doctor examined him with his children present and said that he was clearly lucid. He could spend his money however he wanted. Your aunt should visit a lawyer and name one of her other kids executor of her estate. And OP said Aunt Louise has hired an accountant and lawyer to avoid this. Per one of her sons, she's hired the accountant to be the bad cop. When Kay comes asking for money, Aunt Louise blames the accountant. I'm sorry, honey, my accountant says it's not in my allowance. Yeah, well, that's good at least. Yeah, that's so awful. I hope Kay gets no inheritance. And also stole 15 grand from them. And what, there are no consequences for that? Get out of here. And is now attempting to steal everybody else's money that Aunt Louise gifted to them. Am I the a-hole for telling my neighbour to grow up and get a life and get the hell over the fact that I painted my house a colour that he doesn't like? I bought my house in a community without an HOA. I wanted my home to be my home, and that includes making it look the way that I want it to. I also chose a neighbourhood that already has fun, colourful houses instead of just plain earth tones. I finally got to the point where I could repaint my house. I picked a soft peachy colour with sage blue and soft and dark pink accents. Fun and colourful without being too out there. I think if you Google coolers blue sage peach, you'll see a similar colour palette. My neighbour Paul freaking hates it and has been complaining since we started the project. He also made his opinion known that he hates our front lawn, lots of wildflowers and sunflowers and fun garden flags and a little free library. Each and every time I've told him that I don't care. Truly, I don't. And I have suggested a few times that maybe he'd be happier in an HOA community that has control over everything and forces people into having earth-toned homes. Paul got angry when I suggested that and said that he's lived in his home for 15 years and shouldn't have to move. I told him, okay, well, you'll have to learn to live with a little bit of colour. Last weekend, I was putting in papers that my niece and I had painted together. They're all things like ladybugs and turtles and birds in fun colours. I adore them, and my niece is so excited that she gets to be a part of my home. Paul came over to complain yet again, saying that it was all an eyesore, and my niece was here, so I just told him, it's time for you to grow up and get the F over what I'm doing with my house. He got even pissier and told me that I have no right to talk to him this way. Do I know who I'm talking to, etc. I told him to just go away and get an effing life. He has so much free time to complain and moan about a colourful house. Maybe he should get a hobby. He stormed off calling me a nasty piece of work. My niece was cracking up on the side. For the record, nobody in my family is uptight. We really don't care about cursing. I know some people still clutch their pearls over it around kids. She's 15, but I'm sure she says worse. Anyway, one of the other neighbours came to tell me that he's been flapping his yap about how disrespectful I am to talk to him like that. She told me that she knows he's a pain, but that he has been in the neighbourhood forever and it's worth being nice to him. I don't know, is telling him to get a life that big of a deal? Am I the a-hole? No, of course you're not the a-hole, OP. Yo, Paul, it's not your house. Oh, I should get to decide the colour of everybody else's house around me. No, you shouldn't. The top comment says, not the a-hole, the house's colour scheme sounds gorgeous. Something that we'd have here in our neighbourhood. My guess is that your neighbour is more upset about the kitschy items in your front yard than the colour of your house. Maybe you need some pink flamingos. Yeah, and also this comment. Next time he comes by with a complaint, hi, Paul, I put some serious thought into your criticisms comes over my house, I think we could come to an agreement where if you start to pay my mortgage and my bills, then I'll happily adjust the aesthetic of my home to your liking. We could start August 1st. Does that work for you? Otherwise, as the person paying the bills here, I'm going to continue doing whatever I want with my property, and I will ask you to not approach me or my property again for this matter, or a simple get effed poll. Up to you. Either way, not the a-hole. The comment under that says not the a-hole. Some people just don't understand when you try to be polite with them. So it's not your fault that you told them to F off. It's their fault. I bet other people would just fall down on their knees and praise this neighbor and do whatever he wants. Yeah, right. I'm always very polite, but if other people don't understand or don't want to understand, I become very rude. This does save me a lot of time in the future because these people know what I will tell them, and they don't even try to pull more crap on me as it just doesn't work. Yeah, and this comment too. I have such a pet peeve of people being rude and then getting completely incensed when you match their energy. He expects to come talk down to somebody for their house choices, but imagine if the roles were reversed. He would never put up with that. Some people never learn to not dish out what they can't take. This comment says not the gay hole. He comes harassing you and you need to be nice? Riddle me that one. If the neighbor who's suggesting you be nice has any suggestions on how to keep this blowhard out of your face and property, that would be more helpful than kids, it's both your fault advice. It may take two to fight, but he's the only one creating the situation. You can't walk away because it's your house, so he's actively seeking conflict, but is offended that he's called out. You do you, and you're not the a-hole. Yeah, and I like the comment that you said about if you've got so much time to complain about my house, why don't you get a hobby? Like, yeah, 100% get a hobby poll. No, I don't feel like you're the a-hole, OP. Story number 2. Am I the a-hole for cancelling my wedding after finding out that my fiance's ex is invited by his family? I, 27 female, and my fiance Alex, 30 male, have been engaged for a year and we're planning our wedding for the end of the summer. Everything was going smooth until a couple of weeks ago when Alex's family dropped a bombshell. Alex's family is very close-knit and has always been involved in our wedding planning. Recently, I found out that they've invited Alex's ex, Sarah, 29 female, to the wedding. Alex and Sarah were dating for about 5 years and broke up 2 years ago. They're still on good terms, but I was never comfortable with the idea of her being at our wedding. When I brought this up to Alex, he said that it's a family tradition to invite former partners if they're still friends, and that it would be rude to exclude her. He insisted that it's no big deal and that Sarah is just a part of their extended social circle. I tried to explain that having Sarah at the wedding made me feel uncomfortable and undermined the significance of the event for me. Alex's response was that I was being unreasonable and selfish for not considering his family's feelings. He argued that it would cause unnecessary drama if we uninvited Sarah now, and that we should just focus on enjoying the day. I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't just about inviting an ex, but also about my place in Alex's life and whether I was truly a priority. After a lot of back and forth, I decided that I couldn't go through with the wedding under these circumstances. I cancelled the venue and all the plans that we made, explaining to Alex and his family that I couldn't commit to marrying somebody who wasn't willing to respect my feelings about such a significant issue. Now Alex and his family are furious with me. They believe that I'm overreacting and that I should have been more accommodating. Why though? It's OP's wedding. Some of my friends and family think I did the right thing, while others feel that I might have acted too impulsively. So am I the a-hole for cancelling my wedding after finding out that my fiance's ex was invited by his family? Edit, wow guys, I never expected this post to blow up the way that it did. I'm trying to respond to as many comments as I can, but thank you for all the unwavering love and support. Yeah, I don't like this family. What sort of stupid tradition is that? And what's Alex doing? No, you're not the a-hole, OP. And also, why the hell are they inviting people to your wedding? What's that about? Even from what we've read, Alex and his family seem kinda insufferable. Yeah, the top comment, why is his family sending invites? And how would they have felt if you had invited one of your exes as a family tradition? Yeah, what a joke. How the hell is that a family tradition? The second top comment says, not the a-hole. If this was such a prized tradition, why didn't they actually tell OP from the start? Nah, that family was definitely trying to make something happen. And this comment, not the a-hole, this wasn't just about an ex being invited. It was about how your feelings and your boundaries were respected. A wedding is a union of two people, not an obligation to adhere to family traditions that make the bride uncomfortable. If this issue couldn't be resolved amicably, it's better to rethink the relationship altogether. Yeah, it's not the family's wedding. God, that's so frustrating. The audacity of them. And also the audacity to invite somebody to a wedding that's not their wedding. And that BS about how OP should be more accommodating. You should know your place, family. It's not your wedding. And now they're just upset at OP because they didn't get what they wanted. And OP isn't comfortable with them bloody deciding everything on their own. They sound like an icky family, OP. Yeah, this comment too. I was being unreasonable and selfish for not considering his family's feelings. Said while Alex and his family do not consider your feelings. Not the a-hole. Yeah, Alex and his family quite obviously don't care what OP feels. But also, like that comment said before. It's not even about inviting the ex. Like, yeah, they might be on good terms and that's all well and good. And yeah, of course, they could go to the wedding and everything would be completely fine. The issue is him not backing up his own partner and him and the family completely disregarding OP's feelings, especially after OP said that they weren't comfortable with it. Like, the family thinks they get to control the wedding or something. They've been so disrespectful to OP. Yeah, this comment too. All the talk about her being inconsiderate of other people's feelings is incredibly rich. We haven't considered your feelings at all, but asking us to consider your feelings. Oh, you aren't being very considerate of our feelings. Jesus, those people sound like a nightmare. Honestly, just the fact that his family is inviting people makes me want to gag. This is your wedding. Yeah, and the comment under that, it's literally the first decision you two will make as a married couple, and he's already choosing his family over you. That's not a good sign. I think I saw maybe 2 or 3 you the a-hole comments calling OP a bridezilla and being immature about the ex thing. But the way I read it, it's not even really about the ex thing. It's about how disrespectful and insufferable Alex and his family are being. And yeah, definitely seems like you're not the a-hole, OP. The next one's called, am I the a-hole for buying my sister's dream house? My 27 female, wife 30 female, and I recently closed on a dream house, and it has the family torn. Years ago, my grandparents owned the family home, but when they died unexpectedly with a lot of medical debt and expenses, our family had to sell their house. It was heartbreaking and sad, and I decided as a small child that one day I'd buy the house back. I shared those dreams with my sister. I met my wife when I was 18 and she was 21. Her parents owned a small rental that they allowed her to live in rent-free, just paying for the expenses. She invited me to live with her a year into our relationship, and we got married a year after. I told her about my dreams of owning my grandparents' house, and she fully supported me. We began putting large amounts of money back for a down payment in the hopes that the house wouldn't go on the market before we could afford it. Because we didn't pay rent and we both had good jobs for our age and the economy that we lived in, we were able to put back a very large sum of money. My in-laws also offered us a sum of 75 grand for the down payment, and in total we put back about 185,000. About 20 years after my grandparents passed away, the house finally went back on the market at a massive price. The house itself is huge with 6 bedrooms, a large lakefront estate, and several features including a pool and a small guest house. We knew that this house would have a huge price tag, and we skimped and budgeted for 9 years to afford my dream house. My sister was also house shopping at the time, but with a much smaller budget. Her and her husband have children and student debt and rented for the past several years, and they weren't able to put back money the same way that me and my wife were. When our grandparents' house went on the market, I sent the link to my sister and said that we were finally getting our grandparents' home back in the family. She was super excited and said as much, and that was that. My wife and I moved forward visiting the owners and real estate agents, having it inspected, and made an offer. They accepted it, and we were absolutely over the moon. During this whole process, my sister kept saying how excited she was to have the house back in the family, and how nice it'll be for her children to know this house and grow up in it like her and I did. Our grandparents' house was the location of every birthday, holiday, gathering, and reunion, and my wife and I planned on making it that way again, which was why what my sister said didn't raise any red flags. Weird that she'd phrase it that way, but not concerning. We had a barbecue at my parents' house to celebrate the final closing of our house. During the dinner, my mother-in-law offered to kennel our dogs while we were in the stages of moving to keep things easier and to keep them safe. And that was when my sister piped up. She asked why our dogs needed to be watched when the real issue was her kids. My wife asked what she meant, and she said that her kids will need more supervision than our dogs, and that she was confused as to why we'd be so busy that our dogs needed watching. I told her I was the one confused. I didn't know that she was helping us move, and that if her kids couldn't reliably be left to their own devices, then she absolutely did not need to help us pack. My sister proceeded to ask why my wife and I would be packing. I told her the obvious: we just closed in on a house. For length reasons, I'll leave out a lot of the back and forth, but here's the gist of it. My sister had it in her head that we were buying the house to either A, rent to own it out to her family, or B, transfer the title to her name and have her pay us back in time. What? Yeah, that's literally what she was thinking, despite us never discussing anything like that even once. When I told her that was not happening, my sister threw a fit. She was pissed because this was her dream too, and that it wasn't fair that only one of us could live in it, that since she had children, they deserved to grow up in the family home, and what did my wife and I even need all that space for? My wife told her that it isn't the family home anymore. It wasn't left in a will. We purchased it, and now it's our home, and we decide what we're going to do with it. My sister told my wife to shut up and that she had no say in this family discussion. Oh my god, that's so bad. It's not your sister's house. That's such an entitled and awful thing to say. Oh, shut up, you have no say in this family discussion about the house which is yours. I informed my sister that if she spoke to my wife that way again, we wouldn't be having any kind of contact with her anymore. That she doesn't get to assume that we're giving her a house and then throw a hissy fit when she's put in her place. And we left. My in-laws spoke to us on the matter a few times, but all told us that we were in the right and that my sister was very out of line. I assumed that everybody would agree, but if they did, I wouldn't be on this thread. I got texts and voicemails from my parents saying that we were out of line for threatening my sister. They told me they were disappointed in me for taking my sister's dream from her, and that I don't have kids so I can't understand her want to provide them with a good home and childhood like she had, that it's only fair that we set up a way to give her the house. Oh my god, I'm gonna fall out of my chair. What sort of delusional universe do these people live in? And that we could afford to find something else? Even my more distant relatives have said that it was cruel of us to take that from her. You didn't take anything away from her. She gets to spend time in the house again. You're giving that back to her. You're not taking it away. Just because she doesn't get to bloody have the house doesn't mean anything. Her kids can still play in the house and she can still be in the house. She doesn't need to live there. I'm super shocked and taken aback. I've seen similar stories to this on Reddit, entitled people thinking they should get their relatives' houses, but I never expected to live it. This feels surreal, and I hate that we're starting this new chapter out on such a sour note. Am I the a-hole for buying my sister's dream house? Edit, wow, this post blew up in such a short amount of time. Thank you for your support, and if this continues to be interesting and not blow over, I'll definitely update. And yeah, this unfortunately is a real situation. And in case anybody is curious, yeah, the house is big and expensive, but it's severely outdated, which is why the size and features don't exactly match the price in today's housing market. Like, I don't think any owners after my grandparents renovated a single thing. Oh my god, I can't believe the entitlement. Oh yeah, you should give me the house because you took it from me. And what, is your sister gonna pay all the bills and pay for everything about the house because you can't pay for the house? That's so bad that you have to laugh. I can't believe they took something that was undoubtedly a positive for them, the sister I mean, and turning it into an issue. Like, you get to spend time in the house that you've wanted to spend time in again. That's amazing. Just because it isn't given to you and it doesn't belong to you, it's still in the family. That's like peak entitlement. Can you even get more entitled than this? I don't feel like you can. And what your parents said to your OP is hilarious. None of it makes any sense. Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole, your sister's delusional and has made up a narrative in her head that she's owed or entitled to certain privileges. Your parents are crazy for reinforcing that narrative to her. Good on you for taking your wife's side and not standing for the disrespect. Yeah, I can't believe it's real. Like, what do you mean she felt like she was owed the house? How? And this comment too, not the a-hole, put cameras up ASAP. It doesn't sound like the crazy's gonna fade away, so be prepared. You haven't done anything wrong. Congratulations on your new home. I hope you and your wife are very happy there. Yeah, this one too, not the a-hole. Why don't your parents care about your dream to own your grandparents' house? Why don't your family members care about your sacrifices to be able to buy the house? Is your sister the golden child who can do no wrong? Yeah, this one too, not the a-hole. I am concerned that this is coming from a place where your family is not considering you and your wife to be a legitimate branch of the family, either because you have dogs and no children, or because you're both female, or both. Either way, they all apparently view your sister and her children, their grandchildren, as more deserving of the home than you and your wife. I find that astounding and shocking, the bias and the presumption. Instead of celebrating that the house is back in the family and they can visit, and they can have their special days there as you and your wife generously offered, they're critical and unreasonable. Yeah, that's right, that's the most annoying part, turning something that's so good into an issue that doesn't even exist. They're out of their mind, OP, and so's your parents. You don't just give people houses, and also just because your parents feel like your sister deserves the house more, doesn't mean anything. Like what, you're meant to just give it to your sister? Are they all as dumb as they sound? Like, that's not gonna work out. And yeah, the audacity for them not to be happy for you, OP. Yeah, this comment, what a completely bizarre family that you have. Yeah, and it's hilarious that they feel like they're right about this too. Yeah, also this comment, you didn't buy your sister's dream house, you bought your dream house. The fact that she's that entitled to think that you'd budget and save everything possible for 10 years just to give her the house is borderline insane. Yeah, and also not just OP saving, OP's partner too. If she wanted it, she would have made the lifestyle changes to be able to afford it. Not the a-hole. It's a shame that your family are acting how they are, but you haven't done anything wrong. Enjoy your new home. Yeah, I can't get over this. OP said in the comment somewhere that the house was a little bit over 800 grand. Like, imagine doing everything you need to do with your partner to buy a house that's over 800 grand and then have your family members think that you should somehow give it to your sister and they don't realize how ridiculous what they're saying is. Okay, we have to move on. Guys, you have to let me know down below what you think about this. Story 4. Am I the a-hole for exposing my friend's affair to her husband? I, female 25, have been friends with Sarah, female 26, since we were in high school. We've been through thick and thin together, and she's practically like a sister to me. Sarah's been married to John, male 28, for 2 years, and they seem like the the perfect couple. I always envied their relationship and I hope to have something like that one day. A few months ago, Sarah started acting strange. She was secretive, always on her phone, and frequently lying about her whereabouts. I brushed it off as stress from work or maybe something that she wasn't ready to share yet. But then I found out the truth. Sarah was having an affair with a co-worker Mark, male 30. Disgusting. I stumbled upon this by accident. One night, Sarah left her phone at my apartment after we had a girls' night. It kept on buzzing with messages from Mark, and when I saw the explicit content of their conversation, I felt sick. I confronted Sarah about it the next day. She broke down, admitting everything. She said that she didn't love John anymore, but was too scared to leave him because of financial stability and fear of judgment from her family and friends. I tried to convince her to end the affair and either work on her marriage or leave John being honest. She promised that she would, but weeks went by and nothing changed. Sarah continued her affair and I couldn't stand seeing John being deceived. He was a good guy who genuinely loved her and he deserved to know the truth. After much internal conflict, I decided to tell John. I met him at a coffee shop, explained everything and showed him the messages. John was devastated and I felt like the worst person in the world for being the bearer of such terrible news. He thanked me for telling him and said that he would handle it from there. The fallout was massive. John confronted Sarah and their marriage fell apart. Sarah was furious with me for exposing her secret. She called me a traitor and ended our friendship. Wow, you're a traitor? Our mutual friends were divided. Some thought I did the right thing, while others believed that I'd overstepped and ruined lives. Oh my god, who the hell thinks that? You didn't do anything. Sarah's the one cheating. Now, months after Sarah and John are divorced, Sarah moved in with Mark, but their relationship is rocky. John's trying to rebuild his life, but is understandably still hurt. As for me, I've lost one of my closest friends, and I'm left questioning if I did the right thing. So am I the a-hole for exposing my friend's affair to her husband? Yeah, the top comment. You're an a-hole for all of these things that I've done. Oh crap, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. The comment under that says, it seems like OP's former friend not only blames OP for the mess that she created, but delusionally believes that John would not have found out anyway. It might have taken a little longer, but with how careless Sarah was, he would have figured it out eventually, or somebody would have told him. Yeah, that's so embarrassing, and we see that so much with cheating partners on here. Like in that last episode where that person had an affair for years, and had an affair on the person they were with before that, but they're blaming everybody else for their own actions. Like there's a real lack of accountability. And yeah, like that comment said, blaming OP for the mess that she created, and the friend saying that OP is ruining their life. OP isn't the one that had an affair. The second top comment says, I wish my ex-wife's friends who knew, and who I thought were my friends also, would have told me. Not the a-hole. Cheaters aren't friends worth keeping. Yeah, Sarah's only thinking about herself. John was obviously grateful that you told him OP, but Sarah's like, oh, I hate you because you're making my life harder. For the actions that I did, you don't need Sarah, OP. John doesn't need Sarah either. Yeah, this comment, do you want a friend, especially a close friend, with such a crappy moral code? Because I sure wouldn't. Yeah, definitely. And she called OP a traitor. Look in the mirror, buddy. No, you're not the a-hole, OP. Story number 5 is on the Entitled People subreddit. Campers learned that you need a reservation. Many years ago, an old boyfriend and I had reserved a camping spot in California for the 4th of July. It used to be you only needed reservations for popular campgrounds, but they did develop a much needed reservation system for all campgrounds. Reservations were a must because that year the 4th of July landed on a Wednesday, making campsites unavailable or reserved for the whole week. The campground belonged to the state and was a walk-in site campground. For those not familiar with walk-in campgrounds, you park your car in a parking lot and walk about a quarter of a mile to the campsite. Both at the parking lot and the entrance to the site had signs stating that camping was by reservation only. We get there a little before check-in time and we noticed a group of people had set up on our campsite and had left to go hiking or sightseeing. At 4 o'clock, the ranger arrives and we explain that somebody is in our site and we give him our reservation confirmation. We offer to move to the next closest site, but the ranger said that all sites were reserved. He told us that he'll have them move once they return. He also stated that the people didn't pay the day use fee either. To kill time, my boyfriend and I go for a hike and have a quick dinner of sandwiches. About 3 hours after, we get back to the campground and the group is very slowly moving their stuff. There's 4 adults and about 3 kids. The adults are dragging out, leaving by taking one thing at a time to their vehicles. To slow stuff down even more, they had a pickup truck specifically for firewood and could only move a log or 2 at a time back to the pickup truck. You'd think they'd have a wheelbarrow for all that wood. It starts to get dark, so we bring out the tent and sleeping stuff for when the site is ready. We figured that we could unpack the rest the next morning. As we were taking our things from the car, a member of the group confronts me. He got my name from the reservation list at the checking spot. He asked me why I was so lazy as to not move to a space farther out. Boyfriend and the ranger told him to shut up. This only made the man angrier. His wife and his friend started to verbally attack us, telling us that if we wanted the space so bad, then we should have gotten there before them. Wow, the audacity. They kept on insisting that we invalidated our reservation by not being there early. Some other campers were watching the whole thing play out and offered us to hang out with them and have cold beverages, which we gratefully did. By this time, the ranger had had enough of their moaning and threatened to have local local law enforcement trespass them. They finally get the picture and they're moving everything out. So we go to set up and I put some stuff on the picnic table, and when I noticed they left a nasty letter to us, in short, they blamed us for ruining their kids' 4th of July. They won't get to see fireworks or have s'mores or see the stars at night. Instead, we have to go to a motel. Worse, they threaten confrontation if they see us around the area. I folded the letter up and gave it to the ranger the next day. Oh my god. Reserve the spot if you want it. How do they feel like you're in the wrong? Oh, that's infuriating, OP. Like, oh, I can't believe we can't stay in this spot that's reserved by somebody else. What are you talking about? Of course you can't stay there. That's so annoying, and that's so enough for today. That was such a fun episode, guys, and I hope you had a fun time today. I do have a super cute, wholesome meme to show you before I go. 4 years ago, I lived in a bush and hunted for my meals. Now I have 2 passive incomes, my own house and a personal chef. Follow for more financial advice. Yeah, the holy grail of financial advice is to become a cat. Like, yeah, you have 2 passive incomes in your own place and a personal chef. You don't have to work a day in your life, get to be cute and make biscuits all day. The absolute dream. I think that about the cats all the time. Like, you cats don't realize how lucky you are. That's so cute though. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time today. And if you did, make sure you let me know down below, and also like and subscribe. And the comment of the day, goes to Kath Redmond. When you mentioned Peter Griffin, it reminded me that we haven't seen a Simpsons clip in forever. Yeah, I know, I was thinking about that the other day. I genuinely feel bad about it. I'm gonna try to remember to put them in the episodes. I can make up for it by putting in a funny Simpsons clip right now.
Oh, what is it? Slow down.
You're gonna further
Think before you say each word.
But yeah, I will definitely try to remember in the future. And yeah, thank you for the support, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!